If
You have not had it.
It's called The Elder Scrolls 4.
I love Fallout 3's tutorial.
I found like the super ancient Bible.
He's a goolaboo.
You're very racist.
I'm a little wood elf bitch.
Fargoth?
You can give him a foot job. We all have the NCR here.
We're not gonna eat salmon again, Mom!
Didn't I get the fist of a robot put up my asshole?
I'm good. All right, how do I start this? No, I gotta be confident. I gotta be a little confident. Oh no. The staple is like off.
Do you want me to restaple it?
You have a stapler right here.
Right up top.
Oh, it kind of went through.
Yeah, it's like...
You can see, there's a lot of pages.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pages, folks. Hey, what's up? Fallout and Elder Scrolls. Both great games and settings that we really like. Isn't that right, Colin?
I love them.
Yes, you love them. They're mainly made by Bethesda Softworks, although one of them was made by Obsidian, which we are including in this list. I have gone through those games a lot within the last 2 years. It's like been the only thing I've been playing. So I said after this is the second most thing I've ever wanted to do. Dark Souls and Bethesda quests. So those are the two that I wanted to really do tier lists on. So you gotta do what you love, okay, folks? You gotta do what you love. So we're not gonna do this all the time. I'm good. I'm fine. All right. One of the drinks within the Elder Scrolls universe is mead, which we have here prepared. Exclusive sponsor by Chaucer's Mead. You gotta love it. Drink it up. I've never had mead in my life. I hate honey. I absolutely fucking despise honey.
What? I think it doesn't taste like honey. It tastes like a sweet wine.
It does taste like a sweet wine. I guess the Nords in Skyrim know what they're talking about. All right, I've played like almost all these games over 5 times. If we're talking about Fallout New Vegas, I legitimately think I've played that game 20 times, like all the way through.
To completion?
Wow. To completion. I love Fallout New Vegas. Let's go through the things that I have written here. Does that sound like a good idea?
Yeah, brother.
Okay, awesome. Number 1, we are drinking, obviously. We got, you can't see this, but we got a little thing of co-honors here. We got our mead. I even have some drinks over here. Pretty good. I have a string cheese too, but I won't show that. Another sippy. Let's do it.
I'm a fan of this.
Good news is we got a whole fucking bottle. These are not what we think the best objectively of all time. Well, I don't know. Maybe for you. I'm doing the second cut. We're going to ping pong, so it's just going to be me, and then Colin, and then me, and then Colin. The games that we are going to be doing is Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and Fallout 4. That's the 6.
You have one from Fallout 4?
I have a Fallout 4 reference in here. I had to put it in. Or have you finished your White Russian?
I don't know that too.
Oh,
what were we saying?
I have not replayed Fallout 4 in a very long time, and as well as I didn't do any of the Morrowind DLCs or the Morag Tong or House Redoran quest lines from Morrowind. Those are like the only things otherwise I've done all the quests.
You did Hlaalu?
I'll talk about Hlaalu. I got some things to say about Hlaalu.
Okay.
I'm leaking here, Colin.
We have mostly the same things we haven't played.
The Skyrim DLCs, have you?
I'm playing them in VR right now. I've done all the DLCs. I've gotten the horse armor.
Perfect. You did that quest. That was a tough one.
Frostcrag Spire. Adam told me I couldn't put you on my list, but I want you to know.
You better not be on there. That is.
I love you. I'll always be loyal to you. I dream of you.
Giant tower in the Gerald Mountains. Frostcrag Spire. How do you get over that? We're also doing random categories that we came up. I was surprised because you pitched another category to me. I thought I was going to put some categories on you and be like, the Adams is too much. But you gave me a category.
Yeah.
I was surprised about that. So the categories that we got are favorite quest line, favorite quest reward, most disappointing quest.
That was mine.
And then our favorite character, Elder Scrolls and Fallout.
Yeah, companions or non-quest.
Yeah.
Or quest NPCs.
I think that's everything that I need to go through. Oh yeah, no, it's not. What am I, crazy? All right, there's still more things to go through, okay? Spoilers ahead. If you haven't played any of these games, we're going to spoil them to completion. We're going to be probably talking about all of them. Do you know, we saw Barbenheimer yesterday.
We did.
Hair of the dog that bit me right now. That's all that.
It's important that you know that you don't have to do this.
No, this makes it way more fun.
That, you know, if you have someone in your life who you're worried about,
do you want the Mai Tai?
Yeah.
Okay. Honorable mentions. Let's get into it. First off, before we begin, we got to give a shout out to a quest that we really like, which is Vampire Cure from Oblivion. The reason we're not going to go into this quest is because we think it's so interesting mechanically that, you know, we might make a video about it. You know, we might talk about it a little bit more in depth. Vampire Cure would have been on my list, but We're giving it a shout out now because we're probably going to talk about it later.
I have 6 honorable mentions. Adam has 12. For every one I do, he will do 2. And then once we get to the main list, we'll have 1 each.
You know, I just like putting shit on.
Adam has a lot of opinions.
I got a lot of stuff to say, okay? Let's do another Long Island. Bing! That's how they do it in Skyrim. I'm so excited. I'm very excited and hyped for this. I've been waiting for this for so long. Tell me your honorable mentions, Colin.
So,
yes.
At number 6.
Number 6.
I have a quest from Oblivion, which is going to be most of this list. I should warn you. Oblivion is a masterpiece.
Absolutely.
It is the perfect blend of silly and well written. Mm-hmm.
It's a very earnest game.
So, it is a brush with death.
The trolls that the thief painted seem to have turned on their creator and killed him. He didn't know the brush had its risks.
So, you are in Chidenhall. You hear about a missing painter. You meet his wife. There's a lot of, like, distressed wives in Oblivion.
There are.
I feel like. It's like, my husband's in some trouble.
Yeah, you gotta help this guy
out. Some fucked up shit happens because of the husband. You go into his studio, missing painter, and there's a painting there. But you can interact with it. You can step into the painting, which... Mario 64. You meet the painter himself.
Right, I believe is his name.
I don't have his name.
Okay.
I don't give a fuck about his name.
In the names in Oblivion, every actor pronounces it a different way, so it's very difficult to figure out.
It doesn't matter. He's happy to see you, but he says you're trapped inside the painting, and that a thief stole his magic paintbrush.
Yes.
And magic paintbrush.
Yes.
Can I learn that spell?
Yeah.
And no, you can't. Elder Scrolls Magic Moment. It's like this version of the forest, but it's almost stylized like a... It's like a painted world.
Yes.
Which is very
It's
thematic.
like the thing that everyone remembers. This is very stylized.
And you learn that the thief has gone somewhere into the painting. You have to find him. And there are these painted trolls. They
cool.
look painted. Like their texture is different than normal trolls. What I really liked about it is that an item they give to you to kill the trolls is turpentine, which is paint thinner.
Yeah.
And I was, as a child, a stupid child. I didn't understand anything. But in retrospect, I was like, oh, that's very clever. Paint thinner is used to remove paint. Paint removes painted trolls. You can use it to kill them. You get to the thief who's been killed by the trolls himself. You get the paint, and then he paints a door out of the painting. Mission complete. And what I like about this quest, and a lot of the quests on this list, is that the premise is just good.
Yes.
Like, if I tell you, you go into a painting because someone stole a magic paintbrush, you'd be like, that sounds interesting. And that is why it is on this list. I know it is low down. Let me tell you, a lot of good quests did not make the cut.
Oh!
The color palette is great.
Yes.
I like the touch with the turpentine.
It's very cool.
I bet they came up with that later.
It
was like a stroke of genius from the quest writers. The writing isn't amazing. Why did the thief steal the paintbrush in the first place? And why did he go into the painting?
The more you ask questions, the more you think like this doesn't make any sense.
It starts to fall apart.
Yes.
But it is here because the idea, the premise is enchanting.
It feels like a fairy tale. It really does feel like a fairy tale that you would hear in like some storybook. A Brush with Death, Oblivion.
A Brush with Death, Oblivion.
Number
mention, number 6.
All right.
Now I can paint the portal home. After it's complete, you must go first, or else you'd be stuck in here forever.
And let's get into the list. It was sponsored by Cutwater. You know, you gotta love Cutwater's products.
And counselors.
Exactly. First one, so my honorable mentions are not ranked. But first off, we will do a quest from Oblivion. And this quest is an unexpected journey from Oblivion.
Hey, who in Oblivion are you? You don't look like one of the Blackwater Brigands.
Oblivion is like the king of incidental quests. You follow a normal routine and then like, bam, you're on an adventure. You go to sleep within a inn that's floating on the water in the waterfront. So it's like a little boat that you can, it's like has a tavern you can sleep in. And then you wake up and the boat is out at sea. It's been taken over by bandits, which are trying to steal supposedly a relic within the ship. They made a completely new cell outside, so when you go outside, you're actually on the water. We're out in the ocean. Oh my god. This quest is pretty short. You can get through it pretty easily. There's clever ways to talk your way out of a lot of the confrontations, where every person you talk to, you could say a certain thing, so then the next person will either believe your story or will immediately be like, I know you're lying. It could have just been a kidnapping. You just fall asleep and then like you wake up, hey, we took the ship and we're getting gold. But at the end of the quest, you realize it is a story from the proprietor of the inn. He made this fake story about the golden galleon that has been hidden on the ship, and that's why the pirates are attacking. You do these incidental quests, and at the end, like, they don't just tell you, that's it. The bandits attacked me because I made up this lie, you know, and I thought it would get me more money, but here we are. It's a short but memorable quest. Unexpected journey, you're awesome. That's Oblivion.
Here you go. Don't spend it all in one place, unless it's here, of course.
Next one. Morrowind. We're going into Morrowind now.
We're going into Morrowind?
Morrowind,
already?
I will cheer you with a Long Island.
What he said.
Okay, Morrowind. Silent Pilgrimage from Morrowind. This is a quest. It's within the Tribunal Temple, which is like the Dunmer's Temple that you can do stuff for. And one of them is a ritual for you to complete or something. And that is, we need you to get to this shrine on the other side of the map, but we are sentencing you to a vow of silence. So if you talk to anyone, the quest ends. You're not allowed, you have to get to this location without talking to anyone. But if you've been playing Morrowind and you've learned the world of Morrowind, like, you can devise clever ways to get there. Like, in my mind, when I first got this, they're like, you need to get to this place all the way across the map. How are you going to get there? And I'm like, oh, that's going to be so annoying. I have to, like, walk all the way over there? Hold on. Like, I could use levitation to fly over the mountains. That'll be, like, way easier. Oh my god, that'll be so smart. And then I was like, wait a minute. I could just jump between regions using the intervention spells. Divine or Almsivi interventions. That's how I can get there quickly. Oh my god, that's so cool. Oh, I'm like being smart within Morrowind. Couldn't I just mark the location and then teleport there immediately? They wouldn't let me do that. That's so cheap. But they do. That's why I love Morrowind. I read this online somewhere on Twitter. I forgot who said it, but I really agree with this. Morrowind is a game that wants you to break it. It is a game that all the mechanics are in there so you can have fun and like learn them to devise ways to complete the quests. Because a lot of the quests in Morrowind I think are very basic, but it is using the gameplay and learning the like world is how you complete these, and it makes it more exciting. So, like, I could have just stepped over a bunch of mountains and got there, but, like, oh, you priest, you thought you were, like, trying to pull one over on me. I marked that location, you know, and then I came back and I recalled there. Oh, it was so good. You could totally sidestep that challenge, and I thought that was, like, a really nice example of why I love Morrowind so much. It is a game where they want you to do everything. You know, if you can devise a clever way to solve a solution, they want you to do that. Yeah, that would be cheap. They don't want you to do that. No. Morrowind's like, hey, you figured it out. Go ahead. Go do the easy way if you want to, you know? That's why I love that quest. Silent Pilgrimage. Bing. Great. Colin, we're on to you.
My number 5 is from Oblivion.
Here we go again.
It's a quest called An Unexpected Voyage.
Thank goodness you arrived when you did. I feared that I'd be thrown to the slaughterfish.
You wake up after sleeping on a ship in the middle of the ocean.
Why do you like this quest, Colin?
So, the reason I like it is that it springs up out of nowhere. I can't think of any other quests that involve, like, being at sea in an Elder Scrolls game.
That is true. You are alone on a ship in vast water.
Yeah, it's like, I call it a mini sandbox. The game tells you, you're going to be in this area, and you got to do what you got to do to get out of it, or to solve it. Going to sleep and then waking up, and things have changed. It's like, oh, fuck, what's going on?
Yeah.
How do I get back? You know, you kind of learn about what the bandits are after. At the end, there's a little memory check, where it's like, you're slowly learning about why the bandits are here, like when they met, like what their purpose is, and then if you actually remember those things, you can convince the leader of the bandits to give up. And be like, okay.
Oh, so you can.
You can like impersonate. You'll be like, I was part of this operation. I killed everyone already. You have no choice but to give up. And she will be like, okay, well, that's fucked up. I give up.
So there's an opportunity you can go through this quest without killing anyone.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
But you don't have to kill the leader.
If you tell them the right thing, you can get past them.
That's for the leader. The wiki says you will have to fight all these subordinates.
Okay.
That's mine.
That's an unexpected voyage.
Unexpected
voyage. Mm-hmm.
You've never had a night's rest like this, I assure you.
Does anyone else feel like it's mead?
Anyone like this mead? You know, mead is honey and...
It's fermented honey.
My next honorable mention is a Skyrim quest, and this is going to be a Dark Brotherhood quest, Bound Until Death.
Victoria's a good woman. Any man should be so lucky.
This is like the one major memory I have from Skyrim. I didn't really care about the Dark Brotherhood. I think they did it a lot better within Oblivion.
Oh yeah.
But this quest, I was like, this feels like a quest from Oblivion. You have to assassinate a bride at a wedding in the center of Solitude, which is like the biggest city. There's many routes to take like an Oblivion quest. When you ask everyone their opinions, they'll be like, I left a bow and arrows out, shoot her and kill her while she's making a speech. You know, I loosened the gargoyle above her, you can push that over and kill her. The quest is an event. It takes over a city, so it feels very important. It was like so prepared with so many different options. It's like such a devilish backdrop for an assassination. I can hear Lucien Lachance giving me this quest. Like, I can hear in his voice, the blushing bride-to-be, you will be delivering her wedding gift, courtesy of the Dark Brotherhood, you know? It's like, I can hear, it is so devilish, like a lot of the Oblivion Dark Brotherhood quests. When I was replaying it, I was excited for that quest, because I knew there were so many options, it retook the town, and also, like, it reminded me of Oblivion's Dark Brotherhood. So, Bound Until Death, you're my number 10 honorable mention. Very cool.
The news is everywhere.
My next one. We're finally dipping into Fallout. Fallout New Vegas is Restoring Hope.
I need someone to talk to a few of the officers and help them resolve some of the problems around here. If I can get this place in order, then I can focus our efforts on taking back Nelson from the Legion.
So this is the quest that you do within Camp Forlorn Hope. Something I'll have to say about New Vegas is filled with like multi-staged quests. For a lot of those quests, I really like them because they give a lot of lore within the factions and the areas of New Vegas. But it is difficult for me to love a lot of those quests because I love a moment in those quests.
Yeah.
The one for the kings, you know. Oh yeah, I had to hire that guy and see if he was lying to me about being very good. I don't remember questioning like the hurt people about the NCR. Like that's not something I remember.
No.
Wang Dang Atomic Tango when you have to get, you know, a prostitute. It's hard for me to remember who I got, but I definitely remember the sex robot, you know? That's every faction has like a 3-stage quest.
Yes.
It's like a path of moments.
The path of moments.
Yes. What I really like about Restoring Hope, I think it uses those moments to have a very climactic crescendo based upon how you completed those multiple stages within the quest. The Restoring Hope is you have to assist Camp Forlorn Hope and all its issues. Camp Forlorn Hope is like this little camp within the middle of Caesar's Legion in NCR territory. It's all red, and there's like little, like, you know, barrels with fire going out. If you talk to anyone, they're like, this place is horrible. Yeah, I need to get out of here. First, you gotta like figure out what happened to the supplies that we're supposed to get. Well, the guys who were supposed to go over there are dead. They're assassinated by Legion members who are gonna assassinate you now. You need to help out all our injured men in the medical tent. So you go over there. If you have medical knowledge, you can easily help all these people. But if you don't, you can grab items within the tent to help them, you know? It's this nice little thing. At the end of the quest, the last stage is we have to storm Nelson. Nelson is attacked by the Legion, and now they're holding it. They've like strung up a lot of NCR members, crucified them there, and you need to like storm it and take it over again. The amount of men that you have changes upon how much you affected the camp. So, there's a quest called An Ear to the Ground, where you collect Legion ears to build morale. Medical Mystery, where you figure out who's been stealing like chems from the medical tent. Or Tags of Our Fallen, which is like another mini quest where you have to get like NCR tags from dead people. If you do all these quests and complete them, your contingent who assaults Nelson grows more and more. So you don't just have 2 guys, you have like 4 guys. Suddenly you have 6 guys. And if you do like everything you can, you have NCR Rangers in like the cool outfits, you know, attacking Nelson. You do a lot of these objectives and optional objectives that leads to a different outcome within the final moment of the quest. I get everyone happy at Camp Forlorn Hope. I'm gonna have an easy time assaulting Nelson. When I do retake Nelson, I feel like I am changing the world. Help the NCR within their fucking conquest or whatever.
Liberation.
Exactly. Beautiful. We all love the NCR here. I'm sure they've never...
We all love the NCR here. We would
never
never say anything against them.
This quest specifically benefits from its multiple stages and everything around the area that you do it in. Restoring Hope. Very cool.
It's like an Allies for Bruma situation.
It is like an Allies for Bruma situation. You gotta help that guy in Chadenhall. His son is within a Oblivion gate. So Cutwaters are great. They quench your thirst. They're delicious. And Chowser's Mead.
Chowser's Mead.
Let me get the glass for you here.
You know, there's a picture of a knight on this and a lady.
Whoa!
This is also sponsored by Jelly Bean.
Yeah.
Jelly Belly.
Jelly Bellies, they have the new Skyrim, you know, Ice Wave Jelly Belly is delicious.
The Ice Wave Jelly Belly.
The Cutwater, Long Island,
Who are
Orange
you?
Sunrise.
So, my number 4. My honorable mention number 4. Zainab... Morrowind. Zainab Nereverine. That's how it's pronounced.
Is that how you say it?
I've been pronouncing it Neverine. But
I know, that's how I say it too.
Nereverine.
My time is precious, so make it quick.
Yes, Outlander. What may I do for you?
I don't know anything about this quest. Please tell me.
If you haven't played Morrowind, which you probably haven't,
Zoomers play Morrowind.
Here you
it
are.
Sucks. No, I'm kidding. It's great.
the Nereverine is like the chosen one of
a prophet.
Morrowind. You know, every fucking Elder Scrolls game is the chosen one. You know, except
Oblivion.
I would say Oblivion. You do not play a chosen one.
Yeah, you play like the hero of Kvatch.
Yeah, and that's like
champ.
which Oblivion I love.
Oh, God,
I
Oblivion.
love
is
you.
So
Anyways, so in order to become this chosen one, you need to get the support of the tribes of Morrowind. And one of them asks you for a Telvanni bride. What a Telvanni is, these very esteemed noble high wizards. So a tribesman asking for a wife of a high wizard is kind of like, there's no way I can fucking do this.
Yeah.
You're pretty soon after you get the request, you're told to speak to the tribe's wise woman for some information. And what she tells you is to ignore the request, buy a slave, which there is... Morrowind has a lot of hard-hitting things in it.
It sure does.
Where it does not flinch away from the idea of slavery. You buy a slave, and you put her in nice clothes, and you give her Telvanni bug musk, which is perfume. Basically trick him into thinking that this is some highborn wizard lord, when in fact it is a slave you purchased for money. you can buy slaves, and it's a premise quest.
Yeah.
I love the premise, and if you talk to him even, he's like, yeah, after a little bit I figured it out, but you are so cunning, and he compliments you, and I thought it was very fun. You can go and talk to like actual Telvanni people. One of them is very angry at you, and like the disposition drops a lot. There's this one wizard lord who you meet. He actually likes that you asked him. He says no. It's like, I forget what, like Sildus.
Yeah, you remember that guy.
You know him.
Picture of him right now.
But that's my number 4. It's a nice premise.
Yeah, that is cool. I have a question. Is there other routes you can take besides getting the slave for that quest?
You can talk to like all the Telvanni leaders.
Impossible.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to marry my daughter to some random... Like,
Ashlander loser.
The tribes in Morrowind are not respected by polite society. They're like, they're outcasts, basically.
Yeah.
Like, everyone thinks they're just like regressed.
Yes.
Like the Amish. If you're Amish and watching this, shout out to you.
All right, my next honorable mention is another Oblivion quest. This is for a DLC. Specifically, I replayed Shivering Isles. And this is Ghosts of Vytharn.
You have violated the inner sanctum of Vytharn. What say you in your defense?
You hear about rumors about a town that is like entrapped by ghosts, fighting an endless war. They kill each other, die, and suddenly they spawn again. Sheogorath, he cursed us because I forget why.
Some fucking reason.
Yeah, he's a little crazy, that's why he does it. And now we have to repeat this battle for eternity. You go out into the courtyard of Vytharn, and they play a recording of the battle by having a bunch of ghosts show up and do the battle for you, and within multiple stages. And that just repeats over and over again. And you have to try to figure out a way, how do I make the defenders beat the attackers and defend the castle correctly? You talk to an archer and they're like, I'm missing arrows, I can't do it. Or like you talk to a mage and they're like, I don't have the magic power to defeat all these enemies. This is impossible. There's little like different ways you can complete the objectives within the quest. One of the guys is like a guy with a big sword and he's like, I need to defend the castle for my beloved, my beloved. And if you talk to the other NPCs, they're like, his beloved, he's talking about a teddy bear. Like, he loves a teddy bear because, like, his village was attacked and that's the only thing he brought back. But if you get his teddy bear, you can't just give it to him to make him happy. You have to give it to the enemies, because if the enemies have his teddy bear, he's gonna fight them. Another thing you can do is throw the teddy bear in the fire, so if it burns it, he has nothing left to defend and he goes crazy. The archer needs arrows, but if you go within Vytharn, which is also another location, you have like the outside of the recording inside of Vytharn, and the guy's like, I don't want to give up the arrows, so you have to sneak and take the arrows from him and give it to the lady. Do all these little puzzles that have different outcomes to complete his victory. And at the end, when you tell the guy who came to you, he'll say, like, the only way to end the loop is if you take the power of the leader and you lead the charge. So, like, after you've helped everyone, you are the commander. You go out into the recording of the battle, and now you're actually fighting and killing the fanatics who storm it. I thought it was like the thing that stood out to me the most from Shivering Isles. Shivering Isles was very cool. The main issue that I have with it is, like, all the quests and dungeons take place in either two areas. Underneath a giant tree, caves, or a dilapidated, like, ruin, which is, like, a little boring. This quest, never seen anything like it before in Elder Scrolls. Very cool. So that is one of my honorable mentions. I forgot what number we're on.
That was 8.
All of Vitar thanks you. You may keep my helmet. It never did me much good.
That was 8. This is 7.
Yes.
Fallout 4. Fallout 4 Far Harbor. Not the quest you think. This is Brain Dead within Fallout 4's Far Harbor DLC.
Welcome to Vault 118. Your home away from home. Underground. Are you the detective we sent for?
Fallout 4's Far Harbor, I heard I remember it being very good. I haven't replayed it, so I don't know like what exactly happened with it. Within that area, you go to this island, and one of the things that happens is you talk to like this robot who says like, "Oh, we need help over here at this different hotel."
Is that your robot voice?
We need help with doing this. You show up at this place. It's like a hotel. You go inside, and there's like a vault that you plug your little shit in, and you go in, and someone speaks to you over the intercom. You must be the detective we asked for. When you hear that, you know you're in for a good time. There's been a murder within this hotel. Please come and solve this. So you go in, and he takes you over to like the main foyer of the main area of the vault. You realize the murdered person is a robo-brain, a robot. And then you look around, everyone's a robot. The whole hotel is filled with robots. Celebrities or famous people who put their brains within robo-brain robots, and that's how they're living. I think there's a lot of detective quests, both within Fallout and Elder Scrolls. This one's my favorite because of the cast of characters. Basically filled with a lot of highfalutin robots who all think they're way better than you.
Yeah.
You know, they've been living here for 200 years, and now you schmuck, you human, come in here, and they're like, why don't you solve this and get out of here, you know? It's really funny that all these people are robots. The lady within the scene's like, I'm going to the beach. She rolls out and she goes to just this cavern. It's like this rock cavern with water and then a picture of a sailboat on the wall. And that's her beach. You could like do a lot of things with these robo-brains because they were humans before and they have a lot to tell you. Also, they're all stylized. Some of them have bow ties, business ties, summer hats. Like that's how they're different. You could even flirt and sleep with a robo-brain if you'd like, which is very cool. This is like the one that I immediately remembered from Fallout 4, and I won't give away the ending. I thought the way they hide the killer is like very clever. It made sense within like the environment that they were in.
Was there a killer, or is it just this show, and that's the ending?
Spoiler alert, the killer is real. You figure out the killer is the owner of the hotel who staged his death by killing another member. Everyone's a robo-brain. Everyone has the same model and same design of their body. So you can just put on a hat and say you're someone else, and you can fool everyone, which I thought was so clever.
That's good.
And
I'm like that.
Oh my god, Brain Dead. Brain Dead, Fallout 4, not a lot of quests I remember because I need to replay it, but I thought that was cool.
That was great, detective, but we probably shouldn't make a habit of this.
Let's go. We're doing it. Your number 3 for honorable mentions.
I just want to pee. Just so you know, my number 3 is Oblivion.
Oh!
I'm going to be saying the word Oblivion a lot today.
Of course.
Chaden Hall recommendation.
There was a particular ring of burden I was testing some time ago. Another stupid associate somehow got his hands on it and managed to misplace it.
In order to join the Mages Guild, you need a recommendation from one of every city. Whew. And you were asked to find some lost guy's ring. His name's Falcar. So it seems pretty easy. You get a key to the well. The lady who gives you the key pulls you aside and says, hey, previous person who did this disappeared. And I'm like, how can a man disappear going into a well? Can he not swim?
Sense. Yeah.
She gives you the key and a spell for breathing underwater.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, magic. We love magic here. I'm a big magic head. We will get into this.
Yes.
You go into the well, swim around a bit. You find the body of the previous guy, whose name is Vidkun. On his body, you find the ring. And you pick it up. And then all of a sudden, you get the little warning at the top left of your screen that says, you are over encumbered. You can no longer move.
Oh, yeah.
And you drop the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, like pretty quickly. It's like, okay, well, unlike Vidkun, I understand that I'm in a video game, and if I drop the ring, nothing will happen to me. And you do so. You can cast a spell like Feather, which lowers your equip load. Or you can do what I did, which is you drop the ring in the water, and then you can actually drag the ring.
You sure can.
Like, drag it to the exit, pick it up, go outside. The guy who sent you on this quest is a bit of a dickbag.
Oh, yeah.
A necromancer, which is illegal in Cyrodiil. Which, they never really explain why.
No.
Like, what's so bad about necromancy? You know?
Yeah, someone tell me.
You run into this quest pretty early in the game if you're a mage. I was a mage. I'm always a mage. And I know it's pronounced pretty... It sounds pretty simple.
Yeah.
Oh, Falcar, you scam.
Yes.
You little mischievous man. Like, I can't even be mad at him. It's kind of funny. Like, I get it. And, you know, eventually he, like, storms out. You never see him again.
No, you
Like,
don't.
there's
Because one other part of the quest is you have to find evidence of his
Yeah, so you find
necromantic-
black soul stones.
You do.
Soul
Soul
gems.
gems.
Soul gems. Mm-hmm. In his room. You've got a good sense of humor, Falcar.
You sure
Shout out to Falcar for the funny ring trick.
And also, I think I forgot exactly what I was going to say. I had it in my brain, and it was gone. So we'll finish. We're done.
If I didn't know better, I'd say he purposely tossed it down the well behind the guild hall. Why he would do such a thing is beyond me.
You want to have your mead?
Does anyone else think the Argonians?
They're like dinosaur
They're
people.
kind of sexy.
I got a book for you. I'll have to show you that. All right, my next honorable mention. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
It's an Oblivion quest. This one is a rat problem from Fighters Guild.
A rat problem?
That's right. Rats in my basement, and something has been killing them. It's horrible. My poor babies.
I have to give a shout out. Fun, simple quest with comedic twists that help set Oblivion specifically apart from its predecessors. Because within the Fighters Guild of Morrowind, your first quest is go kill a bunch of rats plaguing this house. This is basically the same thing. Go kill some rats in this lady's basement. You go down there and she says, like, you gotta kill them. They're coming over. But what she's talking about is something killing her rats. She loves her rats. She keeps them living within her basement. But like there's a mountain lion killing them, and that's where you have to kill. It's like a nice little twist. I would say like ideally this is your first Fighters Guild quest. It's way better than the other option, which is Shaden Halls, which has you going into a cave. Who do I give the sledgehammer to? Is it the elf or is it the orc warrior? Who do I give it to? But I think if this is your first Fighters Guild quest, which it was for me, it's a quest where you don't have to fight anything grand. Instead, it's a simple mystery that you have to solve. And you can't complete the quest by killing this thing. You have to figure out, why are these things coming in there? It helps introduce the player to Radiant AI, which is a big thing in Oblivion. I need you to watch Quillweave. You know, I think she comes here by 12 p.m. So you have to sit by your house and wait until 12 p.m. You can interrogate Quillweave and figure out, like, hey, what the hell are you doing? She's leaving meat. You know, because she hates the rats. I think she's trying to get them out of the basement. Instead, she's bringing mountain lions in, which she doesn't want.
And Quillweave is a Thieves Guild NPC, isn't she?
I think she's just an Argonian. I could see why you would assume that, though. You're very racist.
I deny these allegations. First of all, I think Argonians are very sexy.
Argonians, I am an Argonian, always. Argonians are the coolest.
You play Argonians?
I am always an Argonian.
I play High Elves.
And also the rewards are more than gold. Depending on who you help within this quest, either Quillweave or the owner of the house, they'll give you a different skill level up. So if you help the owner of the house, they'll be like, listen, I talk to a lot of people, I'll give you some speechcraft. Quillweave is like, hey, sneak or acrobatics, I forget, because I know how to sneak and drop this meat down.
Sounds like a Thieves Guild.
Could she be in the Thieves Guild?
I swear to God, Quillweave is not just a...
Folks, this is about to be ridiculous.
Random people have... We'll fucking see.
Okay, yeah, tell me.
I remember...
about me being right.
Well, she's a famous author. Wrote stories.
Okay.
She wrote The Red Crater and The Goblin with the Golden Arm.
Because, you know, she's sneaking and dropping things within the area. I don't know if that's stealing exactly.
At 8 p.m. she'll go into sneak mode. Okay. But she writes stories about the lives of the criminal classes.
So she's an official card-carrying member of the Thieves Guild. She has her Thieves Guild card that she paid money for.
Okay, she might not be part of the Thieves Guild. But she does write stories about criminals.
The one thing that you agree with me is it's a good quest.
And she's very sexy.
Yes. I'd love to have the Lusty Argonian made within my possession. All right.
You know who wrote that?
Who?
We'll get to it.
Oh, I know who wrote that. We'll get to that. I did just... Okay, I figured it out.
I'm not sure what you're accusing me of, but don't do it without any proof.
All right, next quest. My next honorable mention is a Skyrim quest from a DLC, specifically Dawnguard, but not the one you're thinking. This is not a vampire quest. This is an extra side quest that they put within the DLC called The Lost to the Ages.
What are you still doing here? Let me guess. You're here for the treasure, aren't you? Just like all the others.
Within the Dawnguard DLC, they have this whole goddamn situation with the, vampires versus the vampire hunters. One extra side quest that has nothing to do with all of that. It involves you reading a book about I don't know how to say it, Arcathian Wars or something. I didn't write it down here. I've drank a lot of Cutwater Long Island iced tea. I apologize. There's some like Dwemer things that they discovered within this ruin. You go there and you hear a ghost saying like, turn back, don't come any closer. Eventually, like the ghost is like, okay, you're here, I'll come out. And the ghost walks out and there's this woman named, well, I got it right here, Ketria. I was exploring this to get some Dwemer research. My apprentice was here with me. I died. The apprentice just stole the research and made a book of his own. That's why you're here. I think this dungeon is like very unique because the reason she died is because of an earthquake. It's like probably my favorite dungeon within Skyrim. It has like falling boulders that happen as you like walk through. You're on these small precarious areas. And also the ghost, Ketria, she follows you throughout and you could find the area where she died. You can find her dead body. Eventually you get to like this puzzle, which is like a tonal lock. Do this thing in a specific order, and if you do it wrong, it spawns enemies. Once you get through it, it's like, oh, this is a stone that we need to find. It's like a shard from it, but if we complete the stone, we can get to the place that I was talking about. So this quest suddenly expands. You leave this dungeon, and you have to go to other dungeons within Skyrim to find the other pieces of the stone to piece it together. You get all your shards, and you go to the specific area. She's like, hey, listen, we completed this thing as like a cipher. Put the shard in, and it leads you to an elevator. It leads all the way down into this like big mysterious area. She's like, no one's been in here for 4,000 years, you know?
4,000?
You're the first person, you and Ketria.
Sounds intimate.
It's very intimate. I'll put some mods here that you can use. And eventually, basically, it leads up to you need to find some forge. It will make you a legendary item. You have to turn off steam from the forge because it harms you, but you're within this arena. And as you turn on the forge, Dwemer enemies will start spawning out, and the steam will start again. So you have like this little fun arena that you have to fight within the boss of the area, which is like a large...
Centurions.
Yeah, Centurions, but it's called the Forge Master, and they can spew lava at you. Like a Terminator out of lava. But at the end, you have a great reward. You can choose like, what will I forge from this great forge within like the Dwemer ruin, you know? You can either choose a shield, which I think is okay. You can make a rod, which if you shoot it, it makes the Dwemer spider. The coolest one is this like crown that you can fashion, which lets you have 2 standing stones at one time.
Oh, fuck.
Very OP if you want to have it. It's like my permanent thing that I wear. The last thing I'll say about this quest that I like is you can find her apprentice who wrote the fake book without her, and then you have to fight him. He's going to try to kill you so you can take the thing. So you get like a little bit of revenge for Ketria for that quest. I was surprised this like quest was just fitted in within Dawnstar. It's like Dawnstar is all about vampires and
what does that have to do with
hunters.
vampires?
Nothing. It's just like a fun, exciting side quest that takes advantage of all the ruins within Skyrim and leads to like a really satisfying reward and completion. Cool quest.
Farewell, my friend, wherever your travels take you.
That's my honorable mention. Let's hear yours.
Wang Dang, Fallout New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas, Wang Dang Atomic Tango, which you've already mentioned.
Sure.
You've spoiled it.
Yes, sir. Vestal reporting for duty. Please assume the position.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, tell me about Wang Dang Atomic Tango.
This quest is simple.
Okay.
As you've said already.
Sure.
You squandered the name. You gotta find 3 prostitutes for a brothel in Freeside.
Yeah.
It's part of the Strip, which is a great area in New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas. God.
Oh.
It's like, you gotta find 3 prostitutes for this brothel.
Yeah.
These aren't your usual pretty ladies in lingerie. These aren't your usual sexy Argonian broads.
Plus the Argonian maids.
Can I go for a sec? The thing you already asked for is you want a ghoul dressed as a cowboy.
Yes.
Which is kind of weirdly specific.
That is.
That's what sexuality is, and that's normal.
Yes.
If you're at home, if you're good into ghouls.
Yeah. Post your like time, how long you.
And then a smooth talker for number 2, and then 3 a sex robot, which we've all been there. We've all played Mass Effect.
You probably could figure out the first 2. Where do you get a sex robot? That's the exciting
exactly.
part.
Ghoul cowboy, you can find it in the old Mormon fort. Beatrix is her name.
Yes.
Who gives a fuck? And you know she doesn't take much convincing. Then you get the smooth talker. There's 2 options.
There are.
The first one, which is
course.
Old Ben, who's this charming silver fox.
I do that as well.
Outside of the north gates of the Strip. I always liked that guy. I kind of wish he was a companion. He had a companion vibe.
Because he warns you as you go through before you get killed. He's like, hey, by the way, this is what's with the Strip.
Which is writing. You introduce people before you even know you need them. And then the sex bot, which is perhaps the most iconic member of this quest. Everyone knows this guy, Fisto.
Fisto!
Everyone fucking knows Fisto. Fisto is complicated.
Oh, yeah.
You need his body, for one, but you also need to program him. Because you need him to fisto you.
Yes. What does that mean? We'll figure it out.
So it's like fingering is a finger.
Yes.
You're at a robotics facility. You find him. You upload a custom program, and if you are so bold, you can say, "Let's give you a shot, Fisto. Let's see what you can do." And you hear this terrible sound. It sounds like an electric drill. Screen goes dark, and Fisto will tell you it's normal to experience numbness after his power has been unleashed on you. And then you get paid. It'll never leave my mind. It'll never leave anyone's mind. If you ask someone what they remember from Fallout New Vegas, they'll be like, "Didn't I get the fist of a robot put up my asshole?" It's like, you did. There's no...
You sure did.
His name's Fisto. You know what he does to you.
Fisto. Come on, people.
Adam, put a sexy Fisto picture right here.
This is Rule 34. We'll go through all the...
There's got to be like
right
a body pillow or something.
Oh, so
but that's what I have to say. I just like... It's funny.
It is.
New Vegas is the funniest game, I would say.
Yes.
Of the series.
I think
it's realistic. You know, people want to fuck robots.
I mean, it's great. This was on my whiting room as well. I had a feeling you were going to.
Fisto has
Because you know you love fisting. You didn't say everything you want?
There's room. There's room for him.
It didn't happen to come with an owner's manual, did it? Forget it. Trial and error should do it.
All right, my next 2 quests for honorable mentions. Let's keep going. Oblivion. Sheogorath. This is close to Sanguine as one of my favorite Daedra quests within the game. Someone played this and it's like, oh, of course they'd make a DLC out of this guy. He's like so much fun. Something I wanted to bring up to you is that within the DL... Do you like Shivering Isles? I have to ask you about that.
Yes. I think it's unique. And all the Elder Scrolls DLCs, it's like they pay a lot of attention to a small amount of the world.
Yes.
Which I think is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. When I think of Daedric princes within Elder Scrolls, I appreciate more how they meddle with our world.
Yes.
I don't love going to their realms. I think that's just like, giving the whole chocolate cake. I just want like a small little slice.
Yeah, and also, I agree with you.
Yes.
Because you can't really pay off their world. You can't really do it. It's like, it's too abstract to really pull off.
I like how if you have this DLC installed, no matter where you are within the main quest of Shivering Isles, the dialogue will change. Because you're talking to Sheogorath, and like, spoilers, at some point Sheogorath will be gone, and it'll be Haskell talking to you. At some point, you will be Sheogorath, talking to a statue of yourself, It's a relatively simple quest, but a fun one. You convince a town that it is the end of the world. That's your goal. So you like schmooze up one of the prophets there, you figure out what are the 3 things? It's like, well, there's rats, dead sheep, and then finally something else. So like, how do you get the rats to come? You talk to the tavern owner. I have this collection of stinky cheese. You take the stinky cheese, you put it in a specific place, the rats come. The rat poison that the prophet puts down, you put that into the sheep trough, and that's how the sheep die. The kicker is the last part of the prophecy is a rain of flaming dogs. You stand in the center as Sheogorath tells you, and then just flaming dog models drop upon you. All the Khajiits start freaking out. They say the Kashara has come true. It really makes you feel that the Daedric princes can do whatever they want in your world. This doesn't feel like, I am doing this to make my influence stronger. This is Sheogorath saying you know what would be fun? Let's freak these Khajiits out at this village, Sheogorath in Oblivion. Very cool.
Thanks, Sheogorath.
Good times. Good times. I hope you had as much fun as I did.
I'm just annoyed,
This one is like a last minute change, but I wanted to mention it. Fallout 3! Wasteland Survival Guide.
Say, I'm working on a book about the wasteland. It'd be great to have the foreword by a vault dweller. Help me out, would you?
It's like a really clever and fun way to ease players into the setting of Fallout 3. For people who have no idea what Fallout 3 is, me as a kid, they send you out into the world either to teach you the game mechanics, like radiation, or introduce you to a type of enemy like the mole rats or the mirelurks, or explore. Hey, go get a mine from Minefield. The optional objectives within these quests remind me of the Dark Brotherhood from Oblivion, which you don't really see in a lot of the Fallout 3 quests.
No.
I think Moira Brown is a great character. I love her. She's one of the standouts of Fallout 3. Something I have to say, Colin. I was thinking about this a lot, okay? I think sending you to the Super Duper Mart at the start is a genius move. Because when I think of any schmuck that I've said, if the apocalypse happened, what would you do?
Costco,
top of the shelves, have all the food I need, I can shoot the zombies. Go to the Super Duper Mart, to a grocery store, you can take whatever you want. It's only now that I realize, like, oh my god, that preyed upon all our teenage wish fulfillment ideas. Bro, if it was a zombie apocalypse, I'd be like, set, bro. I know exactly how to take my dad's gun. I'd be like, top of the shelves at Costco. I'd be totally fine. Your responses help build the book at the end, depending on your special stats, which is like your main core stats. At the end of the quest, you get a special perk depending upon the responses that you give. If you're super sneaky, you have high agility, you tell more. It's like, I solved this by sneaking through getting this thing. If you have high strength, I solved this by like smashing people and doing all this stuff.
Yes.
And then your final perk changes on that, which is really cool. This is such a core quest that if you nuke Megaton, blow it up, Moira Brown still survives. She turns into a ghoul and she moves into the underworld in DC and will continue this quest because they know how much of like a tutorial it is to ease you into the world of Fallout 3. Also, what I love is you could totally negate this quest by convincing her that this is a bad idea to write a book about the wasteland. It feels very Fallout New Vegas with that. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, don't write this. I shouldn't go out here. It makes no sense. Just end it. Yeah, you know, you're right. But there is a benefit. She becomes a much better NPC because her prices become lower and her repair skill is a lot higher. And you personally get a much better perk, which makes any enemy who fires at you 50% less critical hit against you, which is like pretty fucking impressive. The guide also ends up impacting the world. You'll have a random event where an NPC who read the book will talk to you. And if you have like if you're very snide in your comments, like the NPC will be like, this fucking book sucks. Like I read this and it almost got me killed. But if you say exactly like what you need to, the NPC will give you like a lot more and be like, oh my god, you like this book saved my life. Like thank you so much, you know. And even like it affects the world in the fact that 3Dog will say, if you do a good job, he'll be like, hey, read this book. If you do a bad job, you know, and you kind of joke around, he'll be like, do not read that book. It'll get you killed. It's a big joke of a book. Wasteland Survival Guide, really cool.
I wouldn't want anyone to get hurt because of a mistake. Nobody's ever happy when that happens. Then they just yell a lot at me with mean words.
Those are my two. Colin?
So this is my number one honorable mention.
Is it?
Yes.
It is!
The final honorable mention.
Oh my god! I can't wait to hear it.
So this is a Skyrim quest. My only Skyrim quest on this list. It is Dawnguard. It is A Daughter's Solace.
I want us to be a family again. But I don't know if we can ever have that. Maybe we don't deserve that kind of happiness.
You learn about the tragic story of Serena's childhood. As Soren encourages Serena to find out the curse affecting all the women in Skyrim that has been around larger than we expect. So one interesting thing about this quest is that it takes time to explore Serena's backstory and hang-ups about having a cock. It doesn't get right to the sucking and fucking, which restraint is very important when we get to these. It's a story about acceptance. It's about a love. It's about improbable girth. You know, when I started Skyrim, I was like, wow, why does every woman have a cock? And I'm like, I'm not complaining. I just thought that it was a big change from Oblivion or Fallout, where it's only a few. And
what do you mean by have a cock?
They have a wiener, the Skyrim Futanari curse. And
is this a mod you downloaded by accident?
Wait, is this? It's not vanilla.
Where are you going with this?
I'm just saying it's a good quest. You know, even the ancient dragons, they had these cocks. And I think world building is really important in these games, and you know that's why it's my number one honorable mention.
Okay. I don't know if I understand exactly what you're saying. All right. You want me to go on to my final honorable mentions?
I think I do.
You do?
As you know, vampires are powerful, but we have limits.
Cutwater's products, they really quench your thirst. Cutwater is a delicious thing.
Is this empty?
No, there's a little bit left.
Yeah, I won't knock it over.
You know, we have a little bit of more Cutwaters if we want to get into.
This was at the California State Fair.
California
Chaucer's.
State Fair, Chaucer's Mead. It is
Look at this
frigid
illustration.
There's a man on a horse.
You're not having any, are you?
I'm having my Long Island. I have more. Okay, let me finish my honorable mentions, okay? My last two. First one is Fallout New Vegas. This quest, I wonder if you have it on yours, The Whitewash.
No one by that name has come here, I'm afraid. You must have heard wrong. You can ask around if you like. They'll all tell you the same thing.
Quest with an ending choice that made me really wonder if I was doing the right thing. Many people miss this one. This is a quest where if you go into Camp McCarran, you have to ask like, hey, do you need any help? And they say like, yeah, we have some issues, I think, with like Legion spies. You also have to ask Lieutenant Boyd, I think is the character, what else is going on? She's like, oh, we have missing people. She's missing like a ranger who went missing. You have to ask her again, anyone else you're missing? And then she tells you about Corporal White. Corporal White is just this guy who was hanging out. He went to West Side, and we don't know what happened anymore. You go on this long goose chase. You ask a lot of people. Eventually, at the end, you figure out the truth. Spoiler alert, what happened to Corporal White after all this time? He discovered West Side, which is an area kind of outside New Vegas, was siphoning water from the NCR's sharecropper farms. And the man who orchestrated this little plan killed Corporal White to stop the secret from coming out. So West Side can keep getting their water. And the culprit who murdered this man is a follower of the apocalypse, which, if you played through Fallout New Vegas, these people have been instilled in your mind as the good guys.
Yeah, they're like the only good guys.
Exactly. When you talk to Tom Anderson and you reveal this to him, you understand his motives. Like, West Side should be self-sufficient. But, like, what do you do with Tom Anderson? Like, you have to find some resolution with this guy. If you try, you say, like, listen, I know what you're doing, but we gotta bring in NCR. He's not gonna go to the NCR. He's gonna try to kill you. It's like, okay, I killed a follower of Apocalypse for trying to do the right thing. Is that good? Okay, listen, I won't tell the NCR what you're doing, but we need to figure out a way to explain White's death. You killed him. We can blame it on a gang nearby called the Scorpions. Even if Corporal White was doing his job, if you have a high speech skill, you can convince Tom Anderson to turn himself in. He will do that, but he will not admit that he killed White. He will say, we had a conflict with like a prostitute, I think, Dazzle from Gomorrah, and that's why I killed him. If you do that and leave West Side with their water, the murder is still not properly solved. Like, the truth does not get out. And what I like about Whitewash is if you go to Lieutenant Boyd, who tasked you with this quest, and explain it to her, that sucks. It sucks that we lost a member of the NCR, you know, but I know the family will have closure, so I appreciate that. The family doesn't know the truth. I lied to them, you know? I know exactly what I did. Also, there's an option where you can be a real asshole and say, like, Tom Anderson, I won't explain your situation to the NCR if you give me a cut of the profits. Fuck, okay. And you can return every week to get money from Westside to fuck them over. Also, another thing I love is within this quest, if you have Arcade Gannon, who is a Followers of the Apocalypse member, this is what I love about Arcade, is if you go with everything, Tom Anderson will say that the Scorpions killed Corporal White. That means NCR is going to murder the Scorpions gang within Westside. Arcade Gannon says, like, do the Scorpions deserve getting wiped out for something they did not do at all? It's like such a moral quandary.
It's a complex game.
It really is. Like, great writing, great writing. I think it's exemplified within this quest, and this quest is like hidden. As a kid, I was like, Falls of Apocalypse, good guys, I'll help them. But I'm like, but the NC, like, the guy died. Like, his family doesn't know what the fuck happened to him. I just lied to them. It makes for a great chin scratcher of an ending.
I owe you for this. You saved me a lot of work. And I'm sure Corporal White's family will be grateful to at least get some closure.
Are you feeling okay?
Do you like my number one?
I didn't understand your cock motive, but...
Well, I looked up like
Bethesda.
the most like heinous modded sex quests for Skyrim I could find. And this one was very compelling. So I thought I'd include it.
I have to look this up when I get... Wait, is it a modded quest? It's
yeah,
like...
it was a joke.
Okay, let me drink a little bit.
My replacement one that was originally number one was, it was Morrowind, where you talked to Vivek about his godhood. And I was like, you just talk to him, that's it.
Yeah, whatever. Hey, let me tell you about my final honorable mention. It's a Morrowind one.
Okay.
And that quest is Mystery of the Dwarves from the Mages Guild.
I know this one.
This quest exemplifies how you can break Morrowind, but this time, not through gameplay, but narratively. Mages Guild, you're going through and you realize like the head honcho of the Mages Guild is kind of idiot. His name's Trebonius. He just sends you on a bunch of missions for no reason. Like, he doesn't even know what he's saying. And you're like, this guy fucking doesn't know what he's talking about. One of the things at the end is when you do all these quests, he'll be like, oh, hey, anything else? What are my duties, Trebonius? And he's like, solve the mystery of the dwarves. Yeah, that's your next quest. It's like if I told you, find physical proof of God. Can you do that for me? Morrowind is so great because this is an impossible task, but you can solve it. You can tell this guy what happened. If you question the experts in their fields and acquire ancient tomes from quests that you have done within the Mages Guild, you can figure out what's going on, and you can ask everyone, like, hey, I found like the super ancient Bible about the Dwemer. What do you think about this? You can also ask the last living member of the dwarves. I think his name is like Yargam Bargam. He doesn't even tell you the exact answer. He says, like, I have no fucking idea why they left. Here's my theories, though. Solve the mystery of the dwarves, jackass. I solved it. Here you go. You can make him look like a total idiot.
Yeah.
You know, it's so satisfying. I was surprised Morrowind let you do this.
I know.
It felt like in a different game, like Oblivion or Skyrim, they'll be like, you know, you gotta find a way to kill Trebonius, because like this is not a quest you can solve. Within Morrowind, they're like, if you know what you're doing,
you can
talk
solve
to the last
it.
people, you can solve the mystery of the dwarves and present your arguments to this idiot who told you to do this. Oh, I'm gonna solve the fucking mystery of the dwarves, buddy. Love that. So that is my last honorable mention. None of mine were ranked.
That's a great quest. When I met the last dwarf in Morrowind, I was like, holy shit, you're just here. You're just like hanging out.
Yeah.
Like, literally some guy from like some era that none of the Elder Scrolls games ever touches.
No. Morrowind
Dark
is a
Horse.
game that wants you to just stick your fucking fingers in it and mash
Do whatever
all around.
you want.
Yeah.
You want to talk to God? You can talk to God.
Go talk to God. You know, we're not going to stop you. If you kill, like, the main guy, you keep playing.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Morrowind's so great in that.
Please, by all means, I'm listening.
That's my last honorable mention. So now we're moving on to our top
On to the
15s.
real... What time is it?
Do
What do
go
we
through
want to
it?
do for lunch?
It's up to you. I'm fine. You know how I was last time.
I know, you could just keep going.
I
You're
could
a
just keep
special
going,
boy.
so it's up to you. All right, we're good to go.
I've had a lot of mead.
Have you? You sure you don't want a Mai Tai from Cutwater, Colin? Cutwater. They make the most...
Okay, so...
Wait, hold up. Now we're going to go into our top 15. We'll ping pong like we did
Yes,
previously.
one to one.
Colin, you want to start us off?
Yeah,
Jeez.
I'm feeling great. Don't worry. If you're worrying at home... just let me-
Cutwater is
Listen,
a
this
fantastic-
started right here. It's like a third of the way through.
Ugh. You mind if I take this vodka mule?
This is pretty good.
You like it? It's mead. I feel like we're fantasy men. If
You have not had any of this. You've had one sip. You know, you can't... Don't you pretend with your Cutwaters that you have been in Cyrodiil with me.
I guess I'm a Fallout guy. I have my packaged drinks.
Whatever,
All
you
right.
and your fucking Nuka Cucka or whatever. Coca-Cola. My number 15 is from Fallout New Vegas. It is a quest called You'll Know It When It Happens.
Oh!
Looks like that's his vertibird coming right now. It's showtime. Let's not mess this up.
Mr. House asks you to make sure the president of the NCR does not get assassinated doing his speech, which seems likely from what he tells you.
Oh, yeah.
You're the Secret Service, essentially.
You are.
And you have to make sure he doesn't get killed, which he can be killed with
Oh, yeah.
respect. You can fail this quest. Immediately, the stakes feel high. Like, that's such a classic premise. It's like, are you a bad enough dude to save the president of the NCR? There's no quest markers telling
No.
you go here, here, and here, like Skyrim would. And you know, you gotta find your own way. You're gonna cover a lot of things. You can cover this suspicious bloodstain in the bathroom. There's an engineer that's missing. It's very complicated. But there's a bomb on his helicopter.
There's a lot of aspects to this quest.
There's a lot of fucking aspects
There's
to
like
this
a
quest.
lot.
You can talk if you have Boone as your companion. You're a sniper. How would you kill the president? And he tells you, here's 3 ways how to kill the president. And 2 of them are right.
Oh, whoa,
It was
Boone!
just like, Boone!
Novak's Boone!
Boone fucking knows. What I like about this quest is how
Yes.
open it is. You can fuck it up.
You
Like,
can.
If you slip up, President Kimball dies. And you have
Oh,
to
yeah.
deal with that. It's a mini sandbox mission, which I'll talk about, where you have small area where all your potentials are, and you have free reign to solve the problem. As good or as bad as you want it. You can like ignore this guy and be like, hey, I'm ready for the speech. I think it'll be pretty okay. You can solve this problem. You can not solve this problem. There's like 3 opportunities where the Legion will try to assassinate him.
Oh, yeah.
One's a sniper, one's a bomb on the landing pad, and one's like a random knife guy in the
Oh, yeah.
like the desperate final attempt.
Yes.
Some guy was supposed to stab President Kimball, which I think Kimball's a good name. It's like such a
It's a president.
Kimball.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
a
a
president
presidential name.
and I don't like it.
Yeah, there's an opposite to this quest called Arizona Killer, where
Yes.
you play
You
as a
work for the
legion
Legion.
to assassinate the president. And it has also another varied amount of options and routes you can take to complete the objective. This is like a quest that admittedly, I don't play a lot because I like to explore New Vegas as like this kind of like open area, you know?
This is like at the end.
But this is like such an impressive quest. You really thought this would have been like, okay, I walk up and I stand next to him, and if a guy pulls out a gun, I shoot him, you know?
Yeah.
There's like so many ways he can get assassinated, you know?
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
That's your number 15.
My number 15.
All right.
I'm looking forward to seeing the president.
You want to hear my number 15?
I see highlighting again.
There is highlighting. I promise you there is highlighting. A Fallout New Vegas quest. And this quest is There Stands the Grass.
Too many people have opinions on things they know nothing about. And the more ignorant they are, the more opinions they have.
20 times I've played through Fallout New Vegas. I hate this quest, but I love this quest.
Okay, let's hear it.
This is the quest where you go into Vault 22, I believe.
Oh, fuck.
And it's filled with all the grass.
Yeah, so it's
It is
fucking
the most-
plant people. Okay.
Plant people. My only issue, and it is dumb, is that I hate traversing the vaults in Fallout games.
It's a fucking maze.
It's because I think we've all played Fallout 3, so we've experienced all the areas of a vault. We know that there's reactors, living quarters, overseer's office, lobby. So anytime we enter a vault, we know we have like a lot to
It's a
get
fucking
through.
city.
Fallout New Vegas vaults are like
They're dungy.
they're like rusty and shitty, and they're dripping all over the
There's
place.
creatures.
But what I love about this quest is the conflict between the two major characters within it, and the construction of the vault. The first time I played this, I thought was incredibly impressive. You go talk to Thomas Hilderin, who's in Camp McCarran. He tells you need to get some data from this vault. It is blooming with life. But as you leave, you talk to his assistant, who says, like, hey, he sent someone else in here and they haven't come back. The last ghoul who went in there, she's a scientist named Keely. She's really smart. If you can figure out what happened to her, that'd be great. He wants this objective because he describes to you that the NCR is having a food shortage.
Yes.
Like, they will eventually run out of food, which he remarks. The data that I can get from this vault will save us all, you know?
Yeah.
Which is like a very, like, commendable thing. It's like,
noble.
Oh, shit. The main enemy of this vault is the spore carriers that are kind of like feral ghouls. I love the construction of this vault because they're hidden very well.
They're fucking scary.
They are very terrifying because they're hidden within plants. You don't see their enemy indicator on the radar before they attack you.
Yes. It's the only, like, camouflaged enemy
Yes.
that is in Fallout I can ever remember.
I even remember once going through, like, the bathrooms of the crew quarters, opening up a stall and being like, oh, there's just playing. Oh my god, it's like a fucking monster. Yeah, you find Keely and you talk to her and she's like, okay, I'm hurt, but we gotta get this goddamn job done. Let's go. The data here that you want to give Hildren is a bad idea. Like, you saw what happened to spore carriers. We can't do this. What I've done is I pumped out gas within all the vents of the vault. Just like ignite it and it should take care of everything. You get the nice little puzzle of how do I ignite the gas without killing myself? The first time I played it, I'm like, oh, I see the gas right there. I'm immediately melted. The character interaction at the end between Keely and Hildren, I like both of those characters a lot. Hildren wants you to get the data. Keely is like, the data is evil. Keely will make comments upon what you did with the data. Like, if you downloaded it, she'll be like, we need to destroy this. Seems like it's been downloaded from a Pip-Boy. I assume you have the data. What are you gonna do with it? And if you tell her, like, you know, Hildren asked me to bring it, she'll kill you. Or you can help her and be like, you know what, I understand exactly what you're saying. We need to delete this. It's like these two really large personalities. Keely is such a like determined, high-strung morals between her objective, and Hildren is like, doesn't matter what the fuck we do or who dies, we have to help the NCR with this data. I hate vaults. I hate traversing from them because I've gone through Fallout 3.
Yes.
I know exactly what a vault is as I go into it. But, like, I have to commend and respect the design of the vault and the convictions and the characters within it. That is my number 15 from my list.
We're with the government, for goodness sake. Have a little faith in us.
Colin?
Oblivion?
Okay.
Is my number 14. Like, I have a lot of fucking Oblivion.
Oblivion is a great game. We fucking love Oblivion.
I just want you to know. I've had a lot of mead. All of this I've drinking myself. I've had one sip.
I'm having a vodka mule. Okay? I've had 2 Long Islands.
So I can't be responsible for any jokes I've made.
Of course.
I know the Foodnari curse.
He's
was
very
a lot
racist. Go ahead.
Through my Nightmare Darkly.
Don't take this sojourn lightly. The recesses of the mind can be the darkest place of all.
Tell me about it.
You know it.
I know this.
We all know it.
This is so close.
This mission starts out with a Bravo Mages Guild missing person.
Brazil.
Brazil. So the guy who's missing is not missing at all, but instead he's been rendered comatose by some illegal magic that he's been tampering with.
Oh yeah.
He created an amulet that would let him explore his dreams. Have you seen the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio called Inception.
Yes.
What I liked, the justification for this quest.
You need a little bit more meat?
This lady, this Argonian lady, very sexy, very curvaceous, is that she can't go in to this person's dreams because dreams as a human being are a construct of your conscious mind. So if someone you know is in your dreams, it's because you know them in real life. True. But if a stranger is in your dream, someone you've never met before, you might think something else is going on, and that's why you have to go in. You put on his dream amulet, and you're like, I'm going into his dream. You're in his dream, and you meet him, you're naked. Completely nude. You talk to him, and you learn that he is gone crazy. And he's like, I've lost something in my dream. He's like an elf.
Yes.
You know elves, they're pathetic little cucks. and he's lost things. There are these tests you have to go through. There are 4 tests. You have perception, which is you are avoiding traps.
Yes.
By torchlight. It's like hard to see. There's resolve, which has you fighting minotaurs.
Yeah.
Which it's combat. It's Elder Scrolls combat. Nothing to write home about.
Yeah.
But you know, minotaurs are like
They're tough.
They're tough. There's courage, which involves you going through these tunnels underwater. You don't have enough time to get through without choking to death. You have to trust that there will be water-breathing potions, which there are. You know, that's a good representation of courage. You have to press forward, not even knowing that there will be another potion.
That's true, Colin.
I love that.
Okay,
and then there's the test of patience, which is you have to walk on specific tiles in some specific order. You've seen this puzzle in any adventure game.
In RuneScape, it's there.
In RuneScape, it's in Fall Guys. If you've ever played Fall Guys, it's on there. It's like, how is that patience?
I don't understand.
It's a test of memory. You get his resolve, his perception, his courage, and his patience as like items you pick up. Here's your courage back.
Oh yeah.
Here's your resolve back. And he's just like, oh, thank you. I'm a little wood elf bitch. Please fuck my wife.
He's an Altimer. I bet he is an Altimer. I don't know.
He's some elf. I think he's a wood elf.
He feels like a wood elf.
Any pathetic NPC, I think, is a wood elf in Elder Scrolls games.
Oh,
you remember the guy from Morrowind?
I remember Fargoth.
I think Oblivion's really good at this. It's a magical game. As a mage, you can learn Fireball. You can learn Lightning Bolt. And then, like, the quest is where you find out how broad this magic is. It's like there's a dream realm. You can lose yourself in it. Mm-hmm. There's like all this shit you can do. It gives a really good idea of how broad magic is. And I'm a magic head. I like being a wizard.
You're a Frostcrag Spire.
I'm a Frostcrag Spire enjoyer.
Yes.
Like the tower, the spellcrafting. And it's like you don't need fancy visuals because like this is not a very impressive looking quest. You're like there's like random stones, like random water tunnels. Like,
I mean, I think it is cool at least that you're like going through a dungeon that is not similar to how
it's
you
the
would.
Premise. It's the premise that matters. And you're in a dream. And you know, before Inception, for Nolan,
yes,
for Chris Nolan,
for
ripped off Oblivion. He stole this from Oblivion, and I think that we give him credit. Give him credit, okay? And you know, I think it's impressive. You know, if you think that Hennetir isn't a wood elf, then you're just a dumbass.
I can see now what you were saying was no story at all, but the truth, and I'm a fool.
All right, keep drinking. I'm going to tell you my number 14. Are you ready, Colin? The Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. All right. This is Waking Nightmare.
The entire town is being plagued by horrible nightmares. They're in serious danger, but I'm afraid there's little I can do about it.
This is a Daedric Prince quest, which are always very good. So when you show up on Dawnstar, people are complaining about nightmares.
Yes.
You know, you walk into the inn and you have this little like cutscene. Citizens are like, we have these nightmares. What do we do? Priest Amara's like, don't worry. We'll handle it. It's a little crazy. Skyrim like really relies on its gameplay improvements to enhance the quests. Even other developers will like praise Skyrim for how well its like dungeon design and gameplay felt within it. As like hardcore Elder Scrolls players, a lot of people will be like, this doesn't even match the quest that we had in Oblivion or Morrowind. That being said, I think Waking Nightmare reminds me of a quest that would be from one of these older installments. An example of a generic quest that hooked me because of its story and characters.
And it affects the entire town.
If you even talk to the Jarl, he'll say, like, I'm having nightmares as well. Like, this is affecting everyone. And the main guy, the Priest of Mara, who everyone's talking to, his name is Erander. I thought it was Erander. I'm pronouncing it the same way the guy who says his name says it.
Just
okay?
call him George.
Okay. He's like, oh, let's go up to the tower. You start walking outside the inn. Slow walk, a little bit annoying, but as you walk up, you see this giant tower, like physical tower, kind of like Dark Souls. You see the area that
Dark
you're going
Souls?
to. Dark Souls, baby. As you walk up, he tells you the story about the tower. Originally, there was Priest of Vermina in it. It was attacked by orcs who were plagued by... He was within that castle, and he fled specifically because of the evil influence of Vermina, who's a Daedric prince. But within that, he knows that he fled during the orc ambush, and he still feels bad about it, even if he recognizes that the people he was with, I didn't respect all these men and what they were doing, but I did leave them to die as the orcs were attacking. I just ran away and survived. As they were having this attack, the Priest of Vermina released the miasma. It's like this purple glass. You got it within your lungs right now. It put everyone to sleep. But as you open the door and the fresh air comes in, it's going to wake everyone up. So get ready. You're going to be fighting priests and orcs. It has very good pacing as you're walking through. Erander will like stop you a moment and be like, there's a skull. We need to do this. Or like, we need to go through the library. I think that'll work. Or you need to enter the dream stride. That's how we're going to get through this.
What's the dream stride?
I can't get through here. The only way, Erander says, is like, I need to give you a topor, a little bit of potion, and then you'll enter the dream stride. When you enter the dream stride, you'll be living through a memory of someone else. You won't be you. So as you drink that potion, you wake up.
Oh, fuck! I remember this.
And you are some guy named Casimir.
Yes.
With Priest of Vermina. Casimir, we must defend. The orcs are attacking. And you run as Casimir to destroy this barrier.
Yes.
So,
I remember this fucking quest.
You get to the final area where the Skull of Corruption is. These two priests of Vermina wake up, which are the priests that you remember from the dream stride. Casimir, you abandoned us. Why the fuck did you leave us? And you realize, like, Casimir was Erander. Like, he is the guy who I was playing as, who abandoned everyone and fucked everyone over. Like, they died because of him. And they immediately, like, start attacking Erander, and you have to defend him and help him. You kill these people. They see the Skull of Corruption. Skull of Corruption is a Daedric artifact.
Yes.
At the end, Erander's plan is to destroy the Skull of Corruption, which means you will not get the achievement for having every Daedric artifact. You will have 14 out of 15 because he destroyed that one. So it is a choice between, do I want this powerful staff or do I want Erander?
An achievement.
Exactly, an achievement. For me, that's tough. You basically have two outcomes. You either let Erander live, or in that moment, as he's going like, I'm going to destroy the Skull of Corruption, Vermina, who has never talked to you this entire quest, will speak within your mind and say, like, Erander, he will betray you. He will use the Skull of Corruption against you and murder you right after this. Be ready. Kill him now before he kills you. Oh, fuck. Okay. And then you'll kill Erander. You pick up the skull and say, whew, Erander didn't kill me. No one talks to you. Vermina doesn't talk to you again and say, good job. It's like silence. You're sitting here holding the staff thinking like, did I have to kill that guy to get this? A very rare quest within all of Elder Scrolls where a Daedric prince is your adversary. It is not a quest where you go talk to a statue and say, hey, go do this because you love me.
You learn about it from other sources.
Exactly.
Usually you just, you're right.
Exactly.
Hey, Adam, you're a smart guy.
Skyrim, maybe. It's not even a situation where it's like, there's Vermina. Hey, are you happy I got the skull? Vermina tricks you because if you don't attack Erander, he will join you as a companion. He'll be like, hey, thanks for saving me. Yeah.
Can you fuck him?
Replaying Skyrim again, this is the one quest that like really stuck out to me.
It's almost like Dawnstar exists purely for this quest.
Which I really like when they do that.
I always wonder, like in Bethesda,
how
do you determine who gets like the big quests? Where like you get your own town, you get all these assets, or if you get like, you can go to a Draugr, we'll make like one model
hey,
for
there's
you.
a curse, you gotta go into the temple that you've been in 50 times.
I like this quest.
Yes.
It's like, it's a whole thing.
When I replayed, I was surprised how different it was from everything else in Skyrim.
Do you want pizza?
I wish to offer my services to you. If you ever wish to journey with me, I'll be here.
Well, like, we'll order pizza, we'll go back to recording,
okay,
and then the pizza will get here, and we'll eat it.
Okay, I guess we could do that if you really want.
I need to pee again.
You need to pee
I have a
again.
very active bladder. I already have one peeing in my audio, so like, Colin doesn't hear anymore. Oh my god, I'm really drunk. Hello, Adam.
Oh god. I mean,
brother!
We're doing it.
Brother!
As it goes, it could be funnier.
I have 2 pee recordings. Oh my god, we really recorded all this peeing.
But I set your laptop.
I make.
Did you see you make here? Hey, what happened to all the Chauncers, huh?
Can we just take a moment? Can we talk about Outer Wilds? Are we gonna do an Outer Wilds vid? It's such a good game.
We gotta
Yeah. But like, okay, my
number 13.
13
Yes.
is Fallout 3. My first Fallout 3 quest on this list. It is called Trouble on the Home Front.
Oh, baby!
When you start Fallout 3, you have this tutorial where you're in Vault 101, and you go through all this bullshit. This is kind of almost a return to the tutorial area. You pick up a distress signal on your radio.
Oh yeah.
There's your childhood sweetheart, Amada. Who's like, we all love her.
We all love Amada.
We can't forget about Amada.
She was in Cloverfield.
She was, really?
She was the one that the main guy needs to save within her apartment that's fallen over.
Oh, the love interest.
Yes.
And she asks you to return to Vault 101 to stop the Overseer who's gone crazy. Who's
also her dad.
Who is her dad? Unless you killed him during the tutorial mission.
I would never do such a thing.
Which you can do. You discover there's a civil war going on in the vault.
Is.
One faction wants to open the vault and interact with the wasteland, which is kind of the premise of you leaving the vault.
Vault 101 was originally a vault that was never supposed to open.
Yeah, it was never supposed to open. It's supposed to be sustainable. One wants to keep it closed.
Yeah.
Do we risk it for the biscuit? Which I've been saying a lot lately. Anyways. Or do we stay safe and just deal with whatever we have to deal with? So there are 3 solutions. 1, you can open the vault. You need to kill the Overseer or convince him that the outside isn't so bad. In which case, Amada, your sweetheart, becomes the Overseer. Option 2 is that you can kill the rebels, including Amada.
And Butch, I believe.
Or you can convince them to give up. It's like, hey, it's not worth it. Just stay here, stay safe. I respect not having to fight in Fallout games.
It's nice.
Your skills mean something.
Oh, yeah.
Or option 3, which is you can destroy the vault entirely. You can force them out, and it's like, this vault doesn't exist anymore, motherfucker. You go on the wasteland, you live what I've been living. I don't give a fuck about this stupid shit. What I love so much is where it recontextualizes earlier events. You leave this vault, and it's like, okay, well, this was a character building moment. We're gone in the wasteland now. We don't have to think about this again. And yet, you come back and you see your childhood bully, your childhood sweetheart, the Overseer.
Yeah.
What have they been doing? Who replaced the Overseer if you killed him? And you learn all of that. It's not static. It's a dynamic world where these people go on and they have their own lives.
Yeah.
It's not just you who has a life in this game, which is a trapping of a lot of RPGs.
Yeah.
Everyone just stays the same unless you influence them.
He's getting a little water break.
Oh, God. Drink
calm
more
down.
water.
Yeah, it's always good.
If your pee isn't white, you're not good tonight.
You're a blight.
You're a blight, yes.
Keep going.
You get to affect this same place again. No matter how much shit you do, your home is still there.
Oh, yeah.
It's still going through it. If you make the wrong decision, your childhood sweetheart, Amada, she'll be like, we can't talk again.
Yeah.
You fucked up. And I'm just like, well, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
Even if you do the right thing and try to assist the Overseer or help Amada without killing anyone, she will still tell you hey, thanks for the help.
You gotta go.
You can't come back. You can't live with us because you know the outside world too much. You're a different person.
Yes.
We can't have this.
Which, I like that trope a lot.
Very cool.
Which is you're a hero.
Yes.
We love you. We don't want you here.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
bubble.
Can I talk about wizards?
Go talk about wizards, please.
The wizard fantasy, I would call it. You know more than them in the world. And then, these people, they love you. They adore you. They will talk about you. They'll tell stories about you. But yet you can't live with them.
No.
You cannot settle down because you are too tainted by the world.
Exactly.
And that is beautiful.
This quest has a time limit. If they send out the emergency signal, and if you don't respond to them within a couple quests, I think they will just lose.
Yes.
Vault 101 will have its own resolution that you are not involved in. Also find, if you complete that quest within a way that opens up the vault, you can find Butch, who is your bully.
Yeah.
He can join you on your adventures within Rivet City. He will explore the wasteland and end up in Rivet City at the bar and be like, hey man, it's pretty crazy out here. What about me and you? We go on a little adventure. You know?
Fallout 3, maybe people are a little too harsh to it.
It's got a little bit of good moments. It's got a little bit of moments.
I have a lot of respect for Fallout 3. I remember the feeling of playing Fallout 3. It was this world this was my first real childhood experience with post-apocalypse.
When I was a kid, I was in Sweden. My mother is Swedish, so I visited Sweden, and on their TV, they showed a video of Fallout 3. As a kid, I didn't know how to describe it, but I loved universes that were like, oh, you're broken and you use scrap metal and you have like shitty guns and so I didn't know how to describe post-apocalyptic. So when I saw Fallout 3, I was like, that's what I've wanted all my life.
Exactly.
Oh my god, that's the game. So when it finally came out, my brother pirated it and played it on his computer.
It wasn't easy to pirate things in 2008.
And
either.
I faked being sick for school so I could stay home and play Fallout 3 on my brother's computer. And my mother said, why are you playing on your brother's computer if you're sick? Wouldn't you get him sick as well? And I said, Mom, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
I gotta do some quests.
I guess this is goodbye for now. It's not much, but take this with you to remember us by. With luck, we'll meet again.
Should we move on to my next
We
one?
should.
My number 13 is also from Fallout 3. Stealing Independence.
I know this quest.
This quest.
Come on. You and I both know this is where the Declaration of Independence is stashed. No need to be coy about it.
Like, it takes advantage of the DC setting, and it helps immerse you in the Capital Wasteland. You're tasked by Abraham Washington.
It's a good name.
Yeah, very good for the guy who gives you this quest. And he's got like all this American paraphernalia. Can you get me the Declaration? I can't say it right.
Declaration
of
Independence.
Independence. It's in the National Archives. Cool thing about Fallout 3 is you get to visit all these museums upon the Washington, D.C. area, and they're all dungeons that you can go through. Unique dungeons.
I wonder how much they looked at the actual layout of these buildings.
So I went to Washington, D.C. recently. I might make a video about my journey to Washington, D.C. I was surprised how far away all the monuments were from buildings. With Fallout 3, you're like, cross the street and there's a building.
Yeah.
Within real life, you have to walk so many miles to get to one monument within the center. But one of the places I went to was the National Archives because I remember this quest and I thought it was very cool. Same as you do in Fallout 3, as you walk, you go into the Rotunda. And within the Rotunda, you meet a character, an NPC named Sydney. She's like, hey, get over here, you know? We got super mutants coming down. Sydney has set up like defenses, landmines, and little traps around. Sydney will talk to you and she'll say like, hey, Abraham Washington, he tasked me for the same goddamn objective. I know a really fast way to get there. If we work together, we split it 50-50. What do you think? It's very rare that you get a companion upon Fallout 3 quests.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah, you know, like let's hang out, you know?
I don't know shit.
Yeah, I don't know how to get there because she's like, I used the terminal, which is within the Rotunda. I unlocked an elevator that'll get us down like there. I like this quest because you don't have to do this. I kind of want 100% of the reward. Boom, shoot her, and then just go on with your life. There is other ways to get to the basement where the Declaration is. As you travel down from the elevator, you hear a voice through the radio. Someone saying like, stand firm, men. There are enemies at the gates, and we must defend. Please, be ready, and don't let them come. And all these, like, sentry bots and protectortrons turn online and start attacking you. Eventually, we open up the door to get to the Declaration, and it's like, that wasn't a guy. That was a robot. It was a robot who believes he is Button Gwinnett, who I believe is a real signer of the Declaration. He is a robot who believes he is an actual person within the American Revolution and thinks he is under attack by the British. And there's a multitude of options that you can do within this quest to deal with him. High speech, convince him like, hey, we're cool. Give me the Declaration. High science, you're a robot. I'll turn you down. You know, like, you power off, let me do my job. Speech him and convince him that you are Thomas Jefferson or something, and you're a special person, and you were telling him like, you've done good, man, stand down, the British are done, I'm here to take the thing. And he's like, oh, well, I've done my job. And like within that moment you can even be as cruel or nice as you want. You could say, take a rest, you've earned it. And he's like, I'm so happy from servicing this country, good night. You know, or you can be like, you did your objective, blow up. And he will blow up right in front of you. You can steal other items like the Constitution or the Magna Carta, which you can sell to Abraham. So it's like you can get these other... It's like, if you were in DC, you should be able to steal these objects to sell.
Exactly.
Like, it makes sense. It's perfect for the setting. Of course you should make this type of quest within the DC setting. You should be able to steal these relics, you know, and it's so
national
awesome.
treasure.
Exactly. It is national treasure. And the amount of options that you had within it, dealing with Button Gwinnett, I was like, this feels like a New Vegas quest. Like, I'm surprised you can do this many things. I'm surprised you can team up with Sydney or murder her immediately and take her special gun without having to do this quest. So cool. So Fallout 3, Stealing Independence, very cool. That is my number 13.
Farewell and Godspeed.
You're number 12. Colin, let's hear it.
You are an expert at analysis. You know that?
Am I?
When you think about Fallout 3, which this is from, this is the quest people might think of.
Okay.
Maybe that's me. Maybe I'm biased. And that is the power of the atom.
Oh!
It is the most memorable set-piece quest of, I think, maybe any Fallout game. When you say Fallout, I think the power of the atom.
Okay.
There's a town in Fallout 3 called Megaton.
Yes.
And in the center of it is an undetonated nuclear bomb. And being the smart cookie that you are, you have a few options to interact with this bomb. The first option is, of course, to disarm it, as any good citizen would do.
Oh, yeah.
In my complaint, it takes 25 explosive skill, which is like
that's what I'm gonna bring
you
up.
can like start with 25 explosives.
Yes, you
can
can.
disarm a nuclear bomb. How did nobody do this already? Like, this is not an advanced task at all. Oh well. And the second option, and perhaps the most memorable, is to detonate it. So you are approached by a representative from Tenpenny Tower, Mr. Burke. Tenpenny Tower. Can you think of a more ostentatious name
And
than that?
the voice actor, do you know who this is?
No.
This is the Imperial Guard from Oblivion, Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson.
The
director.
Wes Johnson.
You're approached to blow it up, the entire city.
Yes.
And everyone inside, so that it does not blight the skyline that the tower can see. How is that neat?
I got it all over me right now.
And so, if you accept it, you rig the bomb to explode, and then you go to the tower, go to the top floor, the penthouse suite with the owner of the tower, essentially, and you get the honor of detonating it yourself. You get to see the town explode.
You do.
A mushroom cloud, everything, wasteland in front of you.
We just watched Oppenheimer. We know how a mushroom cloud looks like.
And then your karma is permanently set to negative because you just killed countless people. It's mass murder. Like any terrible thing. Modern Warfare 2. No Russian.
No Russian.
When you
Let's talk about no
kill all the
Russian.
people in the airport, no one will forget that. People will talk about that till the end of time. Like, the worst things you can do in a video game that a video game lets you do will never be forgotten. That's why I will never forget this quest. I was young when I played this. And I, as a kid, I will admit, I replayed this mission a few times. Like, the feeling of power you get.
The power of atom.
The power of the atom. It's like, what you can do, what the game lets you do, it's like, I'm a god. Fuck you, Mom and Dad. I have control. I don't care what you say. Like, I'm not gonna eat salmon again, Mom! I'm gonna blow up a town!
I thought about this quest a lot. The only reason I didn't put it in is because of the 25 explosive skill needed to disarm the bomb. A game where you play in the apocalypse is like, hey, one of those nukes that caused the apocalypse is sitting right there.
And
blow it up?
surprisingly, this was not a controversy.
No.
This was not a big controversy.
It wasn't.
It almost makes you think about societal expectations. Like, mass shootings, those happen to Americans. Nuclear bombs, those don't happen to Americans at all. And which I'll leave you with this fun tidbit at the end of it.
Go ahead.
The option to detonate the bomb is completely missing in the Japanese release of this game.
What the fuck, really?
You cannot blow up Megaton in Japanese Fallout 3.
I didn't know that. That is crazy.
Not a controversy. No one cares.
No.
Like, we understand the power of the nuclear bomb because we did it to other people.
Allow me to collect myself.
You've had enough mead that I know we're having a good
We're
conversation.
free.
My number 12. Colin, we're going back to Oblivion. There's no way this quest is not on your list.
Okay.
Thieves Guild quest. The ultimate heist.
Number 12?
We are going to steal one of the Elder Scrolls from the Imperial Palace. Are you ready for this challenge?
This is how you build up a quest. Within the guild, you're acquiring items for this quest. The Boots of Spring Hill Jack, the Arrow of Extraction, I think it's called.
Extrication.
Extrication. I don't think Grey Fox even tells you, like, hey, we're going to steal
No.
blah, 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 blah. It's like everything you've brought together, keep it because we're going to use it to do the ultimate heist. You infiltrate the seat of power within Cyrodiil. This is the center of Tamriel. The Imperial City, the palace, all that is there. And there's forbidden zones within it that you cannot return to if you play this game normally. If you sneak in here, it's like you better pick up what you want because you're never coming back. You're never going to have an opportunity like this ever again. You sneak through the palace center and you touch this
giant hourglass.
Yeah, and there's like giant items within there, which are like a nice little Easter egg. And like it opens up a path that you can use to go through the sewers. My only major gripe with this quest is I think they should have had an option as you're going through those sewers to go a sneaky route where you didn't have to fight anyone. I felt like within that quest, they're like, this is difficult because you have to fight so many enemies within your route to the objective. When you take this quest from the Grey Fox, I love, this is like going back to Morrowind, he gives you a note with the actual numbered plan, with everything they have to do. It's just like, touch this thing, go through this. When you're here, shoot this. He's been thinking about this for so long. All the little moments, you know, you travel through the sewers, you have to shoot the arrow, like it opens up a thing, you have to get to a specific area, turns on the alien guards that you have to destroy, all these little bits. And
I don't think they'll show up anywhere else in the game.
They don't. The alien guards, it's like the only time you see aliens from like their time. Stealing an Elder Scroll is the ultimate way to cap off a Thieves Guild quest.
Yes.
It's like, where do you go from here? It's called the Elder Scrolls for Oblivion. You are stealing an Elder Scroll. That's crazy. Insane. It's so exciting. And it's such a clever way to obtain it. Like the guise is...
You're impersonating someone.
You're impersonating someone who's going to interact with the blind moth priest. It is such like a clever, like when I did this, I was like, fucking got it. Because it's not like I smashed a window and took the thing. How do you get the ultimate item that you need to get? You make them give it to you, you know? That it's like, oh, you're that guy. So they lay it out right in front of you and you take it. And I'm like, God, that's so great. I'm so happy you didn't have to like elbow a window and take it out and all the guards are chasing you.
It's a heist.
It is so beautiful. It's like Ocean's 11.
Exactly.
It's like, it's so great. I think it's like a fun little end to the Grey Fox quest line where he goes to like the Countess of Anvil and explains his whole situation and then he gives you the Grey Cowl. Who the fuck wears that cowl? I never put it on. Because every time I did, I got fucking in trouble.
I always use it.
I'm glad I met you.
That was my murder. So when I was a little boy,
yes.
11-year-old boy playing Oblivion, I want to go kill everyone. I don't want to get in trouble.
Oh
so
my
I'm going to put on the Grey Fox cowl.
Celia Cameron, I present to you the Elder Scroll you requested.
How about you tell me about your number 11, Colin?
My number 11, the final of my 11 through 15 tier, which is the bottom third.
Yes.
Is Fallout New Vegas.
Oh!
One for my baby.
Oh!
My wife's dead.
Oh!
I want the son of a bitch who sold her. I'll give you my NCR beret to put on. It'll be our signal, so I know you're standing with him.
This is one of those, I call it the unavoidable side quest.
Okay.
Where it's like, if you play Fallout New Vegas for the first time, it routes you in a certain direction. One of which goes through Novak. No vacancy. In case you didn't pick that up. There's this guard in Novak called Boone.
Yes.
You'll hear about him.
There's two guards. There's Manny, who you might meet during the day, and then he tells you about Boone.
Manny of the day.
Yeah, Manny of the
and
day.
Boone of the night. And he tells you about his wife, who was sold into slavery, and he asks you to find out who the fuck did it. And he gives you his beret. And he tells you, whoever sold my wife into slavery, bring him out front of the dinosaur, put on my beret, and I will shoot that person in the fucking head. You can give the beret to anyone.
Anyone.
You don't need to go to Boone first and be like, here's what I think. Like, this is why you have to shoot this person. No.
You don't need to be correct in this quest.
You don't even need to be correct.
Yeah.
Like, you can choose anyone in Novak.
You can get it wrong and still complete it.
You can get it wrong and still complete it. And he will shoot that person. The thing I like about Boone is he's not very smart.
No, he's
like,
not.
He does not, like, ask for proof before he kills the person. He asks after. If you investigate, you eventually find out it's the front desk lady. At Novak, who sold his wife into slavery to the Legion.
How do you figure that out?
You steal from a safe.
Yes, within her
a bill of sale.
Yeah.
Boone will ask you, like, how'd you know how to do it? Oh, here's the bill of sale. Here's all the proof. And you're like, okay, good. But if you're a little scumbag,
oh yeah,
you can be like, I don't know, I just had a feeling about it. And he'll be like, what do you mean you had a feeling about it? I just killed like a random person because you had a feeling? And you're like, yeah, I guess. And he hates you. He won't talk to you ever again if you do it like that.
Oh my God.
I believe if you killed Manny,
yes,
his friend,
oh fuck,
he will attack you.
He'll turn hostile.
Yeah, and you have to kill him.
Holy shit.
If you're a nice guy like me,
yes,
you can get some justice out of this quest. You can discover who did it.
Yes.
Her head gets blown up. It's very beautiful.
moment.
You get a good companion out of it. You get Boone.
Oh my
as
god.
your companion. I love him.
Literally the best companion.
Literally the best companion.
Someone with a hunting rifle and great aim.
You get a great hat too. The first recon beret.
I think you get perception and critical chance.
Perception and critical chance.
Critical chance within any Fallout game is
insanely good.
Get your luck up. Holy shit, you'll kill everything in
luck
1
is
minute.
everything.
In 1 second.
And I use it all the time. Like I wear that hat till the end of the game.
And me too.
From that early quest.
Oh yeah.
It's such a great storyline. Like the freedom you get. And Boone isn't annoying.
No.
Like
because he's very quiet. He's very
a soldier. He's stoic.
Yeah.
He's stoic.
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 And that's why I like this quest. It's like it's a mini sandbox. And it doesn't ask a lot of you.
When I think of Novak, I immediately think... It's like,
yes.
I think if you bring up Fallout New Vegas, hey, Novak. It's like, Boone, that quest. You immediately remember.
Giant dinosaur.
And Boone is like, you bring him out anywhere, feral ghouls will just snipe him right in the head. And it's like, even the NPCs comment on it. Boone, bing, great. So good.
I think you better leave.
We're still going there.
Do you think the pizza's here?
My number 11 is an Oblivion quest. And I know you love Oblivion quests. From Oblivion is... Where spirits have lease.
You wouldn't happen to be in the market for a home, would you? If you are, I just happen to be selling a manor located right here in Anvil.
As a kid, 10 years old, this was like immediate. What did I want to do in Oblivion? I wanted to have a house. But if I go to Anvil, someone's selling a house for like so cheap. Oh my, I could do this. I could do this. I can get this place. Talking about Unexpected Voyage, it is a great incidental quest. This is like one of the best. When you play that game, you get some stuff and you're like, I need a place to put it. I want to have a house. For 5,000?
That's not bad.
I can get that. And it's like a big house. And it's like beautiful. It's next to the chapel. It has a garden next to it. It's like, why is this so cheap? Why is this so cheap,
What's
Colin?
the catch?
Yeah, what is the catch? So you buy that house, you spend a night, you sleep there, and like, I was interrupted as I was sleeping by manor ghosts. Manor ghosts! And I was like, oh my god, what the hell? There's ghosts here! So you run over back to the inn where you bought the house from the guy, and he's gone. Like, you talk to the people in the inn, and he's like, yeah, he skipped town, he went to Imperial City. He's gone, buddy. You know, like, you want to try to get your money back, you better start walking. I was like, oh, he knew, he tricked me. So it's like, you go to the Imperial City, and he explains the scheme. He's like, yeah, you know what? I had a grandfather, he was kind of into some necromancy and cultist stuff. There's a curse, I wanted to sell it for cheap. But I feel so bad. I will help you get rid of these ghosts. Tell me when you're going there. I will show up. I do love how Oblivion characters are just like...
It's like a stage play.
It is. It really is.
Shakespeare.
Oh, it's so beautiful. You and Velwyn return to the manor. I think you attack some ghosts. Velwyn like massages the wall, you know. Eventually the wall opens up and he sprints away. Strangely complex animation for this door. If you go behind it, there's like things that are stuck to the bricks that go apart, and there's like levers and like weights that explain why it's opening. I'm like, who spent this much time? Who did this? You go inside, the crypt design is rad. There's all these like satanic pentagrams. You find a book with like blood written all over it. You hear the voice of Lorgren Benarius, and he's like,
oh, I was such an asshole to this town. I was an evil necromancer, you know, but I will be at peace if you give me my hand from a skeleton.
You take the hand and you give it to him, and he's like,
you idiot! I'm an evil man! I will attack you now!
And he spawns as a lich. You kill him, you know. They melded a quest into buying a house that you need. And it was so clever. And also, like, when you beat it, Velwyn, who's with you, he sprints away, but he returns. He's like, hey, good job, you did it. Like, you don't need to buy any upgrades. It's all there.
No.
Yeah.
And those houses get fucking expensive.
They get very expensive.
Like, you want a house early on, and like, that's a fucking cheap house.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get all this shit. And also, as a child, I thought liches in Oblivion were the coolest things in the world.
As a kid, when I did it, I was like, I'm on an adventure. Here we go. You know, the thing I wanted was not what it seemed. That's my number 11, where spirits have lease.
Do you want to check on the pizza?
Excellent work, my friend. May the manor give you many years of happiness.
So would you like to go on to your number 10?
I would like to go on to my number 10. Fallout New Vegas.
Whoa! Josh Sawyer's Fallout New Vegas.
Josh, I forgive you.
Joshy Washies.
I don't remember what you did. Come fly with me.
Okay. Yeah.
one of those side quests that I think if you play Fallout New Vegas, you will remember. The premise, deal with some ghouls.
They might attack Novak. We can't have that.
We can't have that. And you go to this rocket test facility called RepCon. First thing you see some feral ghouls. Let's go into VATS. Easy. But once you go inside, a voice comes over the intercom asking you to head upstairs and meet with some others.
A gravelly voice who calls you Smooth Skin.
Yes. And you go upstairs to meet this voice, and the voice you meet is not a ghoul, but a human who is talking like a ghoul.
Chris Haverson.
Chris Haverson, yes. And he's a human who seems to think he's a ghoul. Which immediately it's like, I'm bought in.
Yes.
Like, he's a ghoulaboo.
Knowing the setting of Fallout, this is exciting.
This is exciting. It plays with the setting itself.
Absolutely.
It's
Because
great.
he has reasons why he thinks he's a ghoul.
Yes.
Which are like, my hair's falling out, my skin's gross. And he's like, yeah, kind of.
Sure,
Yeah,
whatever,
sure, buddy.
Chris. And you discover this cult.
Yes.
Cult of the Bright or whatever. And you meet Jason Bright. And like there's these ghouls called glowing ones. These glowing ghouls. So you're usually insane. But this one is aware. And he talks about this great journey, kind of classic migration, religious utopia, yada yada. And he tells you about the human you met who thinks he's a ghoul, but he's part of the big plan. Which to me felt very manipulative.
It is.
Jason, you're canceled.
Yeah.
And Jason tells you that the basement is full of invisible demons, which are stopping them from continuing their journey.
Oh yeah.
What do you mean demons? We're in science fiction territory. We're not talking about Elder Scrolls now. And so you go into the basement and you're like, okay, I'll fucking deal with this, Jason. And it is full of invisible creatures.
It is.
Super mutants called Nightkin. So you either fight your way through it, or if you sneak, you can get right to their leader. And you learn that they're almost addicted to stealth boys.
They like being invisible.
They like being invisible. I get it. I want to be invisible. It's almost a narcotic addiction that they have.
Absolutely.
You either promise them that you'll find like the big supply of stealth boys that are supposed to be here, or you kill them. But we're not going to talk about that because that's always the most boring resolution to all these quests. You figure it out one way or another. Essentially, the stealth boys aren't there, yada yada. We're not talking about that.
No, we're getting...
It's incidental.
Keep it going.
So you learn that for this great journey, they're trying to leave on a rocket. If you think of like a retro-futuristic rocket, like the most generic rocket you can think of, that is what they're trying to leave on.
Like a clip art rocket.
A clip art rocket, if you will. You also learn they're not leaving behind their human friend.
They sure are.
Because he's not a ghoul. He's a human. He just thinks he's a ghoul.
Jason Bright knows this. He's just like, well, he can't survive.
Yeah, he's part of the plan, but he can't come with us because he'll die. And if you talk to him, you can convince him, yes, you're a human, but you have this greater part in this plan. Or you can be like, yes, you're a human, they're fucking with you. You should destroy their rocket. Options. Opportunities. If you choose to be the good guy.
Yes.
I think regardless. You have to go on a fetch quest. You get some... I won't talk about that very much. You get everything you need for the great journey. You go to this observation tower. And as you get in it...
Oh yeah,
a radio signal comes up. The Flight of the Valkyries. Classical
Apocalypse
song.
Nows.
The rocket ignites. One of them collides into each other and wobbles off onto the horizon. And and that's the last you see of them. That's the end of the quest.
Do they make their great journey, Colin?
It's like seeing them collide into each other and shoot off into the sky, and it's like there's no fucking way they got anywhere. And it's iconic. I always remember it. There's the ghoul cult, the ghoulaboo human, which I call them.
Of course.
The invisible super mutants. And whenever I watch those rockets go, I'm like, where did they actually go?
I think when I look at them, I'm like, how did he fit all those guys in there?
Yeah,
it's like I couldn't convince you no, but I wonder what happened.
This fantasy, it can't pay off. It's not a medieval game.
It's beautiful.
Apparently, in the original cut, when before budget came into it.
I do not know this.
They wanted to have the rockets actually have landed somewhere in the wasteland. And you can see what they're doing and all that.
Okay.
But they ran out of budget.
They had 18 months to make Fallout New Vegas.
They did.
What a goddamn game they made.
And what a great game they made.
Honestly.
If you worked on Fallout New Vegas, that's when you say I love you.
Josh Sawyer, John Gonzalez, Eric Fenstermaker, all you quest designers. You know all of them.
I know all of them.
Mwah.
Good
Come
work.
fly with me. You're definitely going to Novak. You are definitely having to talk to Manny, and he wants you to deal with this.
Yes.
And it's such a large area, such a long quest with so many interesting stages.
Yeah.
I think it also plays on so many ideas of Fallout.
I think all the Elder Scrolls games and Fallout New Vegas They front load the unique quests. Do you remember a quest from late in Fallout that has like a rocket taking off, a unique soundtrack, a unique radio station? This is a hook quest. They want you to find this. They want you to be like, this is a fucking sick game. I'm going to play it all the way through.
It is your objective onto finding Benny. So it's like, of course you're going to run into this, which is very cool.
Yeah. What's your number 10?
My number 10 is also a Fallout New Vegas quest. We got a couple of these on here. This one is Beyond the Beef.
I'm in a bind. I've been planning an exquisite society dinner, but there's a bit of a problem with the main course. He's got a powerful and temperamental father.
From the Ultralux Casino within the Strip. So many different ways to complete it using all of your skills. Ultralux, some members in it, want to go back to their history of cannibalism, and they want to feed a human to a bunch of patrons to convince people that cannibalism is maybe the right choice. That is their plan. So they have stolen or kidnapped a member of a very famous family, the Gundersons. When you immediately enter Ultralux, you'll talk to him and he'll be like, hey, you know, my son's missing. I wonder if you can find him. You really warmed my heart, my simple rancher heart. You know, I'm not a guy who knows a lot, but you can find my son, that'd be great. So you go out and you talk to like some of the owners of the place, Margarine and Mortier. Yeah, someone went investigating here before. We haven't heard a lot about him, but it doesn't matter. You know, we're trying to run a nice establishment. It doesn't matter. You talk to Mortier, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, someone gone missing? That's crazy. I hope they find out soon. He, in some point, explains to you, if you have the high enough skills, that, like, yeah, I've stolen Ted Gunderson because I want to serve him as a meal. We are cannibalists, and I want to convince everyone that cannibalism is okay. The hazard of a cannibal becoming a gourmet, which he is very fancy, is his hard to please a refined palate. Like, he can't just eat people anymore. He has to eat important people, and you need to help him with that. It's like surprising what you can do in this quest. So many things, because you can help Mortier, you can, you know, like incriminate him, you can get him in trouble, you can trick him into doing the wrong thing. Everything within this quest is tied to something else. You can murder Ted for Mortier, but then, like, what are you going to do about Heck Gunderson? His dad's still there. It's like, you can save Ted, and it's like, okay, I'm going to save your son. But, like, Mortier was planning to serve, like, a human meal to everyone. Like, what are you going to do about that? He's going to be in power still if you do that. And you can affect the state of the world based on your own discretion. Like, you don't have to screw over Mortier so everyone knows he's a cannibal. The only reason to do that is to help the Strip. It's easier for you to just fuck off and save the son and be like, okay, I'm done. If you go that extra mile and really screw this guy over, the Strip is like, oh my god, thank you. Like, holy shit, you expose this guy, we can continue as normal. If you save the son and bring it to Heck Gunderson, the dad, he'll be like, I can't believe they fucking do this. I'm not gonna give the Strip any meat at all. Like, I'm a big Brahmin owner. They don't get anything from me anymore. You can convince them, hey, that would be a bad idea. Like, everyone here needs food, you know, you'd be a large supplier, and you get Strip fame from that. Major players are hiding secrets, like Heck, who says, like, oh, save my son, it's so sad. You talk to someone else and it's like, that guy's an asshole. That guy fucking just railroads everyone. He's the worst. He's like, they call him Hurricane Hank. Obviously something's going on. You find a note that says, like, I need to meet someone within, like, the pool spa area. You go down there, you find a guy named Chauncey who explains everything to you. Explains, like, hey, Mortier is trying to serve this kid. R.I.P. to that guy, because you gotta save this kid. You know what would be better? You should bring them out as they're eating meat, and you should fake the meat, so they're not actually human meat. That's so genius, Chauncey. As you complete the conversation, he gets immediately murdered by an assassin. You go down into, like, the meat locker area, you find the cook, and it's like, okay, I need to save Ted. Like, what do I do? Convince him, it's like, hey, you know, I'm like a journalist. I'm here to talk about your cookbook. He's very rude to you. You can say, like, you're rude because of your family history. Your mom and dad weren't nice to you, were they? And he's like, oh, I guess I do have some problems. I gotta go. And he'll, like, walk away. But then what do you do with the meat? Like, you have to serve some fake meat. You need to get the recipe from him. But now he's gone. Like, get the recipe. Like, how do you get the recipe? How do you save Ted? How do you get him through without anyone freaking out? Like, the one thing I really want to say, this is like Fallout New Vegas in a nutshell to me. You can talk to Mortier, and he's like, oh, we have Ted, but we need to get rid of Ted, find someone else, because Ted's a little too important. Give him back to his dad, and we'll find someone else. Something you can suggest is, like, what if I offer my companion instead. Like, would a boon or an arcade be okay to eat? And you'd be like, yeah, that's totally fine. So you could make arcade or boon, walk into the freezer and lock them in. This is like a horrible option for you. Like, you lose a companion who would be very beneficial. Like, why is this an option? It makes sense for your character within the story if that's how you want to play it. And that's how immersive it is. This is an option that you can take that like kind of ruins your life. It sells the soul of someone who's been following you and trusting you for so long. Why would you do it? You're just that guy.
You're a fucker.
You're that fucking guy, aren't you? Though my one major gripe is that this is the Ultralux quest, and it makes this quest feel more like an arena for the quest instead of an individual casino on the strip.
Yes.
Like Gamora and Tops, I go into. And
those are casinos.
Exactly, those are casinos. When I go into Ultralux, I know I'm doing this quest,
Yes.
which kind of removes it from the others. It's like so well made that it decreases the value of this building.
Yeah.
And like where it is in the narrative. So that's why I love Beyond the Beef. That's my number 10.
Oh, I see how it is. You think because my father walked out on us when I was 5, now I have to yell at people. Or because my mother was a deranged chem fiend who regularly brought strange men home who told me to call them uncle. Or because my sisters would lock me in a shipping crate when they didn't want me around. And my brother... God, I'd forgotten about that. How could they do that to me?
Do you have the whole White Russian? Mm-hmm. You're insane. You ready to keep going?
I guess so. Well. My number 9 is technically 4 quests. Don't fucking talk to me.
Oh my god.
Don't. If you have a problem with this, I don't care what you think.
Oh my god.
And this is the Fallout 3 tutorial plus the Fallout 3 quest Escape.
Explain right now.
You've got a bright future ahead of you, son. I'm sure of it.
I love Fallout 3's tutorial. Can you name another game where you start out as a little baby, crawling around this big? Can you? There's no other game.
You got me there, Colin.
Everyone who bitches about the tutorial is like, oh man, I've played Fallout 3 9,000 times. And like, I'm modded and everyone has big tits. I want to play this tutorial. It's like, yeah, maybe that's not how the game's supposed to be playing. You can bleep that out. So anyways, you choose out your special stats.
Yeah.
And then you're a kid. 10 years old.
Whoa.
And then you get your Pit Boy. It's a drip feed.
For your like 8th birthday.
10th. You talk to some people, they all say happy birthday. You deal with your bully, who's a shithead from 10 years old.
Butch is his name.
You get a BB gun, you learn to shoot. That's
From
how you
Jonas.
do a tutorial, baby.
Yeah.
Immersive gameplay. Narrative. Yeah! And then you're 16. How's that pizza?
It's very good.
You know, you are 16 years old. You have to go to class and take a test.
Mm-hmm. The goat.
The goat. But before you get there, another altercation with Butch. This is the first time in Fallout where you use your skills. It's like you can talk Butch out of it.
Oh, yeah.
You can brawl him. You can give him the old 1-2. Then you enter class and you take a personality quiz. Now, if you've been on the internet for a while, you've probably taken a personality quiz. You know, BuzzFeed, whatever. It's like, what Harry Potter character am I most likely to fuck? You know, what is your D&D class? I know, whatever you losers do on the internet. You know, you take that, and that tells you what your starting skills are going to be.
Oh, yeah.
And I like that. You know, Fallout New Vegas does like a Rorschach test.
It does.
For you, but this is like an actual thing. You get told what your class is, basically. Of course, you can choose differently.
At the end, yeah.
If you don't like what it is. One last time jump. You're 19 years old. Your dad, who you were a baby crawling towards, has left the vault.
Liam Neeson.
Sorry. You're alone. You don't know why. No explanation. The abandonment of a child. If any of you have daddy issues, then this is your quest. Everyone's in a panic. You fight some rad roaches for some reason. I guess your bully, Butch, Deloria.
Yes.
Is like, my mom is being attacked by rad roaches. Can you please help me?
You gotta help me.
It's like, it's that first feeling of power. Do you want to help your bully? Or should his mom be eaten alive by cockroaches?
Be like, hey, you treated me like a piece of shit.
Yeah, maybe your mom should die.
Yeah.
Eventually, you know, you like go to the overseer, you confront him, and it's like, I'm leaving. Or you kill him.
Oh, you could.
Which I already talked about, how that affects the later story.
It does.
I love this opening. The fact that you gotta go through all this stuff. The personality quiz, being a baby. Being a baby?
And choosing your special stats from a child's book.
You know, the vaults are the big thing people remember about Fallout.
Yes.
It shows you what life is like in your vault.
Yeah.
And Vault 1 was like kind of a typical vault. It's not the one that was like one of those fucked up experiences.
No.
And you experience all this shit. You experience like that teenage drama.
Yeah.
Being like misunderstood as a child. And it kind of works. No matter what your skill is.
Absolutely.
Like, you're always going to be some child who probably be picked on. Either like a stupid brute, like a nerd, like a talker.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to be fucked
You
around
shut
with.
up.
After that, it pays off with the home front.
It does.
Which
Like
I
all
talk
your
about.
interactions.
I thought it was really good, and it makes you going into the wasteland even more impactful. The vault's almost familiar. Like, it's like high school, almost. It's like
It
this,
is. Oh,
when
yeah.
you go out into the wasteland, it's like, this is something else entirely. And I like that a lot.
A lot of people do not like Fallout 3's intro, specifically because they do not like replaying it. But
Yeah.
I agree with you that the first time I did play it, I felt like I was having an incredible experience.
And that's what it's meant for.
That is.
Like, these games, you can mod it.
Yes.
They're moddable games. You don't have
can
to play
do
it.
quick starts if you want to.
But you gotta be honest. The first time you played that, you were horny.
Yeah, I'm also surprised. I never thought you were gonna like bring that up.
People are haters, and I think they need to know.
Get out of my way, you stupid tunnel snakes!
I can show you a real tunnel snake, Amaya.
Back off. Eat your pizza. As I explained my number 9. That was your number 9.
Mm-hmm.
This is my number 9. My number 9 is from Oblivion. And that Oblivion quest is from Skingrad. And it's Paranoia.
You're sure you weren't followed? Good. I thought I could trust you. Nobody else in town. They're all in on it. All watching me.
It's a quest highlighting Oblivion's AI, as well as giving the player multiple routes and options to take. Not only that, if you investigate yourself, it rewards you further. So, when you go into Skingrad, you're probably going to get talked by Glarthir. He's a freaky little guy, alright? He's a Bosmer, and he's all paranoid, and he wants to talk to you. He's like, hey, my neighbors are spying on me. I need you to prove it. Here's the first thing. And this was the quest, as a kid, where I first experienced Oblivion's Radiant AI system. Oh, she doesn't just like walk over here. She like walks over here and eats breakfast and does her job and like talks to this person and does all these things. I thought that all these characters, like in Morrowind, would just like walk and stand here for the rest of their day. What blew my mind was like some NPCs within the game will visit their friends inside other cities. They had their own lives, and this quest featured that. Like, and reporting back has some neat mechanics. Like, the game will never explicitly tell you like what the correct option is. It's up to you to figure out. If you tell him the truth, like, hey, no one's following you, he'll give you less money. But if you appease him and say like, yeah, you know what, they do want to kill you, he'll be like, I knew it! Here's 200 gold. After the third suspect that you investigate, if you cleared all names and say like, no one's investigating you, just relax. He'll go crazy and try to kill you. If you tell him and you appease him and say, hey, you know what? I think someone is trying to hurt you. He'd be like, oh, I knew it. Thank you so much for telling me. I'll give you 1,000 gold if you kill these people who I told you to investigate. I like in this point in the quest, say like, hey, listen, buddy, I'm not gonna do this. He'll be like, fine, whatever. He'll do it himself. He'll go to his house, get a little battle axe, and go try to kill the enemies. He won't survive, you know? You don't need to follow him to do that. It just happens. He will give you a note to say, hey, I want you to kill these 3 people. You can show it to the guards, and the guards will be like, oh shit, I knew Glarthir was crazy, let's go kill him. You can show it to the suspects who he wants to kill, and they'll be like, oh my god, this is crazy, show it to the guards, you know, they'll do something about it. If you show it to the third suspect, who's Cyrilli, I think he's one of the winemakers, he will get his brother and say like, hey, we'll handle this. And him and his brother will kill Glarthir themselves. As a player, I had this own agency where I have to investigate all these other people's lives. What if I investigate Glarthir's life? What the fuck is he up to? And I follow him through his daily routine. If you sneak into his house, you can see that he writes notes based on everything you do within the quest. No, this person's not following you. You're crazy. He'd be like, the outsider said he's not following me, but I know he's lying. You know, there must be something up to it. Or if I say like, yeah, it is. It's like, I knew, the outsider confirmed it for me. It's so beautiful. You're never instructed to do this. But I like that in a quest about following routines, they let you investigate the quest giver themselves to learn more about them. And that's great. There's a lot of great specific dialogue for all your choices. Not all the choices bear the same outcome. And even to get a successful end to the quest, like if you're smart and tell them like, maybe someone's following you, you get more of a reward because you string them along.
You manipulate them,
You
yeah.
manipulate them to get a better thing. A perfect example of Oblivion's Radiant AI system, like this is the quest that you would make based off of it.
I feel like they didn't do enough with the AI.
There's a few quests that I think are very impressive, but otherwise they don't really.
Yeah.
Now I know for sure that they are all in on it, and therefore they all have to die, starting with you.
Number 8 for
Number 8.
Colin.
My number 8 is a Fallout New Vegas quest.
Oh!
It's a companion quest.
Oh!
And it is. I forgot to remember to forget. Boone.
You like Boone, don't you?
I thought some more about what you said. I think maybe you're right. Maybe I should go to Bitter Springs. I don't know what I'm hoping to find there.
This is his final quest. By this time, you've done a few things to get rep with him. It's mostly killing Legion people.
Yeah.
Boone hates the Legion. You go to Bitter Springs, which is like this big story event that he's always talking about like some massacre he was part of.
Oh, yeah.
And he tells you at this point what he did, which was basically he was ordered to shoot on whoever comes through a certain area, but the people who came through that area were civilians and elderly and women and children and all that. But he shot anyways with his fellow soldiers. And then he's like, can we stay here for the night? I need to think things over. I'm like, can I share your sleeping bag, Boone? You wake up, and there's suddenly a Legion raiding party. It's like, the Legion's here. It's too many men to fight. God. It's like, I'll stay here. I'll fight them. Don't worry. And you get the impression he wants to die. Boone. You fight the Legion with him. You know, this is brave last stand that you win because you're the protagonist of this game. The Legion are little bitches, and you have a giant anti-material rifle you can fire 8 times a second.
Right through their skull.
Right through their skull. But Boone doesn't die. This set up in a movie or a story. Like the guy who's had like a troubled, terrible life, you know, he would die.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, oh, it was worth it. I'm like, thank you for being my friend. But instead he lives. And instead of being able to die and it being the easy way out, he has to realize he needs to find something to live for. He can't just live with hatred. I don't know what to do after this. I'm so angsty, and yet I'm alive. And I like this mission. It's a subversion.
Yeah.
You know, when I see the premise, I'm like, okay, Boone dies. He gives his life, and he like whispers some things to me, and it's like a big How's that Vulcan mule?
It's getting there.
But instead, he has to live, which is harder. He's forced to think about his life. He can't just be the character he's been by your side all this time. He has to really reflect on it. It can't all be heroic sacrifices when it comes to making mistakes. You can't just martyr yourself and be like, I killed all these civilians, I died fighting the Legion, therefore I don't have to think about it anymore, I'm dead. Instead, he has to live with it, and of course they don't follow up on that because this isn't a game about Boone.
Yes.
But it should be.
Folks!
I think that subversion is excellent, and I like it a lot, period.
You get to choose 2 options on what you say to him that'll change either like what armor he has or what perk he gives, I believe, right?
That is, of course, assuming you didn't feed him to the cannibals.
Well, you know, beyond the beef, you gotta save someone.
I respect that. You just cut his story short. It's like, sorry.
Fallout New Vegas has ultimate agency, dare I say.
Your dinner. That's my number 8.
Number 8. Hey, why don't you dig into the what is that?
The Tiki Rum Mai Tai?
I read that as like chicken tikka masala.
Why do they call it Tiki Rum?
We're gonna eat after this, right? Not only the pizza. Ewan's cool, right?
Ewan's high.
Oh.
Still feels like I'm living on borrowed time. But I don't see any reason not to take a lot more of those sons of bitches with me.
Holy shit, we're at number 8. We gotta keep going. He's spilling out all over. Here, let me catch it in my mouth.
It tastes kind of good.
Number 8. I'm sorry, world. We'll be fine. My number 8. Fallout 3 quest. Tranquility Lane.
Oh, someone new to play with. What good luck I have lately. Oh, we're going to have so much fun.
Simulation Theory Quest. Colin, we've talked about this. This is one of my biggest fears. I don't want anyone to download my consciousness and put it into a computer. I think you could torture me forever. This quest agrees with me. This quest says, like, absolutely that can happen. You need to find your father, and you find out he's stuck in this vault. And within this vault specifically has everyone entering a simulated environment. So to get him out, you need to enter that environment as well. So you enter the simulation, and it is, like Fallout would do, a 1950s TV town, a television town. Like, Leave It to Beaver. How do you escape this town? You have to talk to a little girl who wants you to torture the residents to death. It's so great. It's so immersive. You have a player change. Your character's not a man. You become like a little boy or a girl within this world. The music changes outside. If you try to open it for Pip-Boy, it'll show just a watch. It knows what it's trying to do. Specifically within this quest, they provide new voices. Timmy, you know, he has a new voice that you've never heard anywhere else, as well as Braun, who's the evil scientist. It really feels unique to this quest, which is really cool. Fallout, I always think of it like a gritty, horrible wasteland, but has a heavy dose of humor. And that is shown in this quest. Some of the things you do are unimaginably cruel. Their first thing is like, hey, make Timmy cry. How do you make Timmy cry? Well, you can punch him, you know, you can make him feel bad. Or you can make him cry by telling his parents that they're divorcing because of him, which is so horrible, you know? After you do that, it's just like, hey, I want you to break up a marriage. What you can do is like, well, I guess you can like do some stuff, plant some evidence, or like, you know, look through their stuff. If you read the wife's diary of that marriage, you can figure out that she really hates this other woman. So if you take the rolling pin from her kitchen and murder the other woman, you can tell her husband, hey, your wife's a murderer. You need to divorce her now, and he'll do it. And even like at the end, your last objective is like kill this woman specifically. Like I do it in a creative way. There's so many ways you can do it. You could drop a chandelier on her. You could put a like rollerblade on the stairs so she trips and falls down it and breaks her neck. You can make her oven explode, which is crazy. But like the cruelest one is like you can lock the doors to her house so she cannot leave. And then you turn on her Mr. Handy and then turn off the security inhibitors so it kills her. Her own robot will murder her. And I'm like, that is so evil. The amount of options that there were to proceed in killing these inhabitants, I was really impressed. You eventually might get contacted by one of the old ladies there and she says like, hey, we're in a simulation. You need to figure this out. You know, go to this house that no one goes to and go inside. If you go in there, you read a terminal. It talks about how Braun, the guy who's leading all this on, has had several worlds that he's put these people through. We once lived on an island and everyone starved to death and I had Timmy get eaten by a shark, you know? And then I had like a ski resort that I put everyone at. Like these are people within pods who feel everything. And one of the options within there, which is how you can escape, is you can trigger the Chinese invasion protocol.
Yes.
Which fakes basically like a Chinese invasion of this town. You die in the game, you die IRL. If you have the Chinese invasion come and kill all the residents, he has no one else to play with, and he can't end the simulation. So he's stuck by himself forever, and he will tell you this. The one issue that I have with this quest, which I think is a little bullshit, is like to do the good option, and you have to solve like a tone sequence. You have to hit these specific objects to make a tone that'll open up the terminal to let you leave. Like, this is clever, but also I never realized it. Like, the tone that you need to input is like the tone that Betty whistles as she's around the playground. She will whistle the theme. It is also the same theme that is playing throughout the area that you're in, or it's the same theme from the intro of the game when you're in the vault. Like the baby theme. Cool, but nothing tells you about that. You just gotta be real smart to get that out. This is like the one quest within Fallout 3's main quest that I really remembered. Number 8, Tranquility Lane. I hope I didn't talk too long.
No.
Are you good?
Sounds like you've been spending too much time with your nose in those darned comic books, sport.
Now you have to tell me your number 7. We're still going.
Some we've already talked about.
I don't know.
I know. There's Oblivion.
Oh, God.
The ultimate heist.
Ow.
By the power of the Elder Scrolls, I name Emmer Deriloth as the true thief of Nocturnal's cow.
We've already said it. It's final heist for the Thieves Guild, what Adam didn't talk about. There's a part where you shoot a special arrow in this tiny keyhole statue in order to open a way into the Imperial Palace. You impersonate someone to get the Elder Scroll. What do I like about this? Skyrim is very cavalier about Elder Scrolls in general.
It is.
The main story has an Elder Scroll. Darnagard has 2 Elder Scrolls.
It does.
It's like, you can have 1 in your game.
Yes.
Don't have 3? These are important things. You can't just throw them around. This is a great way of doing it.
Okay.
It's like a fucking whole procedure.
Yeah.
And then you have to jump down a fucking chimney.
I didn't mention this.
Jump down this huge chimney that will probably kill you.
Yes.
But you have the boots of Spring Hill Jack. And if you jump down, they will break.
Yep.
And the boots of Spring Hill Jack are great because they let you jump like 10 feet in the air.
High acrobatics.
Very high acrobatics. But if you're a clever little gamer, you chug some potions, cast some spells, you don't even have to use them. You can keep them later, and you can spend the rest of the game hopping around like a little freak.
With a quest item that you cannot drop.
Yes, it does. It feels like a heist, like a real heist. Like you're using all these little pieces, you're doing all this sneaking, you become the Grey Fox, you get the usual guild benefits, but you get the cowl. I think that cowl is a very interesting item. It has a completely separate identity. Any crime you do with the cowl is not one associated with you, which is big in Elder Scrolls.
That is very big.
If you do crimes and you go into a city, someone will arrest you.
Stop.
But if you have the cowl, your crimes with the cowl on, take it off, no one will remember you. And the cowl is a curse by this
Nocturnal.
Nocturnal. It's a culmination. It's the most culmination-y quest in Oblivion.
You like spend like 5 or 4 quests leading up to it.
Yeah, and like you think
cool.
you will never see those items again.
No, yeah.
It's like, oh, it's just a MacGuffin. The,
Gray Fox
the
just
boots
wants
at
this.
Spring Hill Jack.
Yeah,
Who cares?
whatever.
But then you get to put them on.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you need the arrow to shoot through this to get unlock this, and it's like you need the boots so you survive the fall.
That feels
here.
like something from like Uncharted.
It is. Yeah, it does.
Exactly.
It does. Oh,
But that is my number 7.
Your number
I don't
7.
have that much to say about it.
Okay.
The Grey Cowl is now yours. You are the new Guildmaster of the Thieves Guild.
So my number 7 is my last Skyrim quest on here. There's a Daedric Prince quest within Skyrim. Most of them are pretty good. This one is A Night to Remember.
You know, you're a fun person to drink with. I know this great little place where the wine flows like water. We should head there. Hey, you don't look so good.
Essentially, you walk into Whiterun, and you find a guy who's like at the bar. You walk into the inn, and he's like, hey, let's have a drinking contest. What do you think? And you're like, okay, yeah, why not, you know? And you start going and going and going until, like, finally you start passing out. This guy's name is Sam Guivine. If you know about Elder Scrolls, you probably figure this one out. So after you do this insane night of drinking, you wake up in, like, I think one of the temples of like the Bella or something in Markarth, which is like halfway across the map. And the lady's like, oh, you finally woken up, huh? Finally, maybe you can help us out here with everything you did. And you're like, well, what are you talking about? It's like, yeah, you made a mess of this place. Why don't you pick up all the stuff that you knocked down, you know? And she's like, okay, finally. One of the things she talked about was going to Rorikstead. And you're like, oh my God, I have to piece back together what I did last night. And you get a note leading to Sam Guivine. These are the items we need to repair the staff. When you wake up and do these things, each of them have misdirections. You go to the Rorikstead and you talk to a guy and he's like, you sold my beloved, how could you? To a giant, you're horrible, go save her. When you go do that and it's like, his beloved is a goat. And then you bring the goat back and the guy's like, okay, you know, I remember you talking about how you need the money for like a wedding ring in Whiterun. So you go to Whiterun and you talk to her and she's like, oh yeah, you were so in love. You talked about how much you wanted to marry this woman. And you're like, okay, where did I do this? You know, say, well, in Witchmist Grove is where this happens. You're like, okay. So you go to Witchmist Grove and like, it turns out you married a Hagraven who is like the evil demonic, you know, witch within Skyrim. He's like all gross and withered. And the Hagraven will talk to you, be like, ah, my husband, you have returned. And you're like, I need my money back, you know? All these fun little interactions. Fallout New Vegas kind of does this a little bit within the DLC where like it helps add to your character's backstory without like specifically stating like what you did. It was just reactions from what people have seen. And everyone's like, oh, I know you definitely, you know, you're a party animal. So it's like when you wake up, it's like the hangover. And it's like, oh shit, I did this? Oh, what do you mean I did this and two? It's like, oh my God. Eventually it all leads up to like, okay, I need to got all the things to repair the staff that Sam Guivine has told me about. You go to the fort, you fight through it, you find his area, you go through a portal. You find the same guy there. He's at like this giant table. It's like Alice in Wonderland. And he's like, oh, hey, you're back. You found me. Good job. And you brought all the items. That's perfect. You know, I don't need them. I could just give you the staff. But thank you. Within that moment, originally he's just like a human. And then it'll transform into like a Dremora, a Daedric guy within the universe. He's like this giant guy with Daedric armor. I'm like, holy shit. But he still has this fun, really chill voice. It's like, hey man, you just tell me if you ever want to have fun again. It reminded me of like Dionysus from Hades.
Yes.
Out of all these gods,
God of partying.
The fun guy. He gives you Sanguine Rose, which is a staff that I love. I think it's personally like a really great staff because if you shoot it, it basically spawns a Dremora warrior for you for like 30 seconds or 60 seconds. This quest, as I said with Sheogorath earlier, is like a perfect example of a Daedric Prince meddling in our world, which I really appreciate. I think that really shows who the Daedric Princes are. Like, I don't care going to Sanguine Rose's own home. I want to see what he does to us.
Yes.
So, like, after you do that and he gives you Sanguine Rose, he doesn't kick you out to the fort. He teleports you back to the inn where you started from. So this whole adventure, he's like, hey, you did a good job. We'll put you
Go back home.
This is also one of the rare quests where a Daedric Prince is disguised as a normal human being or mortal within the world that you get to talk to. It reminds me of a RuneScape quest called One Small Favor, where you have to help someone like, you know, like, I need to open this chest, but to do it, I need this key. You go to talk to the guy who's the key, oh, I need to do it because I need this food. I need an ore, and, you know, he just keeps going down. It's just, like, so much fun.
You like RuneScape?
I love RuneScape. In fact, we'll do a RuneScape video later. Isn't that right, Colin? You love RuneScape.
I love RuneScape. You also bring Brian in for that.
Exactly.
Let's be honest here. I don't always think my decisions through, but you're going places.
Well, the good news is I put a lot of stuff into this, so you can drink from this.
Well, that's yours.
No. You can have some of
But
this.
that's yours. Do you want me to be alive for this? I have number 6.
Please tell me.
Oblivion.
Oh.
Are we surprised? Shivering Isles.
What? Oh, no. I know what this is.
Could it be baiting the trap? Could it be baiting the trap?
Ow!
All you need to do is decide what becomes of the adventurers. Will you drive them insane? Or will you pull the life from their bodies?
You repair a device, which I don't know what the man's name is. Some bullshit Elder Scrolls name. It's a siren's call for adventurers.
Yes.
To Sheogorath's realm. And you're taken to an observation room. This dungeon lures in adventurers, but they're the prey here.
Mm-hmm.
And you're told you can decide their fate. The adventurers who come into this dungeon. The first chamber, there is a small creature. A little woodman, like this.
Just like that.
All alone. And the adventurer's like, this is it. We'll defeat this creature in moments. So there are 2 buttons off to your side. One will cause a horde of these creatures to appear and attack them. The other will cause a hallucinogenic
You got it.
gas, which will cause the creature to appear large and grow. Choosing the first option will kill one of the adventurers.
Yeah.
Choosing the second will make him go insane.
Yeah.
This will be a trend. The second has a pile of treasure behind a locked gate. They try to unlock it, but you have another 2 options. The first is a fire trap, which will kill one of them. The killing options are always the more boring ones.
Yes.
And the second option is that it will drop a fuck ton of keys. Like, keys rain from the sky.
Like a giant pile of them.
But none of them open the gates.
Nuh-uh.
And this will cause another member of the adventuring party to go insane. I would too.
Yes.
Can you blame them? In the final room, only single adventurers left, alive or sane.
Yes.
And it is filled with all manner of corpses. And he tries to calm himself down. And you are given 2 final options. You can either raise the dead, causing the corpses to come to life and kill the adventurer, or you can give him a vision of his own death.
Yes.
He can see his own fate, and it'll drive him insane. These people, they go insane very easily. And then after that, he goes insane or he dies, and you get all their items.
Yeah.
And this quest is always stuck in my mind. Maybe I felt a little not in control of my childhood.
Oh, no.
Let's have a personal moment. Tender music. Tender music. And these quests where you can nuke a city or torture adventurers, it made me feel in control as a child.
It's so beautiful.
I felt that it was such a unique experience. I wanted a whole game.
Yeah.
Where I would just be torturing adventurers my whole life, deciding their fate, a little spider, ruling their fate.
Oh my god.
I want an Elder Scrolls game where you're just playing this.
I want to be a Daedric Prince. This is
I
what
want to
you're
be a
gonna
Daedric Prince.
You're going to be Clavicus Vile.
I'm just fucking
do.
vile. I'm a lag ball. I want to do it all.
Malakath. We know all of them. Besides Ghost of Vythar, this was going to be my second one that I was going to do. Even from playing Shivering Isles, I'm like, that's an okay DLC. This is the one.
It was great.
It was great.
It was fucking great. And I always made them go insane because it was always more interesting.
It is. You don't want to just shoot an arrow into this guy's heart.
You kill people the whole game.
Exactly.
But you can't drive people insane. There's no illusion spell where it's Mind of Madness.
And I think that's what Todd wanted.
That's what Todd wanted.
That's what Todd wanted.
I see your vision.
Todd.
It's beautiful.
We love you, Todd.
I love this quest. And
that's your number 6.
That's my number 6.
You've made short work of the intruders. Sheogorath should be proud to have such an efficient apprentice.
Colin, my number 6. Did you see? Were you looking?
Yeah, but I won't tell you.
Thank you. My number 6 is Ring-a-ding-ding, baby.
What in the goddamn? Let's keep this in the groove, hey? Smooth moves like smooth little babies.
Benny, the man who killed you within Fallout New Vegas. You start this game because he shot you in the head and you fell into a grave. Your one motivation is get back to this motherfucker who put a bullet in your brain. To me, one of the most satisfying quests. This one I specifically love because I imagine the moment when you meet Benny. Within Fallout New Vegas and its mechanics, this is how you make a boss fight. When you're constrained to this gameplay, or these mechanics, you just gotta reduce this guy to 0.
Yeah.
How do you do that? It's okay, well, you hit him, but you can increase your chances by talking to him or
isolating him.
Isolating him in this specific situation, or just going for him right out, or making his friends betray him.
Giving him a foot job.
So many moments you can really make love to this guy. He could not be set up better as a smug Weasley target. The entire time you're moving from Prim to the Mojave Outpost, to Nipton, to Novak, to the Boulder City. Ooh, when I meet that guy, oh my god! I'm gonna show him. You need to collect physical evidence to convince his friends that he's a bad guy. And like, I could see this in a Bethesda game where if you complete levels 1 through 3, you get all the pieces and you move on. Fallout New Vegas, out of all those situations, you only get one piece of evidence. And that's at Boulder City. The guy will give you a lighter. If you want to try to get the other ones, you have to get the cigarettes that he used when he killed you. You only get that from Good Spring Cemetery, where you were buried. Or you need evidence that the Great Khans were hanging out with Benny. You only get that because you know Benny traveled through Novak. Who knows the Great Khans in Novak? Manny, because he tells you he's part of the gang of the Great Khans. If you check fucking Manny's pockets or his terminal, he has specific physical evidence that shows that the Great Khans were talking with Benny. That's how you get everything. If you really put in the work, you can really frame Benny to Swank, who is the owner of Tops. That'll mean like, okay, hey, I'll tell the boys not to attack you. You just deal with Benny as you want. Let's say you attack Benny fucking at the end of your game. You've done everything. Your skills are so high, you know. If you have 100 lockpick, that's a lot. Steal your weapons back and bring it to him. And he'll say when you fight him, it's like, you're not gonna do so well if you don't have your weapons. Yeah, that's why I got them back. That's so cool. Like every little option you can use against this guy, there is a resulting response. I think of like General or Colonel Autumn at the end of Fallout 3. He's like the last boss you fight. Every time I fight that guy, there's a combat shotgun to the face, he dies immediately.
Yep.
You know, it's like so easy. But like Benny, it's like, sure, you can't escape that. You need to get this guy's health down to 0. But you rush at him, he's gonna be like, whoa, 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 baby, you really wanna do this in the center of the casino? How about we go somewhere different? And you're like, okay, Benny, I'll do that. So he sends you up there, and then you go on the intercom, and he's like, yeah, I'm not coming up. I'm sending up my guys, you're dead. Sorry, buddy. You know, but if your speech is high, you can be like, I know what you're doing. Gun to the back, you're coming up with me. And he's like, okay, fine. We'll go up together. Like, he takes little opportunities to screw you over. If you are, like, a woman and you have, like, that perk that makes you...
Black Widow.
You can use that upon Benny. You can, like, kind of flirt with him and stuff.
You can fuck him.
You can. You can sleep with Benny if you'd like.
You can give him a foot job.
You can do as many things as you want.
Say it.
I will... You can give him a foot job, okay? But within that moment, the game pauses you and says, you want to kill him? And you can kill Benny right there. Or you can be like, you know what? Benny gave me a magical evening. I don't want to kill him. He'll leave a note to you and say like, hey, baby, I got to skip town, but that was the night of my life.
Good night.
Thank you, you know.
That little trick you do with your feet.
I know.
Good night. That's so crazy to me.
You choose where you fight him and how you fight him. You want to talk first, you want to surprise him in his room that you can. If you talk to Swank, fight him in the presidential suite. He'll tell you like, hey, let me give you my plan. Me and you, we run Vegas. Me and you, baby, what do you think? You're like, you know what, Benny? You're right, let's do it. And he's like, hey, ring a ding ding. And he walks out, and then he sends his assassins up and tries to kill you. It's like, he still tricked you. He's still trying to fuck you over. It's like, oh my god, this little weasel. Like, within Fallout's mechanics, and as we get older, we can see how maybe those mechanics might be a little bit dated. I feel like they knew the mechanics that they were dealing with. Okay, we need to drop Benny's health to 0. What can we do to change that? Well, if you have a high speech skill, or like if you were really observant, you can show the physical evidence to Swank to make your lives easier. You can bring the guy up. If you have the Black Widow perk, all these little options. That quest is a perfect example of how you do a boss fight within the system. So cool. Ring-a-ding-ding. Love
Options.
it. Options.
Did you finish that crust?
Yes. Do you want a little bit of it?
No, it's okay. I'll just check. I don't want to waste food, you know?
Yes. We don't want that.
Nice Charlies, too. Give him a shake for the Ben man, will you? Hello.
You know I normally don't do stuffed crust, but only when I'm with you, I do it. You're going to tell me your number 5 right now.
Yes, I was feeling a little nauseous, but I'm feeling better now.
Were you feeling nauseous?
A little nauseous. Listen, where do you think this went? It wasn't you, was it?
I've been drinking a little bit.
Where did it go?
I'll help you, don't
So,
worry.
this one may surprise you.
Can't wait to hear it.
It's high up on the list. Number 5.
Okay.
That's substantial.
That is like in the top 5. I really paid attention to what I was putting down.
This quest has no incredible action.
Okay.
No amazing set pieces. It's quite simple what you must do to complete this quest. It is from Morrowind. And this quest is an admiring sponsor. It is a simple quest.
Yes.
So, there are 3 houses you can ally yourself with. Redoran, Hlalu, or Telvanni.
There you go.
This is a House Hlalu quest. And in order to raise your rank further in this guild, you must get a sponsor. It's Hollywood.
It's Hollywood, baby.
This man is a Crassius Curo.
Oh,
And he agrees to be your sponsor.
Uh-huh.
But only if you do one thing for him.
Well, what's that, Colin?
And that thing is that he asks you to take off all your clothes. To get naked in front of him. I played Morrowind after playing, Oblivion and Skyrim.
This is a recent discovery for you.
It was a recent discovery for me. And being told, this was more powerful than being attacked by a lich. It's just some creep says, can you get naked for me, regardless of your gender? Crassus, he doesn't discriminate. He wrote the lusty Argonian name.
He did!
He's
the
writer.
Write that, thank
He's
you.
the man. And he's like, if you want to get big in Halasalu, you gotta do some things for me.
Oh, yeah.
And at this point, you're basically railroaded. You
are.
have to do this house at
You're
this
not
point.
continuing Halalu unless you
You don't have any fucking choices at
Nah.
this point. Well, I guess I just have to unequip my items and get naked in front of him. And you do. You have no fucking choice.
Nope.
It's like, if you want to progress in this main quest, you have to get fucking naked for this random bald spot bitch in front of you. And it was just so real to me.
Yes.
It's so rare in an Elder Scrolls game. They get you in a way you don't expect. Kind of like Benny, where it's like, you can't just fight him in a lot of cases.
No.
In this case, it's just like, you're getting sexually harassed in a video game. You can't threaten him out of it. You can't bribe. He's rich. You can't bribe him out of it. It was showbiz. There's nothing this guy wants except to see you naked.
Yes.
And that's all you can fucking do for him.
Uh-huh.
And as soon as I saw this, I was like, okay, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. I killed him. It was like, with this character's death, the thread of prophecy has been severed.
Thanks for the Halalu cuss line. You're done.
You cannot beat this game now that you've killed him. And it's like, okay, I've got to live with what I've done.
You do.
With what he's done to me. And that's not even the end of it. If you keep doing the House Halalu quest line, later on he'll be like, can I get a kiss? And you have to kiss him.
You do?
You have to kiss him to progress the quest. And so you got to work with this fucker for a while. And then, after all of it's over, after you've saved Morrowind, and then it's like, you're not essential anymore, are you? I've become more powerful than you, Crassus.
I'm the Never-Are.
And it's like, did you know what spells I've created, Crassus? Have you ever been frenzied and burned alive before?
Have you heard of the Tovani, Crassus?
Do you know what happens when a man gets sucked into a black soul gem? Would you like to find out? And you get your fucking revenge one way or another. There's no way you get out of it not wanting this fucker dead.
No.
But I think it's so real. It's so realistic. It's like, this is what it's like.
That's it.
This is influence. People will fucking use you.
Yes.
And you have to fucking deal with it. Because that is what it takes to save the world.
What a perfect objective for this quest line.
Yes.
Redoran, you gotta fight my 5 warriors to show me you're good. Or Tovani, it's like, you better make a good spell, you know, for Halalu, which are the
smooth talkers.
Yeah, they're like the smooth talkers, they're like the businessmen of Morrowind who are just taking advantage of the entire continent. What a motherfucker.
Most unique quest I've ever played. The most shocking quest.
I remember you bringing this up to me, and I felt like it was going to be somewhere in your list, but I'm surprised that's number 5.
It's not some big fantasy thing. It's just just getting sexually harassed.
I gotta do this, but with Morrowind's free agency, once I get to the top, I'm coming back.
I'm coming back,
Crassus,
for you.
I'm coming back. I wonder if you remember me, motherfucker.
Yep.
So that's your number 5.
It's my number 5?
You want to hear my number 5?
No.
My pleasure, really.
If I throw up.
No. Let's get to my number 5.
We'll get to dinner.
My number 5. All right. My number 5 is... It's Oblivion. It is one that you already mentioned.
Yeah.
A Brush with Death.
Do be careful.
It's to me, the best incidental quest.
Really?
Yes. Out of all the incidental quests, I feel like they're incidental within their world. Unexpected journey, you sleep in an inn and you're out with the pirates, Or you do a most dangerous game.
Yep.
You go onto a boat and then you're there at a thing. It's it all makes sense within the world.
Is that on your list?
It's not. I hope someone
Was
talks
it in
about
your?
it.
It was in my waiting room.
Was it really?
Yes.
We'll quickly talk about it. That is a very cool
So
quest.
it's not on the list. Can we
No.
just it's a missing husband quest.
It is.
It
is.
My husband's missing. Find out what happened to him.
Classic.
And it's oh, he went to go to this fort to find my axe, my orcan axe. And you go there, and it turns out he's trapped in a Hunger Games.
He is.
Or Battle Royale, depending on your generation.
He's a poor guy who rich people want to hunt.
In the most dangerous game.
Yes.
They're hunting
We all
him for
read it.
sport.
Yes.
And you have to fight your way out. It's cool. Didn't make it on my list.
Yeah, there's no way to save him. That guy gets murdered.
Yes,
immediately.
he gets killed.
He does the right thing. He fights against his oppressors, and he gets killed because he doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
But You, the hero of the match, can show that orc who's boss.
Brain health 100 for 3 seconds.
There you go. There you go, baby. But let me talk quickly about Brush with Death.
Please.
You've already brought it up. You enter a painting of an artist. Like, to me, the premise is so fantastical. A magic paintbrush that lets the artist enter the picture, which is stolen by a thief.
Yeah.
Yeah, who used it to paint monsters, which ended up killing him. Ryth is the son of a painter who fought in the Arnesian War in the Third Era. This is Morrowind versus Black Marsh, so the Dunmer versus Argonians. And within that battle, like, his father lost his arms, but he was like a painter. He loved to paint. So he prayed to Dibella. It's like, oh, I wish I could paint, but I have no arms. So Dibella gifted him a magic paintbrush. What it does is it lets you enter paintings. Not only that, it lets you paint things from your thoughts. So you don't need to move your arms, because he didn't have any. You just like have it in your possessions, you imagine it, and it gets painted. And that's what Ryth did as well. He explains to you that he even moves his arms because it's kind of fun, you know? But as you said, Colin, my God, I'm so glad you mentioned it. The turpentine is such a nice little clever use. The painted world, I think, matches, it reminds me of like Toy Story. They made Toy Story as one of the first animated features, and they said, we can make this easily because it looks bad, and that kind of fits with it being plastic toys.
Yeah.
Oblivion is not the perfect looking game, but if you do like a kind of stylized painting world,
the textures are good.
Works perfectly, you know, within
just
the world that
splotches,
is. Yeah, it is, exactly. When you get to the end and you find the thief, you go to an area where the painting is unfinished. Just like a canvas.
Like a
There's
matte
nothing
painting.
on it. Yeah, exactly. It's just like blank, and you're like, oh, this is where he died because he stopped painting. This quest feels too marvelous for Elder Scrolls. It's too magical. Like I said, like a fairy tale. The thing that I'll end with, my favorite little Easter egg about this quest is, you ever really look at the painting that you enter into?
No.
What is that on the tree? It looks like a little cross. And you realize like, oh, it's the crosshair from Oblivion. It is a screenshot from Oblivion, and they didn't take away the crosshair that they put on the painting. So if you look at the painting, you will see the crosshair of your game within there. And I'm like, oh, Todd. Of course. You little
creature.
rascal. There it is. So that's my number 5, A Brush with Death.
That's
Charlie
good.
brought it over, but I really wanted to talk about it.
I don't know how to thank you. You have a good heart to help me get back home. I'll never forget what you've done for me.
Cyrodiil is a very sophisticated land when you look
It's
at
cosmopolitan. My number 4 is from Oblivion.
What?
I feel like I said Oblivion 9,000 times. I think it's Oblivion from here out. It
Is
is.
it?
This is the Fighters Guild quest, so you may know. We reference regularly. This is Oblivion's infiltration.
Oh, yeah!
This, why, it is a gift from the swamps of Argonia. Sap of the Hist.
It's so fucking good.
It's so great.
It's a premise quest.
It is a premise quest.
Let me say, all these are premise quests.
Okay, from here on out.
You are tasked with infiltrating the Fighters Guild competitor, the Blackwood Company, to figure out why they're so powerful. You join their ranks. You are sent to deal with a goblin invasion on the town of Water's Edge.
We better help them.
Before you go, you must drink a little funny... You are tasked to drink Hist sap.
Yes.
Which is from a funny Argonian tree, which... go on the UAES...
That's how you talk about my culture, a funny Argonian tree.
Are you an Argonian?
I am a man of the lizard people.
Whatever. Scale, skin. You drink this funny drink, and then you're teleported into the town to assist your company members in killing the goblins.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're told to go into their houses.
Yes. And
get to work. The whole time, there's kind of a strange vibe going on. First of all, when have goblins ever lived in houses?
That's weird.
They live in caves. They all act weird. They don't attack you. They try to run away when you start, like, slashing.
Hey, I have a question. Why don't they attack me right out?
And you kill all the goblins. Long story short, you are transported back to the Fighters Guild after you finish your mission. And they told you they found you unconscious on the streets after you completed, which is unusual. It's not a lot in these games that you get told after the fact what you did.
No.
Unlike A Night to Remember in Skyrim, where you were told that exact thing, which is good. You know, I respect that.
Thank you.
He tells you, go back to Water's Edge, the town you just killed.
Yep.
And you go back, and you find not goblins at all, but the bodies of humans of the town, the inhabitants. And it seems, in reflection, that the Hist sap that you drank made you hallucinate that these human beings, these innocent people, were in fact goblins.
Oh, yeah.
And you kill a lot of innocent people, which I love. When innocent people die, that's a good story beat. It gives you that feeling, the what have I done feeling.
Yeah.
Any story where your past actions get recontextualized That's a good story.
You also talk to the last remaining survivor
You do.
of Water's Edge, who explains to you what happened.
And this was my first experience with this trope, which is like seeing the enemy as a monster. So it make it easier. It's fucking good. It's so iconic.
That is the quest of the Fighters Guild. Like,
Yes.
If you think of the Fighters Guild in Oblivion, like it all leads up to that.
Well, because the Fighter Guild is like nothing else.
Yeah. I mean, there's like a lot of like little objectives you have to do, but then when
Yeah,
it
you
leads
kill
to
rats.
like, yeah,
Whatever.
And what a great quest that is.
We now know the threat this group poses, perhaps better than they themselves know it. We must take decisive action now.
All right, my number 4, when we were drinking for Barbenheimer, I talked about how Fallout 3 had a thing that I really wanted to represent or talk about. My number 4 quest within Fallout 3 is Riley's Rangers.
You look like you've been through hell. Frankly, I'm amazed you made it.
Riley's Rangers is a gang within Fallout 3 who basically go through DC and complete objectives. They clash with the Talon Company, who, if you're a good moral character, will hunt you down all the time. The most exciting quest for Fallout 3, because of its cast, its discovery, and its location. Because in my opinion, Fallout 3, a lot of its RPG elements are tailored specifically to its combat. You use repair to repair your equipment and guns. You use lockpick to get through doors as you're exploring. Combat and exploration are tied together, and that's what every skill uses. It's like you're supposed to use everything together as you assault a building. And this quest has you assault 2 large goddamn buildings. You are using most of your skills mechanically, where in New Vegas you use them narratively.
Yes.
So, this quest features a lot of combat. I think the discovery of this quest is great. Basically, there's multiple ways you can do this. You can just walk through the DC ruins and you get a little radio signal on your Pip-Boy saying like, hey, we need help. Or you stumble upon the Riley Rangers compound. No one's inside, but you can read their terminal. We got a job. We're going to the Statesman Hotel. Hope everything goes well. Or you can go to the Underworld, which is the ghoul headquarters. You can find Riley herself, who is injured within the infirmary there. And she says like, listen, I escaped while we were under attack at the Statesman Hotel. My men are up there, you gotta help them. In an incidental way in Oblivion, this is how you discover this quest in Fallout 3. And also I would say great layout of the objectives. It basically takes advantage of one entire enclosed like block of buildings. I gotta get to the Statesman Hotel. There it is. I don't know if I can go in here, but next door is a hospital that has a radio mast that's fallen over, crashing into the Statesman Hotel. There's multiple ways to get into the hospital. From a different district, or you can just walk in through the front door, or there's back doors if you decided to go through the booby-trapped areas, the super mutants. Vernon Square, ideally, in Fallout 3, is like built for this quest, I think. The hospital has very long hallways and are pretty open for Fallout 3's combat. Once you get to the Statesman Hotel, you both have like narrow areas, but also like you go through a like bar area. Super mutants come out with machine guns. Like all these bottles flying out. It's like, oh shit, oh my god, I gotta go. You fight your way all the way to the top of the roof where the Riley's Rangers are, and you find the contingent. We're fucked. We need help. Every time you find a thing that you have to do, you have like a different objective. Like, I need to get to the Statesman Hotel. I can't get in there. I have to go from the hospital first. I need to help them repel the attack. Well, they don't have a lot of ammo. I better get some more ammo for them. They need to get down to the ground floor to escape. They need a fission battery. Well, where do you get a fission battery? There's a Protectron down in the hotel. Can you go back and get it? I really love, personally, now that I played it again, the DC quests in Fallout 3. And like, this is the quest for that. After you complete this quest, the Riley's Rangers, you unlock their compound as a place where you can stay. So it's like, it feels like I unlocked a home base within the DC Metro. I think this is the hardest quest you have to play within Fallout 3. The super mutants that you have to fight at the end as you bring the Rangers out are very difficult and very hard to manage. They can also kill all the Rangers. None of them are essential. You have to do your best to have them all survive, and Riley won't give you a full reward if they don't live. To me, this is the Fallout 3 quest. I wasn't expecting to like it so much, but now that I replayed, kind of like Waking Nightmare, I was like, I can understand, as I'm older, why this quest is here, and I think it's really great. So that's my number 4. Are you okay? Do you need what's going on?
Consider this place your home away from home. If you're ever in the neighborhood again, you're more than welcome to take shelter here.
Look, there's like water in here, ladies and
I can
gentlemen.
drink that.
Why don't you tell me your number 3?
A Oblivion quest.
Oh, you don't say.
It is called Following a Lead.
Silencer, at last you've arrived. Fear not, for the crisis that has threatened the Dark Brotherhood has finally come to an end.
In the Dark Brotherhood in Oblivion, prior to this, you switch from doing like direct assignment of quests to dead drops. You pick up a little letter telling you what to do, who to kill. And you've been doing this for a while, and then, you keep doing it, and eventually your boss, your mentor, Lucien
LeChance,
runs up to you and asks you, why the fuck did you just kill that guy? And it's like, I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker. I'm like, I'm just following my orders.
Me?
And he's like, you really don't know what you've been doing? I'm like, no. What's going on? He tells you that you haven't been doing any of the orders of the Dark Brotherhood, but instead you've been killing the leaders of the Dark Brotherhood one by one. And you are sent to find out who has been switching out your dead drops with these fake orders. Eventually you find some clueless Bosmer, a wood elf.
Bosmer.
Disgusting.
Who needs
If
them?
you play a Bosmer,
all right. Valenwood,
get out of here.
Nuke's going there first.
And he basically tells you that the one who's been paying him is some guy who lives underneath the lighthouse in Anvil. You go inside the lighthouse, and this sticks out to me so much from my childhood.
9-year-old Colin.
Walking
into the Anvil
goes
lighthouse.
into the Anvil lighthouse. It is a fucked up situation. Right here, it says there. There are dead animals.
Yep.
There's like this candlelight darkness. To top it all off, there is a severed head. A mutilated head. And it has the name of Mother's Head on it. And that freaked me the fuck out. It's gross. It's like a gross little head. It's like an exposed brain. You find the diary of the guy who did all this. He's a crazy guy. Apparently, the Dark Brotherhood killed his dad, and he wants to frame Lucien LeChance. You go to tell Lucien that you found who did it, but Lucien isn't there, and instead you discover that he has been found by the rest of the members of the Dark Brotherhood. And they do think that he is behind all of it.
Oh, man.
And you walk into this little cabin and you see his body. It's a mutilated corpse of your mentor and boss just like hanging there. And they're like, don't worry, we found the one behind all of this, you poor child.
Oh my god. No one was expecting this. You know who also was not expecting this?
Who?
The ESRB.
Yes.
They realized this quest was in there and said, we need to repackage this. It deserves an M.
Yeah.
Sure.
I believe it. This is a fucked up quest.
It is.
It's such a turn. Because the people you're killing, who are like the members of the Dark Brotherhood, they don't seem special.
No.
They're just like random dudes you're killing. You might even get the impression that the game is just fluffing out the storyline.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it.
You give 'em random-
just extending
randoms.
it, and then it recontextualizes. It's the perfect oh fuck moment. It wasn't just padding. It was something far more sinister. The first questionable Dark Brotherhood quest, you kill everyone in the Trident Hall Sanctuary. You're told to kill everyone you've ever known.
Yes.
And the Dark Brotherhood.
All your friends.
All your friends. Like
Yeah.
all the people who've helped you. You do learn the reason that chapter got purged is because the guy who's behind all of this was from that chapter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, I learned that on the wiki. And then you kind of feel out of your depth. You don't know what's going to happen next. Like you are unsure for the first time in a while. Like you think you know where this story is going, but you really don't. It is the most terrific quest in Oblivion.
Yes.
The severed head, the dead animals, the death of your mentor, which is
Lucien
so
LeChance's
sudden.
dead body strung up, like not even like a reanimated corpse.
No,
model.
it's like a
bright red blood ripped open.
Yeah, there's like skin torn apart. And it's a bunch of strangers telling
Yes.
you like, don't worry,
We got it.
Lucien's gone.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we dealt with him.
And you're like, okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, that's cool.
And it's just so shocking.
It was so graphic. But yeah, so that's your number 3.
Is that a head?
My best friend at the time who told me about Oblivion said it's like RuneScape but 3D. And that's all I knew. That is all I knew. My number 3 is Oblivion. A. Shadow over Hector.
Oh, okay.
Let me give you some advice, stranger. Leave. Now. You ain't welcome here.
This quest scared the living crap out of me as a kid. Going into that quest, I thought everything was hunky-dory. When everything started happening to me, I was just like, get me out of here. This is terrifying. Basically, you go into Coral. This is going to be one of the first cities you go to because Wayne Priory,
Yes.
who you're directed to go to at the start of the main quest, is right outside Coral. As you go in Coral, there is a NPC in there named Dharma, who will immediately interact with you, and she's like a daughter of like a local
Darmok?
trader. Dharma. Not
Darmok.
Darmok. Not Darmok. Not Darmok. not Dharma, will approach you, and she'll basically just be very nice. She'll be like, hey, welcome to Coral. So glad to meet you. After like a week or a couple days, she will disappear from the game. But you only figure this out by talking to the citizens of Coral. And you realize, hey, Dharma's missing. You know, go talk to her mother. So yeah, she went out somewhere to Hector, you know, with her horse named Blossom. Can you figure out what's going on? She hasn't come back yet. And personally, Adam was an Argonian, because Argonians are dinosaur guys, and dinosaurs are really cool. Dharma, she was right here for me. She was right here. You go over to Hector. It's far off from Coral. It's thick with trees all around. There's like forts too, dangerous forts. And it's surrounded by a lot of burnt homes. You go in and you have to figure out like, okay, where's Dharma? You start talking to civilians and they're all so mean to you. We don't want to talk about any of that. Why don't you shut up and leave, you know? Oblivion, as I said before, is a very earnest game. Everyone is incredibly polite. When the guy tricks you about selling your house, he immediately helps you with it. When I walked into this town, like, everyone's just, like, immediately an asshole to me. And I was like, well, what the fuck is going on here? Hey, you've been asking a lot of questions. You better watch your back. Something might happen. What do you mean? Like, do I gotta watch out? And then like 6 guys come at me and I immediately die. Because I'm not ready for this. This is the first time I played Oblivion. It's like, there's a lot of breadcrumbs to figure out what happened to Dharma. Dharma went here. She's got her horse, Blossom. You can find Blossom if you bring Blossom up. She's like behind a burnt house. You know, it's like, oh, Dharma stayed at the inn. So you go in the inn and you can sleep at the inn. You can be like, okay, I'm gonna take a room. You can find a room that's been ransacked. It's like, oh shit, this is where Dharma was. Because you can find her journal. I have to mention this because this is like, ingrained in Adam's memory, a truly terrifying moment. I stayed at the inn and I went to sleep. And if you do that at that inn, you are woken up and a man with a giant club, wearing just pants and like a very strange face will start attacking you. When that happened, I was like, I hit the thing and I'm like, I'm sleeping. Hey, what? I didn't hit it. Who's this? Why is he attacking me? What's going on? He can't do this. It's nighttime. This is not fair, you know? And I got really freaked out. I didn't know you can break the game in this way as a kid. And I started investigating more of the town. There's a chapel there. If you look at the Bible that they're worshiping, it's got Daedric lettering and blood, all this stuff. You start asking around, you talk to this guy, and he basically tells you, like, hey, the town's actually pretty bad. We're worshiping crazy things. You want to talk about Dharma, she's going to be sacrificed. But he says that, like, at night, everyone's going to be at the ceremony. They'll be busy. You go get Dharma. You sneak down into the caves where the Brethren are. The Brethren are just, like, guys with clubs and pants, and they have specifically like large eyes and mouths. They will attack you immediately within there. You need a very high sneak and very high chameleon spell to sneak past them successfully. Otherwise, they're gonna attack you. And they fucked me up because I was such a low level. I didn't know what I was doing. So like eventually you get through this, you save Dharma, you get her horse, and you walk back to Coral and everything's okay, right? Everything's cool. If you decide to go back to this area, all the people who were kind of like lying to you in the start, like, hey, why don't you just leave? They all turn hostile immediately. Like, they won't sell you anything, they won't let you stay at their inn, and Brethren will continue to spawn. So, like, Hector is this area where, like, you're not allowed to go. Like, you can't go back there because that is not a place for you. They hate you there, they don't want you there. If you try to return, there's nothing you can change. And that is, like, why, like, Hector, this giant circle with on my map was like, don't go here. Bad place, not good at all. After completing that quest, there's so many questions that I appreciated were never answered in my mind. Like, for Elder Scrolls, you could probably give an explanation for all these things. Was it Daedric Prince who did this? Was it blah, blah, blah? Who are they worshiping? The Deep Ones. Like, who are the Deep Ones? If you go to the cavern where the Deep Ones are, turn down the music, they put in sound effects of animals growling very deeply within that place. You're basically told, like, hey, turn your back on that town and never go back. This place is an obvious homage to Lovecraft. Like, so obvious. Obviously, Shadow over Innsmouth, I think.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. The fear of the unknown and the unraveling of the mystery within the gameplay, getting woken up at the middle of the night, finding Blossom, having characters who are typically nice to you, being very rude, it like made it feel so much more scarier. That's why like this is a quest that's like right in my brain. I would never forget. This is like the quest that told me like, you are not just going into a cave to kill goblins. Things are happening within the quest of Oblivion that make me think. Shadow over Hector. Mwah! Love it.
My hero. Be seeing you.
I can get through it.
Okay, well, let me
I can get through it, Adam.
Tell me your number 2. We're almost done. Tell me your number 2.
My number 2.
I'm so curious.
A little game called The Elder Scrolls 4. Oblivion.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It is called, like the Dragonfires from the main story quest, the final mission of the main story quest.
Why?
After leaving Mankar Cameron's paradise,
Yes.
his little pocket dimension,
I like that
and
quest.
sealing back the Amulet of Kings, you are tasked with escorting Martin Septim, the Emperor, the rightful Emperor, the son of Patrick Stewart. You escort him to the Imperial Palace to light the dragon fires, to reawaken the barrier between Oblivion and the real world.
Yes.
As he's being brought into the palace, you learn that the city is under attack by a host of Daedra. Martin orders everyone to take him to the Temple of the One, so that he can light the dragon flyers and seal shut the jaws
of Oblivion.
You fight your way through the palace and through some Daedra, and then get outside where the sky is blood red and full of thunder. You fight deeper into the city, and the Oblivion gates open up on the very streets you've walked the entire game, where you've sold your things, made thievery and the Thieves Guild. You fight besides the Emperor, Martin, the palace guards who have very valuable, pretty armor, the Golden Whites. And then you turn the corner, and there's a giant four-armed red man, humongous, as big as the city itself, laying waste. And Martin turns to you and says, "Oh man, we're fucked. Mayor's Dagon is in the city.
Oh fuck.
We can't do shit."
Hey, he's here.
And you're just like, "Martin, why did you say that to me? Like, am I not the hero of this game?" And he's like, "No, you're not the hero of anything.
No.
You're just my little pal." And he hatches a plan, not you.
Yep.
And he says, "We must go towards the temple." And you run between the legs of this giant red man as he like stomps and kicks.
Mehrunes Dagon.
Mehrunes Dagon himself. You can't do shit to him. And then you go into this temple, the Temple of the One, and Martin tells you that he must go. The dragon awaits. And you're like, "What do I do?" And he's like, "You just watch this cutscene, you stupid fuck." He runs to the center of the temple, and as he does, Mehrunes Dagon, the Demon King, tears the roof off the temple, looks down at Martin, and begins to smash him.
Yes.
But before he does, Martin turns into a giant dragon. There's no other way to say it.
Akatosh.
Akatosh. And they have a giant kaiju battle.
They do.
Dragon Martin kills Mehrunes Dagon, then Martin lets out a final roar and turns into a statue of stone, a giant dragon.
Yes.
And then you get the cutscene. The game's over. You won. Congratulations. Well, you didn't win. Martin won. But you were there.
Yes.
I love it. I love this ending.
I'm very curious why is this quest better? I mean, like, you have described a lot of mechanically interesting quests, but like this quest is all narrative.
Yes.
And like setting. Why do you really like it so much?
The previous Elder Scroll games, which I played after Oblivion.
Yeah.
You know, you're the hero of the story. You're the Nerevarine. Or the Dovahkiin.
Dovahkiin.
And you can do whatever you want. And this Oblivion, you're influential. You're a hero. You like saved Kvatch.
Okay, yeah.
But you're not like the guy.
Yes.
You have no destiny.
Yes.
You're just some fucker
Yes.
who like is helping out the Emperor.
That's true.
And it's like, you can't kill a god. You can't even like hope to kill a god. You can barely kill the Daedra on the street. You are the loyal servant of Martin Septim.
Like, you're a guy who did a good job.
Yes. This quest.
Yes.
It takes you to places you already know.
Yes.
The Imperial City, where you've been thousands of times. There's like every quest is something with the Imperial City.
Yes.
And you are going through that same place
There you
as
go.
an invasion of Daedra. You can't do anything to help, to fight. You're just fighting through your city with your Emperor.
Yep.
And I love that. I think for spectacle, this is the biggest spectacle of any of the Elder Scrolls games. I don't give a fuck about Sovngarde or whatever that shit, or the dragons. If you fight a million dragons in Skyrim.
Or
this,
Morrowind's ending, the Heart of Lorcrown.
This whatever. Who cares about that? It's like, this is the only time you see a fucking huge demon guy in the city, and you're like, okay, maybe I can kill him. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
The most you can stagger him. And you watch fucking Martin fight him. It's so good.
I like this quest because it is you are viewing a like crisis as a civilian of Cyrodiil.
Yeah.
There's nothing special about you. You're just doing your best.
Yeah, you're like, you're just another soldier.
You're just a guy.
And then I think that ending makes the most sense for like an epilogue.
Really?
Like, you were some guy fighting alongside this guy. Everyone knows Martin. No one knows you. It's like,
Hey, thanks for the help.
Yeah, like, thanks for the help. Like, later, I'm going to turn into a dragon
I think I saw you in the background. That was a good job, buddy.
Yeah, it's like, and that's why I like it so much. I think it's a great thing.
That's your number 2.
That's my number 2.
Because I don't stoop that low, okay? I don't want to a furry within the video game Fortnite. I'm better than that.
I know about your Guardians.
Okay. My number 2, Fallout New Vegas. Come fly with me.
I want you to know that we will remember for all eternity how you delivered us to the threshold of the great journey.
Multifaceted, insane quest with memorable characters, many routes to take, and a heavy dose of humor. It is taking advantage of the Fallout setting perfectly, I think. It is like grim, it's sad, it doesn't go in having to explain to you like, hey, what's a ghoul, you know, what's a super mutant? It's like, hey, you already know this stuff, now let's have a little bit fun with the lore. All right, Manny, who's a cool character, I like that guy. And once you investigate ghouls, as you said, at the rocket test site, you walk over there, you know, you find a sprawling building with many twists and turns where ghouls are able to ambush you and surprise you. Also, I always think of this quest because it has an insane amount of scrap and like miscellaneous items that you can sell for quite a lot of money. Whenever I'm going through New Vegas, once I hit this quest, I'm like, I know I can buy some shit because I can pick up every steam gauge assembly. But as you enter, there's Nightkin corpses, as you said. The Nightkin situation is like so great because of the two antagonists that you have. If you played Fallout 3, super mutants are the big bad enemy and ghouls are persecuted. You know that. So who are your antagonists? One is a Night Kid who seems to have most of their faculties, but is referring to you through a skull. There's like a bone skull named Antler who he talks to. And it's the only reason like he's talking to you and not killing you is because Antler's telling him it's okay. So he has some sort of psychosis. The ghoul is not some follower of Jason Bright. He said like, I only followed them because I wanted to get some ghoul.
Some gussy.
Yeah, some gussy. He wanted to chase some ghoul tail. They gave me money, I protected them, and that's the only reason I'm here. Like, I don't care about anything else. But he's trapped and he wants to get out. So there's a stalemate between Davison and Harland, who is the ghoul. The one thing I really like about this situation is, like, Fallout 3, I thought super mutants are brutes. Like, there's nothing to a super mutant. Who gives a fuck? One of the quests that I was originally going to put on my list that I later took out, because the quest wasn't really anything, was Guess Who I Saw Today, which is the Jacobstown quest with Lily. Now you realize that they're like victims of this whole situation, and they actually have thought and feeling within everything that they're doing. I really like this because he's strangely diplomatic. He does not want to murder all ghouls, get his shit, and leave. He's basically telling you, like, hey, my super mutants, my Nightkin, are a little crazy. Like, they've used this shit and they might kill you out of anything. That's why I told the ghouls upstairs to not come down here. Because I know my men will rip them apart because they're crazy. All we want is the stealth boy shipment. You know, like, if you come attack us, we'll kill you. But once we get that and we're cool, we're leaving. Don't worry about it. Oh, you're practical. Like, I wasn't expecting this at all. I thought it was going to be like, give us a thing or we'll kill everyone. It was just like, we don't want to kill anyone. That's not advantageous to us. Help us out and everything will go great. It is difficult, though, to get everything right, because if you talk to Harland, he wants to see if his ghoul girlfriend is still alive, which involves you sneaking past all the Nightkin. So it's like you have to do a very good job to get down there, confirm his ghoul girlfriend's death, and come back to let him know. Ghoul friend, as we like to say. You have to basically tell Davison, like, hey,
sorry,
the stealth boys are not here. He will get out of there, and then Harlan will also leave if you tell him, like, hey, your ghoul friend is dead. In my mind, why I put this quest so high is, like, that is the full quest. You tell Jason the basement's clear, he gets on his rocket, and it leaves, you know? But instead, he, like, gets down into his basement, he puts on those 1950s Halloween costume, space outfits, you know, with the big, like, fishbowl dome around the head. And then you could finally confront Chris Haverson and explain to him, like, hey, you know, you're not a ghoul. They're not going to take you. There's no way. Because Jason has told you this as well. He explained how, like, I was just, like, some guy who's relegated to fucking, you know, like, fixing shit. No one respected me. But now, after I was a ghoul, these guys respect me. They're doing the same shit. As you said, they're using him. And the crazier thing is, like, they've been using him for 2 years. It's not just, like, a month. For 2 years straight, they've been lying to him so they can get him up in there. And they're going to leave him behind. And they think that's the prophecy. And you can convince them that it is like, hey, don't worry about it. And one thing I like is, where is he going to move? He's going to go back to Novak, which is the town he started in. It's like a quest that really fills out the area around Novak. Once you get to this point, you need to collect ingredients and stuff, and that goes to the Clarkfield Reservoir, which is right next to Novak, or you need to get some thruster modules, which are sold by Old Lady Gibson, who is right next to Novak. It's like you're really exploring that world. You're exploring that area. Like, this quest pulls you in over there. A lot of people have issues with this quest. I would agree. There's a lot of back and forth. It's like a fetch quest.
Yeah, that end part is not great.
You know, but I understand. It's like, it is a bit of a stretch. And then you watch the launch sequence, the terminal nearby that you can interact with. When you go into the launch pad, nothing pulls you to the terminal. But there's big keyboard next to you that you can, like, do whatever you want on it. If you have a low intelligence, you can just punch it. And you'd be like, I think I help. And that's fine. That's it. But if you have a high intelligence, you know what the fuck you're doing, you can be like, oh, I can actually, this doesn't look like it's good, you know? I better like reconfigure this so they actually go where they're going. Or you can reconfigure it so they crash into each other as they fly into the atmosphere. And I was thinking about that a lot. I'm like, narratively, why would they let you do that? Like, what is the point? Like, what do you get from murdering the ghouls at this point? What is the advantage? If they leave, Novak's happy, and if they die, Novak's happy. So why kill them? And then that was the moment where I realized, like, this is an example of New Vegas's agency. It reminded me of sacrificing your companion for Beyond the Beef. There is no reason to do this unless you want to do it. If you want to do it, we will let you do it. It won't help you, but if you are this character, you feel like you want to do this, you can. It's just like a long, horrible joke that you can pull on the ghouls if you go this route. I looked at all the Fallout New Vegas quests, and Come Fly With Me, to me, was the one that took advantage of the Fallout setting really well. It played upon what you already knew. These aren't just ghouls. All these beautiful, humorous, and like terrifying ideas mashed together. Like, this is Fallout. This quest is Fallout to me in my brain. So Come Fly With Me is like, that's why it's number 2. If you have the setting of Fallout, you maybe can't do this in the beginning, but later, when you make a couple games, you can really play on the universe, and this is the quest that you would get.
It gets lonely out in the wastes, okay? And I don't have to tell you. That Bright's group has got some fine-looking ghoulettes in it. Or maybe I would have to tell you.
What? So, how are you feeling?
Good. Ready.
Are you feeling a little tired?
A little tired.
A little tired?
Are you not a little tired?
I'm a little tired, but I have some energy to go through our extra categories.
Me too.
So, out of the categories, we have Best Quest Line, Most Disappointing Quest, Best Character, Elder Scrolls and Fallout, and Best Quest Reward. I assume we'll do Quest Reward first.
Yeah.
So, favorite Quest Reward. We'll go through like my 4 honorable mentions very quickly. First one is Skyrim's Trinity Restored, which is a Thieves Guild quest. You get the Nightingale armor. I think this armor is just very sick. It looks like a superhero armor, but it's like, it fits in with the setting of Skyrim. It doesn't look like too out of place. It has like the cowl, but it's not too overbearing and all this stuff. It just like, it looks like a superhero armor. The next thing I would say is Fallout New Vegas, Remnant's Power Armor for Auld Lang Syne. This is the Arcade Ganon quest. If you complete it, you get the original Fallout 2 Enclave Power Armor that you can wear. I think this just looks really sick.
Yeah.
I just really like the look of it. I think it's cool. I even like it better than the one that has like the Tesla coils spouting out of the arms. I like that it has like a little fan in the back that reminds me of like a PC computer fan.
Yeah.
You know? The only reason I don't really ever get this is because to do this quest you lose arcade, which I really like arcade, so like I never really do this quest. The next one is also in Fallout New Vegas, Dealing with Contreras. The item is this machine. This is the M1 Grand that you can get in Fallout New Vegas. This is like in Camp McCarran, you have to help this asshole named Contreras. And like, if you help him like do all these smuggling operations, at the end he will give you an M1 Grand. It makes the sound. It feels so good. It's so cool. So I really like that one. You gotta test your morals. You know, you gotta grit your teeth for this fucking weapon, because you know it's cool. And then another one is Shadowmere, Oblivion, the Purification. After you do that, you get Shadowmere in Skyrim 2. I like Shadowmere in Oblivion because it's an essential NPC. So it really feels like if I ever get into a battle with Shadowmere and it's helping me, I feel like, hey, we're doing this together. Instead of like in Skyrim, if Shadowmere helps you and dies, you have to wait a bit until it spawns again.
Yeah.
You know, so like in Oblivion, I really felt like it was like helping me. My number 1 though, my favorite quest reward is Fallout 3, Agatha's Song. It is the Agatha Station from Fallout 3.
I'm dedicating this next piece of music to my loving husband. May his soul find peace.
This is not a radio station that I listen to a lot, but I thought this was so cool because to me, in the Fallout games, the radio station is like one of the most interesting gameplay aspects that has never been replicated in any other game. Like there's no other game where you can like continually listen to a radio station forever throughout as you go through the game. You know, it's just like it tells you everything that you need to know and it moves on. And I think that's so cool. I think they should have done this more. Sure, it's just violin playing and you hear like, you get a little also like, you get a little character story between Agatha as you go between. I would have loved in other Fallout games where they're like, hey, you completed this quest, now you got like, I don't know, like a ragtime station. Or like, this is a really like quiet classical station. They have that in Fallout 4, but they give it to you immediately. They should have more radio stations that you have to unlock. Would have been so exciting. Like that is like in my brain the specifically individual thing to Fallout that they should have done more.
So, I only have one. I don't have honorable mentions.
That's okay.
I'm not deranged. My best quest reward is from a quest I've already discussed, which is baiting the trap. And that item is... It is Dawnfang and Duskfang.
Oh my god.
Oh yes, of course. It seems a most unusual weapon was recovered from the orc warrior, Dramok.
So, in the morning it is Dawnfang,
Oh, yeah, that makes
which is
sense.
a fire enchanted sword, and in the evening it becomes Duskfang, an ice enchanted sword.
Oh, you don't say.
But if you kill 12 enemies with it, with either sword, the next time it becomes the next sword, it'll be the superior version, which does increased damage and absorbs health or magicka. You don't need to repair it or recharge it, and it comes back every evening and morning. Who hasn't wanted a cool magic sword? It's got a cool look. It's got like a prongs to it.
It does. It is a cool looking sword.
It's dynamic. It changes. The fact that it comes as like an... It's not even highlighted as a reward. Like, you don't go on a quest for this sword.
No.
It's just some dead guy's sword you find. It's like, it's almost insulting. Like, this should be like a Daedric artifact.
Yeah,
Like,
it does
I
feel
thought it was
like
so
that.
cool. The only downside is that in vanilla Oblivion, it does not work with your hotkeys, because every time it switches to the new version of the sword, you lose the hotkey.
Yeah, and it also tells you in your menu. That's why I find it annoying. But I did not know if you killed more enemies with it, it got stronger.
But this is my favorite. Like, as soon as that kid, I was like, man, I wish I had
I want to hear your
Duskfang.
favorite.
Never seen anything like it. But perhaps his journal can give you some useful information.
Now that we've done quest rewards, I assume we should go on to character, right? I will admit, I have 4
Oh my
characters.
God. Here you go. The point is you choose one.
Oh, come on.
Write in the
I have
comments if you think Adam's a son of a bitch.
maybes and then the one. I have one that I'm very
Okay,
honest
whatever,
about.
go.
Obvious choices. Joshua Graham, Nick Valentine, Christina Royce, Lucian LaChance, Yes Man, Moira Brown. All of these were in all those games.
That's a lot of characters.
That could have been anyone from my number 1. They're all great characters, but I'm like, listen, if I'm making a fucking video, I'm talking about some other people who are interesting. So I got a couple Oblivion guys on here.
Okay.
You like Oblivion. My first one is Modron O'Rain, who is the man who helps you within the Fighters Guild.
Dead! Dead! What happened? A journal? Let me see that. Blackwood Company. Bastards! Rank amateurs!
He is the Dunmer who helps you expose the Blackwood Company. I like that guy because...
Is he the guy with the crayon drawing?
He has the crayon drawing, the artist. The elf performances in Oblivion are absolutely the best. Craig Seckler, who's the voice actor, he is so theatrical and earnest. I wonder when he was recording this game if he saw like Lord of the Rings. You know, he saw like beautiful kings and elves and dwarves. That's how he talks like them. That's how he speaks. So when I hear this guy's talk, it like makes me laugh every time. Any elf character, there's no way you didn't play Oblivion and laughed at the elf characters. I don't think so. You apply it to a prideful asshole who just wants to do the right thing and carries you through the Fighters Guild questline all the way to infiltration. He becomes your main guy in the guild, slowly starts warming up to you and appreciating your efforts. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about, you loser. I'll send you on some good quests. And eventually he's like, well, I guess you're pretty good. No one's capable as you. I guess I'll send you on this. Slowly gets there. Once you get to the infiltration part, I don't know if you remember, but like you and Modron kind of get kicked out of the guild or demoted. It's like no one believes in you anymore. So he's hanging out in his house and that's how you get the quests.
Just tired.
Yes, exactly. I'm trying to think of any other quest line where you're trying to trump the leadership of the guild with someone else within the guild. Like a lower person, you know?
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen ever. It's like you and Modron are like, something's going on here, we can't beat it, but if we work together, we can fucking solve this. In the end, he talks like a buddy cop because like you become promoted and he's like, well, I guess I'll join the Fighters Guild too. Someone's got to keep you in check. And also, he said he wasn't going to join because he was an artist and you get to see his painting.
You do get to see his painting.
This is his painting. It's incredible. Out of all Craig Seckler's performances, which are the best performances out of all these games, I love this one. This is the one that I remember the most.
Me? Pah. I was just getting used to being retired. You can see how good my painting is getting.
Next one, because I know I got a couple. Teldrin Sero from Skyrim. You don't know this guy.
Teldrin Sero, blade for hire. If you have the coin, I'm at your service.
This is a mercenary that you can hire within the Dragonborn DLC. When you go to Soul Slime, if you go into the inn, you can find this guy. He has unique dialogue wherever you bring him on the DLC island, so he's like pretty influential. You want to have this guy around. If you bring him back to Skyrim, no matter what city or area you go to, he has comments on those as well. So he's like designed to bring everywhere among DLCs and the original area, which is like really cool. He has like the chitin or chitin,
whatever
armor.
you call it.
It's the one with like the bandana and the little goggles and like the big thing. It looks so cool in Morrowind. I love it. He looks like a stormtrooper or something. You know, and you can hire him and he's just wearing that. And then if you take the fucking shit off, he has the Dunmer mohawk and the face tattoos. It's so sick, bro. It's so cool. It's so fucking cool. All right. If you're on Soul Slime and bringing him around, he will say like, hey, by the way, if you want to go to Skyrim, I don't mind leaving and checking that place out too. You know, it's like a little recommendation. I'm like, well, Teldrin, why don't we go and see what you say? He's like sly, roguish, very sarcastic, has an air of superiority when he's talking about all these enemies.
Did you suck his dick?
He's also one of the strongest mercs in the game. He's level 60, so he's very powerful.
I was enjoying our travels together before we parted company. I'd be happy to rejoin you for no charge, if you're interested.
This is moving on to my third honorable mention for best character. All right. We have Mazoga the Orc.
I guess you don't know how to talk to a knight, so I'll teach you. Say, yes, Sir Mazoga.
This is the orc within Leowyn who claims she is a knight. She's very mean, she's very rude to you, she makes you address her as Sir Mazoga. You can help her through her entire quest line. I think she's just very like blunt but very funny because the more you work with her and complete these quests, she actually becomes a knight errant. She gets to live the life that she wants, as well as originally she's doing all these things because one of her friends was murdered, and in her first quest, she goes to confront the murderer with you. And she won't tell you why. She'll be like, we're going here, don't kill him, I want to talk to him first. So you go there, she talks to him, and she starts attacking him. And then they have to help her out. She wants to talk to Argonian to figure out where to find this killer is. And the Argonian, Weebumna, says, being her friend might be a lot of work, but my sniffer says she might be worth it. What do you think about that, Colin? Isn't that beautiful?
Culture is a beautiful and diverse culture.
I like her so much I was going to put her quest within there, but I realized I just liked her. So that's why I'm going to give her a shout out here.
God's ghoulies. Not just a knight, but a knight errant.
And the last one I would say, this is an Argonian, because I got to shout out my Argonians within Oblivion. You claim to be an Oblivion fan. Then you must know Amusai.
That would be me. I am so glad you are here to save me from the vampire.
This motherfucker. This fucking guy again. Really? This guy? Like, let me break down to you his greatest moments. He goes to the wrong part of the city during the initiation quest and gets fucked up so he can't join the Thieves Guild. He tried to ransom a ring back to an Argonian-hating countess, so he got thrown in jail because she's racist against Argonians. He got caught stealing fish in Skingrad and got sent to a vampire jail who was gonna suck his blood. He's been a beggar in 2 different cities. Half the time you meet him, he's in prison and he needs help. This guy, like, through the Oblivion's Thieves Guild quest, always made me laugh. But after you save him the second time, he wants to join the Thieves Guild. I'm so happy, you know? You helped me this many times, I will join the Thieves Guild. There we go, Andy, how you doing? All right, and he joins the Thieves Guild and he gives you 3 quests from the Grey Fox. It's Amuse, and it's just like, when I saw him, I'm like, I'm so proud of you. You know, you like, made it, kid. You motherfucker. You out of all these things.
Now I am running errands for the Grey Fox himself. I owe you much for your help.
But my official number 1, that is like actually my number 1, I want to shout those guys. My actual number 1. Do you know what it is?
Is it Veronica?
It's not Veronica. You're close though.
Arcade Ganon?
It's Arcade Ganon.
Hi. If you're looking for medical help, try the other doctors. I'm just a researcher. Not even a particularly good one.
Yeah.
Arcade Ganon.
You know you can sleep with him.
I think that's somewhere in here. Arcade Ganon. Level-headed, moralistic nerd that I would want in a hilariously grim and depressing world of the Mojave Wasteland. He's got great recruitment options. If you're stupid as fuck, he'll help you because he feels pity out of you. Or you can charm him and flirt with him. I think he's like a moralist with the followers, but he can misread situations in specific quests, like with Whitewash that I brought up earlier. Like, I like that about him. Like, he's a moralist, but, like, if he was so devoted to the followers' principles, like, why the fuck wouldn't he care about this person? And that's one of, like, the beautiful things about him. He has, like, great voice acting from an early Zachary Levi, who is in Shazam, you know?
Of course, Zachary Levi of Shazam.
Levi and Chuck. We all watched Chuck.
Yeah, well, before he sold out.
He's got great comments during quests that make you reevaluate your decisions, and you can affect your quests in surprisingly different ways. Like, if you are trying to help Caesar, you can give him to Caesar to help him like fix his brain tumor because he's a doctor. Also, his background with the Enclave is refreshing. After playing Fallout 3, which hates the Enclave, this is a guy who grew up with them. Obviously, like has some qualms about it, but also loves them as well. He thinks they're fascists and they're like a paramilitary group, but like that was his only family growing up. And I love that. Arcade Ganon. When I'm playing through the game, the only reason I don't have him is because Boone headshots people immediately. Arcade uses the laser defender and barely hurts people. But Arcade, every time I talk to this guy, I love him. And I'm like, oh my god. Also, something I'll say really quickly, Colin, is that Arcade Ganon was one of the designers of the games, Josh Sawyer's roleplay character. Within a Fallout tabletop role-playing game that you run some of those, this is one of his characters within that thing. And when they made this game, he's like, oh, I'll just translate this to a companion. All that work that he did got to become this character that we all loved later. And I was just thinking about Geist and Joseph and Hex and Loyal.
You know who these are.
And like if they ever made a video game and wanted to take one of the archetypes from those characters, you can make it to make something else. It's like beautiful. It's beautiful. Something so simple. From us just having fun, becoming a huge character.
You want to play a Fallout RPG?
I feel like I should try to run one of those one day.
You should.
And we'll see how it goes.
I'm joking, of course. I will deflect personal questions at any opportunity.
So what's your number one character?
My number one character.
I mentioned it already.
Is no, you haven't. So first of all, fuck you. Second of all, fuck you.
Oh.
Third of all, fuck you.
Oh.
So this is the comedy rule of threes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
the third one.
My favorite character is Boone. I've talked about him twice already.
You have.
Why is this a big surprise?
Any closer, I'm shooting any legionary I see. Hope that's not a problem. Damn right. You and I, we're just a couple of problem solvers.
Both of his companion quests are on this list, for good reason.
Yeah.
He's a good character. I'm a sucker for the grizzled, disenfranchised soldier. I'll admit it. I love the cliche. Boone's got a great story. He's a soldier who could not protect the one thing that mattered to him, his pregnant wife. Not only that, but he was forced to kill her as a mercy.
Oh yeah, that is true.
That's his twist.
That is true.
He had no way of saving her, and the only thing he could do for her was kill her.
That's true.
What a heart-wrenching thing. He's made some mistakes. He killed civilians. He didn't have any way out of it. You know, it was shitty. He's a lot of trauma for one man. And despite what friend of the show, BetterHelp may say, trauma makes you interesting.
Ladies and gentlemen, why don't you lose your wife?
He's got a good hat.
He's got a great hat.
He's good at shooting.
Oh my god.
And at the end of his story, he doesn't just get to die. He has to live with his shit, like
Yeah.
I said. And that makes him a winner.
So you love Boone?
I love Boone.
You love Boone.
I love Boone. Number 2 to Boone would be...
I think, can I say?
Sure.
Joshua Graham?
It's too generic.
He's too easy. That's
When
why
I
didn't
see
mention
Joshua Graham, I see someone the writers of the game want you to think is cool. He's got his own cool gun animation, you know, he's all dressed
You see
up.
a 40-year-old woman who's going through a midlife crisis and puts that quote on her wall. That's what you see.
When I see Fisto.
We all see Fisto
I
in
see a
different
hero.
ways. Yeah.
Well, if I had to do number 2, it would probably be...
Arcade game.
I like Veronica.
Veronica is also pretty good.
I like Veronica because she's so cool, and yet she just wants to dress.
Felicia Day. You're a nerd at heart.
Oh, well, Felicia Day, that's cringe.
No, come on.
If you like Felicia Day, you need to have a talk with your mother.
And yet Veronica is his favorite character.
Oh, it's second.
Oh, second. Okay, that doesn't make that as bad.
You got a point. There's still some things I can do before all this is over.
So should we go through favorite quest line?
Yes, please.
You only have one?
Yes.
And this is where I put all my DLC quests.
No, great.
Because I like a lot of DLCs in these games, but I couldn't constitute all of them because they were blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, first off, the pit. You know, I like any DLC or any quest line where they take away all your shit and make you start from the beginning. I love that. Like, as a kid, it's just gritty and it's cool. Fallout 3's pit, I'm like, well, I'm fucking over these raiders, they're hurting me. You know, also, another thing I'll say is, like, Fallout 3 raiders is very rarely investigated. Like, you don't learn, like, who the fuck they are. They're just raiders.
They raid.
Now you go to a raider compound. Like, this is their place in the pit, in Pittsburgh. You meet Trogs, you meet all these things. My main complaint is that, like, you can beat that quest within an hour. You know, it's like that quest line is so short. The next one I'll say is House Hlalu within Morrowind. Recently tried this house for the first time when I did OpenMW when we were replaying it. I was surprised at the plethora of distinctive lore-heavy quests. My goal was to convince this person or learn about the world to try to like get a better deal from the situation. Out of the 3 houses that you have to do, Telvanni, which I think is very cool, is very great, but they live in their own world. House Redoran is like also pretty cool, but they're too stuck in the past. Like, Hlalu is opportunistic shills. They just like, we're here to learn all about Morrowind, not to love it, but to get a better deal.
Yes.
You know, which is really cool. The way I felt when I was doing this all is it felt like I got a contract gig in Morrowind. Like I was some schmuck from Cyrodiil. Like, hey, we get, you get a little bit more money if you go help out Morrowind.
You're a banker.
Yeah, I felt like I had to learn the lore and the areas and the towns of Morrowind so I can succeed in these quests. And I was like, House Hlalu, holy shit! Like, why didn't I do this before? So cool. You know, my third one here is Dark Brotherhood from Oblivion. Only thing I said is Colin will probably say everything we need to, so I'm not going to say anything else. The last thing I'll say is the Thieves Guild within Skyrim. I think it's the juiciest of the guilds within Skyrim. It felt like I really got to know all the members, akin to the Dark Brotherhood in Oblivion. I wasn't really having to talk to them, but like within the Ratway and all these large areas, it was fun to talk to them because they would all train you in the skills and stuff. Has a lot of mechanically interesting quests throughout the quest line, sneaking through these areas with different options. I thought Skyrim did it pretty well. A lot of fun roguish characters that you can meet, and it has an exciting through line. One of the quests that I was going to put in my honorable mentions, but I didn't, was the one where you have to, I forgot what it is, but you fight like next to a snow elf statue with Mercer Frey. After I murdered him, the water started filling, and I was like, this is like really fucking cool. So, Thieves Guild Skyrim, have to give a shout out. My number one, though, is the entirety of the Dead Money questline within Fallout New Vegas.
Are you listening? Good. From now on, when I talk, listen and follow my instructions.
Does things with Fallout that I did not think were possible. It turned it into an entirely different game. There's many survival horror elements. I'm thinking about like limited ammo, atmosphere all around, enemies that you have to confirm their kills, like in Resident Evil. If you kill a zombie, you have to like slash it on the ground so it doesn't come up. Same thing with all like the fucking gas mask dudes,
Yep.
Dead Money. It's like a ruthless, diabolically planned quest line that throws you in the deep end with nothing, constantly evolves its obstacles, and contains mature companions with a theme that follows you through all the way to the end. Something I was gonna bring up, Colin, is that we always talk about or praise is an ever-evolving gameplay loop, which we really like. Once you feel like you have a grasp on it, a new challenge is introduced.
Yeah.
This happens in a video game called Pathologic 2, which we really appreciate. But as you continue through Dead Money, every time you go through an area, there's like a new obstacle that gets introduced. So it's like, okay, this is very difficult, but I think I got a handle of it. Okay, now there's radio signals. The radio signals will blow up your bomb collar and kill you immediately. You gotta deal with that. Well, now there's holograms. Well, you can't kill a hologram. It's just a computer program. So you have to find a way to turn off the thing. Or there's the cloud, there's gas. You know, if you go in the gas, it'll start lowering your health. Every moment I was going through this DLC, I was surprised how much they were throwing at me and how much I needed to learn. I have to praise its characters. Like, its characters within Dead Money, they should have all been in my, like, favorite characters of all time, but I didn't because it was too obvious. Father Elijah, like, you hear about this guy within Fallout New Vegas. What a clever motherfucker. I appreciated how much every time I thought like I knew how to get one over on him, he already thought about it. I really respected his intelligence because like he checked me. Every time I was just like, well, did you think about this? He fucking did, you know? And he fucked me over if I try to do it. There's like the duality of dog and God. It's like obedient masochism versus malevolent civility. God, who is like the one guy who talks to you a lot, he does care about Dog, who's his other half. Like, he doesn't want you killing him, but he, like, feels like he can't respect him because that's not, like, part of his character. Also, I love that you swap their personas through a radio message within your game. Christine Royce was going to be on, like, my favorite characters. Veronica's girlfriend, horribly traumatized and scared, can only talk through sign language, which leads to a lot of good writing and very tender moments. She's like, squeeze your hand. Listen, we'll handle this. That's all written down, so she doesn't even say it, but like, I thought within that writing, I'm like, I feel like I'm really learning about Christine. And then finally, Dean Domino, who's like the ghoul there. What I love about him, he's like truly a scummy motherfucker. If you learn about his history, he's like, taking advantage of vulnerable people no matter where he was. What I love within the gameplay, I wonder if you know this, Colin, is that like if you are completing speech checks and being very smart and diligent against him, that'll have a worse outcome for you. You are challenging his intelligence. So he'll try to fuck you over in the end. You have to play dumb against this guy for him to help you because he can't ever perceive you as a threat. I always thought as a player, like a simple player, it's like, if you see the 45 out of barter, I completely do it because it'll be good, you know, I'll do that. But with this guy, like I should have realized who he was because if I did that, he'd be like, you think you're better than me, huh? Okay, later on, when I have the upper hand, we'll see how you feel, you know, which he will use and fuck you over again. It's like a very cruel DLC also. Everyone is like very physically and mentally traumatized. You play on all your companions' fears as well. At the start of it, you need to put everyone in a specific place. Dog, for when you need to get everything going off, you gotta lock him in a cage. That's like the ultimate thing that he doesn't want to do. Or Christine Royce. Like, the reason she can't talk is because Dean Domino, motherfucker, led her into a surgery. Autodocs. Which experimented on her with low stim pack reserves, which means without any anesthetic, it was drilling into her throat. And that's why she has all these scars. What you need to tell her is like, I need you to go into this tiny isolated room wearing mechanical objects and stay there. And she's like, obviously I don't want to do that. As a teenager when I played this, I hated it. I really hated it. Because I was so used to like the pit and Point Lookout. Like I was used to like, I go to a big area, I could explore places. When I went in here, I'm like, what the fuck, I'm secluded, I don't have my weapons, but like everything's hard. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing, you know? Everyone's mean, and it sucks, I hate this. As I was older and I went back, I really appreciated that this DLC, they tried to do something different. This DLC could be its own game, in my opinion. Like, you could have just like released this as its own like $10 product. Like, this is dead money, you go around, you do what you want, you have this little experience. So cool.
Finding it though, that's not the hard part. It's letting go.
So, what is your number one quest line? I think I already mentioned it.
You already know.
Say it. I want to
It's
hear
the Dark Brotherhood.
From
Oblivion.
You sleep rather soundly for a murderer. That's good. You'll need a clear conscience for what I'm about to propose.
You know, it starts out like it's very brotherly.
Yeah.
You get part of this group of assassins. You know, you're a cool guy. You have all these like friends who like teach you these tricks about assassinating. You know, one guy is the leader is a vampire, and he'll even like be like, you know, you're a cool guy. Why don't I make you a vampire? You live forever. You're like, oh, thanks, Vincent. And you're like, you're a cool guy too. And then, you know, your friends are spies. The only reason we know you're not one is because you're new. Kill all of them. And you're just like, but they're my friends. They're my friends. Why would I kill them?
Oh, no.
You go on dead drops. You learn that perhaps you didn't get the spy. Your mentor dies, and then after that, it's like eventually you leave the guild, you get fucking some gold every month or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
As the classic guild ending. But what I like about it so much is that even the like quests that are just like filler, working towards this end story goal, are really fun.
Yeah.
Like dropping an elk's head on some guy, or
so good.
Assassinating guy while he's going to a hot spring, like naked.
There's also optional objectives that give you greater rewards.
Yes, the optional objectives. Because like you can just walk in to most of these quests and just fireball someone and they'll die.
Yeah.
But the optional objectives is like, I feel like they wanted the optional objectives to be mandatory, but they like talked themselves out of it. It was like, oh, well, you know, people might not like that. They might not be sneaky.
Yeah.
But the optional objectives are what makes it worth it. It's like
Yes.
trying to do this in a specific way makes you really want to learn the Radiant AI. Their schedules, what they're doing.
Absolutely.
To exploit that. And like they're almost most of these quests are about exploiting their schedules.
Yes. It's like when I realized every NPC within Oblivion follows a Radiant AI schedule. They go to bed at certain times, they wake up at certain times, they eat breakfast, they go work. All these little things. What a genius idea that one of the quest lines is about assassinating people. Within all these schedules and all these like specific timelines that they have, of course you would do a fucking quest line where like, I have to follow this guy, as I could do with any other character within this entire world, assassinate them at the perfect moment.
And it pays off well. You get a cool horse. And that's why it's my favorite. It's just, like, as a whole.
Yes.
It's so good.
It is.
We will soon become very intimate, you and I.
Because now we're moving on to Most Disappointing, right? Most Disappointing.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, I have 4. 4 honorable mentions and then 1
What have
actual
you done?
one.
What have you done?
My most disappointing quest. Let me go through a couple of them, okay?
Please.
I'll be quick about it.
Please, after you, sir.
And by that, I mean I won't be quick at all. All right. One of the first ones is Oblivion, the Shivering Isles. This is a quest called The Great Divide.
Terrible drain on productivity. Never know who's who. It's been a problem for too long.
This is the one, basically, for anyone who doesn't know, you go to a village where everyone has a double. They have a clone, and people don't like that. So one of the doubles or the clones says, if you can kill every other one of the clones, we'll be happy. The Shivering Isles is divided, Mania and Dementia. It's like you have 4 Mania clones and 4 Dementia clones. It's like, okay, kill either side. And also the main thing about that quest is if you kill someone from the wrong side, you don't get the full reward. You know? Oh, so how do I figure out who's who? Well, they all wear different shirts. That's it. Some people wear a little bit like raggedy clothes. Some wear nice blue finery. And that's how you know. All you have to do is find the people wearing blue finery, kill them, and you're good. This quest feels like an inverse of whodunit. I thought going into this, I would have to follow the schedules and the Radiant AI, specifically within this quest. They shouldn't have told you if you did a correct job until the end. I should have had to investigate their houses or their routines to figure out who is who. Immediately, I could just be like, that guy's wearing blue, kill him, you know? And that's all it was. Like, I also think you can do more interesting things with this quest, where what if one of the people was like, I know what you're doing, but I don't want to die. What if we pose me as the other guy, you know? You just give me his pants, and then we'll just say I'm the other guy, and I can live. Like, a lot of fun little ideas that you can do that are exemplified in other Shivering Isles quests. And it felt like it was just like they missed the shot on that one completely. I thought it was going to be something entirely different.
Don't you have work to do? Like getting rid of those demented bastards?
My next one is another Oblivion quest. This is, I don't know if you like this, but I have to say it, Defense of Bruma.
We make our stand here today for the whole of Cyrodiil.
You're outside Bruma with all your men and the Oblivion gates opened up. I think someone wrote this down. Great idea. That sounds fun. We have a good system. Let's do it. Like, what happens in reality, though? All the enemies just clump up against all your allies. If you use like some big spell, you're gonna hurt your allies and they'll get angry at you. It didn't work at all. No. It's just like the big battlefield quest just became like, just stand in front of the Oblivion gate and kill anyone who comes out. It was like so boring. I think a way to like redo this quest and make it a little bit interesting is they should have had like instance cells where the fight was going against. Like, let's say like it starts. Daedroth are attacking the front gate, so you go there. It's like its own little area. Kill 5 Daedroth. Now we need to get like Oblivion Gate is entered near the chapel, so you go there and destroy the Oblivion Gate. Oh, our archers, top of the walls, they need arrows. Take this and deliver to them. Like little instant cells, I think would have really made the quest feel like you're all around Bruma fighting and defending this place. Instead, it's like you're just outside, you know, killing people and trying not to kill your own men.
Yeah.
Which was kind of sad. My last two really quickly is, this is a Morrowind quest. The last quest of the Thieves Guild, sort of, because there's two different quest lines from Gentleman Jim Stacy, but one of the main ones is Kill Hardheart.
Give in, you're dead already.
When I think about this, it's like, why is this the final quest for the Thieves Guild? The idea is basically like, this guy has Kamon Tong ties, which is like the criminal syndicate with the Morrowind. Go kill him. You just go there and you murder him, and that's it. Like, congratulations, you completed that quest line. In my brain, like, oh, you plant evidence, or like you get something from his desk and you give it over there, or like even if you do have to kill him, like sneak through the guild because they're all watching for you and go there. Instead, you just walk through everyone who's like, hey, what's going on, man? And you murder the guy and you walk out, and everyone's like, hey, how's it going? You know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's it. There's like a different final quest line with Gentleman Jim Stacy that's like dealing with this like mythos of within Morrowind of the thieves. This one was just like, I was surprised. Everywhere else in Morrowind, it felt like the final thing was somehow had to do with like, you know, the skills that you would use within the quest line. Thieves Guild, listen, I was like, why is it this like, you know, like this is what ball drop, you know?
Yeah.
It was really sad.
This is like an opening quest.
Exactly.
You'll die where you stand.
My last honorable mention is within Skyrim is the Parthenox quest.
Make your choice, Dragonborn. You're either with us or against us.
This quest, I think everyone knows about because there was a mod to fix this quest. It's so narratively disappointing. You work with the Blades, they hate dragons. And you also work with a dragon who doesn't really care about the Blades. You're all trying to fight Alduin, the fucking major dragon, you know. Eventually, the Blades realize you're talking to Parthenox, and they're like, we're not gonna help you until you kill Parthenox. And you, as a player, is like, why would I kill this guy? This doesn't make any sense to me. Like, you cannot push the Blades away from this. They are set in stone. You can only kill Parthenox. If you don't, we're not talking to you ever again. You can complete the main quest line, but it feels so sad that like you have to like segment yourself between the Blades and Parthenox. I can understand if they wanted to make this a difficult choice, but there was no opportunity for me to challenge that. Me as a player, and I think everyone else, felt like they could devise a better solution. Even though you didn't give it to me and you're trying to say like, isn't that how war is? I should then not be able to be like, I think I could figure this out. The game should completely tell me, no way. Like, it should have led into be like, oh, obviously Parthenox was never gonna agree with these people or anything, or the Blades were never. But instead it was just like, oh, you're talking to Parthenox? I'm not gonna help you anymore. And that was like so lame. Yeah. It was so bad.
I've discovered who the Greybeards are.
Which leads me into my #1 most disappointing quest. which is a bit of a stretch. I told you yesterday that this one was going to be a bit of a stretch.
Okay.
But is the one that I remember the most. I might be a little bit wrong about this one. I don't know. And this was the third act of every faction within Fallout 4. Within Fallout 4.
That is a stretch, but it is true.
It is a stretch. It isn't any specific quest, but this is like the one thing I remember is I enjoyed Fallout 4 quite a bit when I was playing it. I was surprised how you can be friends with the Railroad, the Brotherhood of Steel, the Institute, and the Minutemen all together. To the point where, like, I was surprised that they were all my friends, thinking that they knew I was friends with other people. So, near the end of Fallout 4, like, there are specific quests where it's like, you cannot complete the Minutemen without destroying the Brotherhood of Steel. Or you can't, complete Brotherhood of Steel without destroying the Institute. There's no way you can do this and live with this decision. I can understand if that is a moral quandary that you are setting upon me. My issues with that, though, is within Fallout New Vegas, I think this is a great example, is Caesar's Legion and NCR. You can do quests for both of those guys and be pretty fine. But the more you go into their quest lines, it automatically fails the other ones within the NCR.
Yeah, because they're opposed.
Because they have spies and they know.
Yeah.
They know it's like, well, we know what you've been doing with the Caesar's Legion. Like, we're not friends anymore. Like, if you come to us, we're going to kill you. And even your companions know that. Like, Boone and Arcade Gannon will abandon you if you're friends with the Caesar's Legion. Fallout 4, it was at the end when everyone was telling me kill the other group, and I was like, if they only knew I was like their best friend with everyone, maybe I can bring them all together and have them talk to each other.
Yeah.
Which is a thing you can do in Skyrim. In Skyrim, there is a quest called Season Unending. Do you know about this quest?
No.
Within the main quest, eventually, you have the Stormcloaks and the Imperials fighting each other, and that is its own quest line. But to complete the main quest, because the dragons are coming, you need to find a truce. You need to have all the characters come together within High Hrothgar, which is the throat of the world at the top, and try to make a truce. And it's a very difficult quest because you have to have good speech. You have to have there's decisions where you will automatically lose these characters that you've talked to before. It's a very difficult discussion, which is really impressed me. I thought that was going to happen within Fallout 4. I thought there was going to be a moment where it's like, oh my god, they all want me to kill each other. Well, it's going to be fucking tough. But if I get them all in a room together, maybe I can get some friends, which is essentially what happens within Skyrim, you know? And sure, you can say within Fallout 4, there's no greater evil. In Skyrim, it's the dragons. We have to stop fighting because there's dragons. They're going to kill us all. But I would have been happy if I did all this and it still failed. Because then I felt like I had agency.
Yeah, you tried.
I tried. I still tried to get everyone in a room together and talk. And been like, hey, fuck you. We're not doing this at all. It'd be like, well, that's it. I am moving forward because I know that's my only option. I should be able to do something more. Fallout 4 doesn't have this, but I think a large solution for all these things is Fallout 4 should have had a reputation mechanic, and that would have stopped characters like Deacon or Paladin Dance, Preston Garvey from being friends with you. If you were too much with Brotherhood, then Preston or Deacon would be like, listen, we can't do this anymore, you know?
It should at least hint at you.
It should hint or impact the gameplay.
Yeah.
I would have realized at that moment if Deacon was like, I'm not going to be friends with you if you're hanging out with Brotherhood. Then I would have been like, I need to make some decisions. How does Deacon is a fucking spy. He's an espionage expert. How does he not know that I'm friends with everyone?
You were there.
I know. It makes no sense. I brought you along on these missions and you don't have anything to say. The one thing I think about Fallout 4 the most, sadly, I need to replay it, but that's the most disappointing thing. Why didn't I have the opportunity? In a lot of these Bethesda games, I feel like I have a lot of agency to do anything. This was it robbed me of everything. Yeah. So when I finally got to this point, it was just I don't want to beat this game because this is not what I want to do. I feel like I should be able to do something different in the other games, and I couldn't do that. So that is I know it's a stretch because there's a bunch of quests, but the Act 3 of all the faction
most
quests
disappointing game
is one of the most disappointing moments within that.
I couldn't have said it better myself, General.
But Colin, you talked about your most disappointing, and I want to hear what the fuck it is.
This is a question no one thinks about.
I am so curious. I brought a lot of surprises on you. I'm excited to hear this.
So, I'm a bit of a wizard head. I like magic.
Of course.
I like mages.
Yes.
My most disappointing quest is a mage's staff from Oblivion.
Every mage carries a staff. It is crafted and enchanted by the guild and is a symbol of status. You need such a staff.
So,
I can hear you out.
The premise of this quest is that every mage in Oblivion gets a personal staff made when they become a member of the Mages Guild. In order to begin this process, you must go to a sacred cave to get some sacred wood to start your staff. Now, this shit excites me. Any quest to build some, like get one piece at a time to build, like, your ultimate weapon, like, that you will carry for the rest of your life. That's beautiful. I wish I had that in my life. Because I don't, I'm a much sadder man.
Why can't we do that at college?
I don't know. You have in college you should.
You should.
You get to the cave, the lady you're supposed to meet is killed by necromancers, you fight through the cave, you kill a bunch of necromancers.
Yeah.
Eventually you get a pre-made wooden body for your staff, which is just kind of sitting on a plinth. And that's it. You wait a day and you get your staff. Some guy asks, what kind of staff do you want? Fireball? Lightning bolt? Frost? That's
all we got.
All the basic spells you can get. And this has always disappointed me, is that this staff is tied to your level. When you get it, it will be whatever level you are. If you're level 5, you have a level 5 staff. Which, when you're going through a whole thing to get your own custom staff, you would think that your special staff would be, at least it would level up with you.
Yes.
Or maybe you could, like, enhance it somehow throughout it. That is not the case. The spell effects offered to you are very basic. Like, the fireball staff you find on a goblin, that is this fireball staff you will get.
Can you get, like, isn't there an option to do, like, a frenzy or anything?
Yeah,
like
like you can do one. You can do that. You can do the basic 3 spells from each school.
I feel like I can make something better with my own staff. Right? Exactly.
You can. You're gonna enchant your own better one. When it says making your staff, what I was imagining was like, okay, I get the wood from this place.
Yeah.
I have to go to this far mountain to get this ancient gem from a thing. I have to get like the twine of the old gods to tie it together and make like this ultimate staff. Or, you know, if you are making a fire staff, they'll be like, okay, go to the Atronox of the ancient mountain.
True.
Get fire salts for your fire staff.
Yeah, like purified fire salts.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's nothing like that. The only thing you have to get is the body, the wood. You don't get to choose your wood or anything. There's no special model. In my perfect world, the staff will be leveled no matter what you do.
Absolutely.
Maybe like now you are the archmage, you're now a battle mage of the Oblivion. Like, and each rank your staff levels up. Maybe you can choose a new effect for it.
Yeah.
Like a special, like fire lightning staff or whatever. I think the quest should have been extended. They set it up so that the staff is like a big thing, like a big deal. Like a mage must have a staff, but like it doesn't do anything.
I think this is like one of your first big quests after getting all the recommendations.
Yeah, so that's your first like
every
Mage's Guild task.
Yeah, the leveled rewards within all these games are kind of like a misstep, I feel like.
Yes.
Because
Like,
it incentivizes you to not do those quests until you're a high level.
no, like any unique item.
There's mods that do that.
Yeah, or maybe have the staff passively recharge itself on
Or maybe
that.
you can talk to someone in the Arcane University and upgrade it again.
Yeah,
It's difficult
exactly.
for them to do that.
Something that makes you feel like you are part of that faction.
Yeah, or something at least unique. Something that you couldn't get from a goblin shaman staff, you know?
Yeah.
Which would have been way better.
Yes, it's all finished. It's in that cupboard back in the corner. I hope it serves you well.
We've nothing but our
number
trousers
ones.
now.
We have nothing but our number ones, my good man.
I guess it's mine.
So, listen, I'm going to say this right now. You've been watching this whole video. You've probably gotten to this point. You've been thinking of a certain quest that you probably really like. It is the main quest between all these Bethesda games. It is the one that people have talked about forever. And there's no way that you don't have this quest at number 1 as well. I have a feeling that we both have the same number 1. It might not be exciting, but god damn it, we had to keep it there at our placement at number 1. So, Colin, should we say it at the same time?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Who done it? Yeah! Dark Brotherhood's Who Done It?
Do you like parties? Because you've been invited to one. Of course, you'll be killing all the other guests. Are you ready to attend?
Do you want to start us off? What would you like to say about this quest?
One of my favorite quests from any RPG.
Absolutely.
By God. The premise is simple. The Dark Brotherhood has sent you to a mansion where 6 other people believe that they are on a treasure hunt in the mansion, and you are tasked with killing all of them. If you manage to do it without any of them figuring out that you were the killer, you will get a nice bonus.
You sure will.
And these bonuses, as far as I'm concerned, they're not optional. You must get these bonuses to experience these quests.
And also, these bonuses, this specific bonus is a permanent increase to your skills. Everything else is just an item. This is just like, you did really good, you're going to keep this forever.
All the guests have unique opinions of each other.
Yes.
There is a dynamic social situation here.
Utilizing Oblivion's disposition in a way that it never has before.
No. You're playing a social game.
It feels like you're a puppeteer.
Yes.
It is like in any other Oblivion quest, if you are using disposition, you gotta raise it so they'll tell you something.
And then they give you some information.
And that's it. Within this quest, there are specific lines if you're low, neutral, or high, and that can influence how you complete this quest.
Yeah, and if you're friends with one person, another person might dislike you.
Absolutely.
It's a truly social situation, which it doesn't come up in any other thing.
For a game like Oblivion that everyone likes to rag on for how horrible like the social mechanics are, this is like the one thing where they really excel at it.
It is the ultimate example of the mini sandbox, which I've brought up a couple times. I know.
Yeah.
You have all these options. It is an overwhelming amount of options of how you can do it. You can start with whoever you want, and that will dynamically affect the tree of opportunities.
Absolutely.
That will happen.
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
It is like the quest that everyone remembers. Because like Oblivion is a very quest-heavy game. I think when people think about Morrowind, they think of the mechanics, and I think if people think about Skyrim, they think of the gameplay. The thing that Oblivion had is they really took a different approach to quests. It's like, it wasn't just an objective. How you complete it is the exciting part about it. This quest, I make a save every time before I play this quest because I know this is the one quest I want to play again.
Yeah.
You know, if I just want to go back and see how it goes in a different capacity. It's so interesting because there's so many different routes you can take. At the top I wrote, who done it? Who didn't see this coming? Like, of course this is going to be our number one. Oblivion's Radiant AI in full effect. I mean, think about everyone's schedules and things.
And you can all see it in one place.
I don't know about you, but the first time I played this quest, going into it, I saw a linear version of it in my mind. Okay, first off, that specific guy, you got to figure out what he hates. Okay, so I'll move him down here. Update. It's like, oh, okay, now I got him down here. Now I know he's dead. That means I have to kill this next person within this specific order. Like, it doesn't feel like they should let you do this.
No.
That's how I felt. So what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, there's no quest indicator once you get in the place.
It's like, what am I supposed to do? Whatever you want.
You kill them.
Yeah, kill them however you want. Like, whatever approach you want to use, it'll be different. And also, it's not like, yeah, you just shoot them all in the head. It's just like, well, if you can talk to them and get them in specific places, you can really screw them over and like slowly kill them one by one.
And in some cases, they'll kill each other.
They will. If it gets down to it, you can start realizing, because every character within the manor has opinions on a different guest. And you can ask them about it, and your disposition will change how they respond to you about the guest. So you can start figuring out, like, Nell's the naughty. He likes the young Dunmer, but he hates the Imperial Red Guard, because Imperials attacked his village. Oh, if I pit these two against each other, I know I'm going to be fine, you know. Something that I thought was going to happen within this quest. He's like, I thought surely once you killed 3 people, they would have figured it out. But there's a lot of options where you can convince the other person to kill the last remaining person. Well, then they're gonna know that I'm the killer. But in those moments, Nels will be like, I know that the killer's coming through the window. Oh, beautiful. Like, of course they're coming through the window, buddy. I don't know if you read about this. I'm sure you did. The way the weather changes as you walk up to this quest. So
always raining.
As you're going in, the atmosphere and the mood just like colors you. And as you walk in, within that first conversation, it's like, oh, hey, you're here, you're last person. She's like, hey, who are you? Everyone else is introduced. You can say, like, I'm an assassin here to kill you all. You know, and she will laugh at you. She'll be like, oh, you joker, you're so funny. But I also realized it gives her a large disposition boost. So she likes you because she thinks she's joking with you. She's like, we're just friends, we're pals here. Every guest has personal feelings about each other. It's all so interactive. If you look at the full transcript about what every guest can say about each other, it's
huge.
Astronomical how big this is for one quest. This is like, it feels like a Fallout New Vegas quest. And I imagine anyone playing this within 2006 got to this quest. They were like, holy shit, this doesn't feel allowed. Now, we can play any other game. This might look a little like childish. It's like, okay, whatever. But at the time, when I was 10 years old and you were 9 playing this quest, getting to this point, it was just like, you mean it, game? Like, you really mean I could do this? It's like, hey,
I'm in control.
Have fun. The agency is all yours. Do what you want. The one little issue I have with this quest is that every character has 1 HP, which means like if you want to assassinate them, you will always assassinate them. I thought there would be like a little bit more clever way, like, oh, if I get the Imperial upstairs and I fight him, like it'll be a difficult situation, but no one else will be around. I just gotta make sure I kill him, you know. It felt like they were giving it to me a little bit, you know. But the challenge of this quest is killing everyone without the other people knowing.
Yeah.
And that is the exciting thing. I mean, it is like, takes advantage of Oblivion's full Radiant AI and says like, okay, everything's within one building, what can you do? Who done it?
Who done it?
Dark Brotherhood. What a quest. You knew it was going to be our number one, but god damn it, we love it.
I won't debase
I will not debase who done it. I won't do some rug pull, I'll be honest. Who done it is great. It's such a great quest. I love it so much. The only quest that I make a save before. I don't do this with any other quest that I will be like, I don't care what I've done in this story. I want to go back here and do this again. So it's beautiful. I knew you had that as number one. I had.
How couldn't I?
I was like, "There's no way." It's like the one quest that everyone knows about. Mwah! So good.
Thanks, writer.
Thanks.
Well done. Not only did you kill the 5 guests, you acted as an agent of terror and grief. You have earned your reward and bonus, assassin.
But, Colin, that's all of our fucking things that we gotta say. Can you believe that? We're all done. The only problem is we still have a little bit of Chaucer's mead. So if you could open up your mouth, I'll pour a little bit in there. All right, you ready? 3, 2, 1. This is gonna be a problem. Here you go. There you go, right in your eye. Folks, see you later.
My eye!
Yo!
Ugh.